Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another AUTOHOLICS live stream from PedalBox HQ. You'll notice that this is not Chris.
I don't think I'm called Chris.
No.
Hasn't Chris got long hair too?
Oh, yeah, he has, yeah.
There you go.
You could be
There's more of us, yeah.
pseudo-Chris.
Agent Chris.
Yeah, I mean, Carl started the same letter.
It's close
There you go.
enough. It is
So-
close enough.
So this is Carl and Neil. They are from Old School Cool, who are predominantly on TikTok. You have got a YouTube channel as well.
We
but
have.
Pending.
Mostly,
It's coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pending,
mostly
yeah, pending.
posting everything to Instagram and TikTok. So they're also live on TikTok from just behind tech.
Yeah, it's
So
over
we
there
have
somewhere.
multiple live streams going. So hopefully we'll get even more people joining and going, what the hell are you all doing? So
Very
yeah,
confusing.
Exactly that.
so yeah, we are planning at some point. Well, I say at some point on a very particular day, we're going to be doing the Prospect Park Car Show,
We are.
and they have a stand. We're going to have our stand again with a bunch of other people down as well. So we're generally going to sit around and talk. Oh, you have no idea. Why not? We'll come to the bodge in a minute. So yeah, we're going to go through their fleet of projects because they have a fleet, much like we have a car problem. You have a car problem as well.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
word.
Yeah. My wife would definitely call it a car problem.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
call it a
yeah.
car problem in
Yeah.
mine.
We call it fun and getting away from the family and
yeah,
other things,
exactly.
but they call
It's
it a problem.
keeping you off the streets, except for when you take the cars on the streets.
Yeah.
You see,
When
we
they
haven't got
work.
that problem because almost none of ours run.
Don't
Well,
worry,
it's kind of the same for us. Yeah, the same for us. Project cars. They don't.
Yeah.
They live on the driveway, not on the road.
Yeah.
That's what it is, isn't it?
So basically, yes, to catch up, because I have two of my former tech co-conspirators in chat at the moment, it occurred to me early this week that I have two microphones, which Carl and Neil are wearing, and I have a third microphone, which should have worked perfectly, that just plugs straight in, but needs an amplifier, and I don't have an amplifier for it. So then we went with the boom mic, and the boom mic also doesn't work. It has a huge amount of hiss, and you would hate it even more than this. So this is the boundary mic that formerly lives above that camera, just to catch some general room tone, taped to an arm. And,
Which is
and that's the
hopefully
system.
working well for you. 'Cause
Yeah, apparently it seems to be doing well enough at the moment. I did look at trying to buy another one of the Sennheisers today, well, this week, and of course the seller didn't get back to me at all. So standard operating
It wasn't
procedure.
eBay, was it?
Yes, it
We're
was.
relying on
Oh.
eBay, Adrian. Oh,
Really?
You'd
wow.
have thought it. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Do you want to sell this? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, Marketplace is exactly the
Can I
same,
give
though.
you- can I give you
message
money?
them and they go,
No,
don't answer. I don't answer messages. I don't actually want to sell it. I just want to
Yeah,
show
no,
it
I
to
just
you.
want to show it to you.
Here you
yeah.
go. Do you want this? Yes. No, you can't have it. Okay, I'm not buying
I'd like to buy this. Is
I can
today
fix
good for
part
you?
of the
Yeah,
problem.
it is. Can I have an address?
Can I come
No.
now? No, obviously not.
Right.
Please hold while this clicks round a little bit. Maybe. Talk amongst
Technical
yourselves.
difficulties. So we need that flash up. Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a.
Because like for us, obviously, we go TikTok live a lot, and
do.
it's just literally me and the phone half the time, and there's a lot of wind. You can't hear me. I'm not mic'd up, so this is a
This is quite a substantial setup compared to what we
yeah
used to.
compared to what we
yeah.
used to. Yeah. Actually, have a microphone, Carl. It's
Yeah,
cool.
I know. We used to either a GoPro or a phone.
Yeah, we definitely
and
need
shout
to
at
invest
it.
in mics, and I'm sorry, we will at some point on the channel invest in some microphones. We will get some advice from the man that knows. But yeah, we
No,
do
you
need
need
to invest.
you need Jess.
All right, we'll speak to Jess then.
Sorted.
That's fine.
It's audio, talk Remy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
It's being
So,
passed around.
Jess's partner Emmy has a degree in audio engineering.
Carl,
Nice.
Yes.
please go over and sort that out.
Right,
That'd be
cool.
great.
Here, but she's doing a live stream for 500 people in Glasgow, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
they're
Nice.
currently
Good.
doing, I assume, speedrunning.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why our regular cat cam is not currently running, which is normally on a wireless pod. So we have the really expensive camera literally set up to look at cats today. Because what else do you do with a
This is
stupid
the
amount
biggest
of
camera that's
equipment?
ever
It is.
been pointed at me in my life, and it's for the cat.
Yes, pretty much.
All right.
Yeah, we were speaking to ITV recently.
Yeah.
They had a smaller
I was,
camera.
and they had a much smaller camera than that.
They did.
Good.
They're better than ITV. It was ITN, Carl.
Oh, it was
come on.
ITN, sorry.
You should know these things.
Yeah, close enough.
ITV was before that when they
It
interviewed
was,
me
yeah, you did
on the
ITV
driveway.
before.
We just put new batteries in, so hopefully they should be good for at least an hour and a half. So yes, yeah. So you have a fleet of vehicles.
We do.
What is your fleet? What, like topped up from
should we
oldest,
start
newest?
where we began? Because we haven't got that many from the beginning of OSC. Because
Yes,
obviously,
I suppose. Yeah, things
yeah.
you've moved on. And,
for us, obviously, Carl's my godson, so
indeed.
we've known each other since his birth, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I like to tell the story that I changed his first nappy because I did. just to embarrass him.
There you go. Yeah.
So you're Howard now, Carl?
I'm now 26, 27 in a couple of months.
Yeah, and
Damn
I'm
younglings.
Yeah.
and I'm 46, so I've been around the scene a very long time, and I've always been into cars. I built my Max Power car, which you'll see on the
Yes,
channel.
yeah,
and
we'll
everywhere else.
bring bits up.
My Crazy Prelude. So I built that a very long time ago, and Carl was what, 5 last time we drove in that, maybe a little bit older.
Yeah, we went out a couple of times in it when I was little. I have very fond memories of being in the back of it.
Yep, just
I was the
go
only person that
wee.
fit in the back of it back then.
You were literally
Yeah, it's
only child
it's
I
snug
knew
in
that
some
could go in the
areas.
back.
It
So
is
yeah,
snug, yeah. I still fit in the back of it, which is a fun thing.
you do. It's a very weird car
Yeah,
though.
it is an odd car.
Because it's a 2+2, so the back seats, they're there and they're bucket seats. They're really comfortable, but there's no foot room because the seat literally sits on the floor, doesn't it?
You can't
Yeah.
get your feet under
You
the
can't
seat.
get your toes underneath the seat in front, so there's about that much gap. So yeah, Carl did fit in it. It was about 5 of them. That was it. And then you've always been into cars, haven't you, since then?
Yeah, I have done.
that was the
We're going
start.
to Carl's history
Yeah.
in a second about what he's been doing since he was little,
That
but
spiraled me into a whole world of
So-
my life.
basically my fault. I didn't mean to, but I just sort of threw you into like cars. Look, Carl, cars. You like cars? And Mark and Carl's dad is not into cars whatsoever. Was my best friend at the time, and he hated it when me and Carl talked cars. So we just talked cars more and more, didn't we?
Pretty
Over the
much,
years, just to
yes.
pee him off.
Neil comes over and I'm playing Need for Speed. You know?
Yeah,
That's
we are
just
playing
how
Need
that
for
works,
Speed,
yeah.
and your dad was like, "Oh, boring, it's cars again." So yeah, so that was always a
There's
thing.
Prelude.
There's a Prelude.
That is the Prelude.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's
Yeah,
him.
that's my crazy Max
Was
Power
that on
car.
there?
Yeah, so that was sort of how we started doing car stuff together. It was
Yes,
from a
yeah.
very young age for you, wasn't it?
It really was, yeah.
And I've always wanted to do car stuff with someone, but me sort of growing up, my brother was into cars as much as he wanted to street race them. That was about it. So when I was 16, I used to take his car and go and street race it myself, with one lesson from my dad, which was fun. And then I just always wanted someone to help me with the cars, but I never really had anybody around. So when Carl got a little bit older, and we'll go through Carl's history in a second, it was the perfect match made in heaven,
It
really.
did work
I
out,
think,
to be fair, yeah,
for OSC.
definitely. It's,
So you want to tell them what happened from when you had your first ride in the Prelude?
So basically, my world devolved into I really like cars now. I grew up in the PS2 era of gaming, grew up with all the Need for Speed and all of that. And I'm that generation. Got
So
a
you'll
car.
know that one pretty well.
Yeah, I'll know that
That's
one
my
pretty
friend's
well.
car
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
LA.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm
Yep,
going
that's
to
the
be there next month.
M3.
So.
The Need for Speed Most Wanted M3.
We might have to have a go in that. If you can set that up,
Yeah,
that
I
would be
can
quite
probably,
cool.
I can probably get you in touch.
For us, because
It
we're
would
massive
be
Need for
mad.
Speed.
That should
Can
be
you tell that I like Need for Speed there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So-
where that came from.
I ended up picking up my first car when I was very young. It's a 1987, but registered in 1994 because it was a dealership show car and didn't get registered till late. Renault 5. Interesting choice.
Nice.
I got it with no engine and built the engine through my teenage years and used it as my first car. It then got crashed into, got written off. I decided, you know what I'm going to do now I've got a written off Renault 5? I'm going to turbocharge the engine
Yeah.
and
'Cause
not deal
why
with
not?
the bodywork.
Yep.
And it was off for over 7 years, and now it's back on the road and still damaged, and it's devolved into chaos. It's just sat in my driveway at the moment.
Yeah, it's sat in your driveway like a lot of our projects, though, to be fair.
Sat in my driveway with a dead fuel pump at the moment, but it does exist. Yeah. So
I
there's
thought
that.
we fixed that with a hammer, didn't we?
Yeah, it's died again. It's a fuel pump, so all good fun. That devolved me into then buying a series of other Renault 5s. I've had a GT Turbo Raider. I've had everything from Range Rovers to classic minis. It's been a bit crazy, really. Yeah, car-wise, it devolved me into working as well. I got an apprenticeship with Jaguar Land Rover pretty much as soon as I could. I left school early and just went straight into working with them. Worked my way up through the sort of levels of being a mechanic with Jaguar Land Rover. Ended up becoming a master tech with them. Did a load of crazy stuff with them that I'll go into more probably on our channel because there's that I could talk
Yeah.
about that for hours. Genuinely, there's
Yep.
so much crazy
There's
stuff.
some things
I
you're
did
not
with
allowed to
them.
say about that, though, Carl.
There
isn't
is some stuff I'm
Try
actually
and keep it
genuinely.
positive.
There is genuinely stuff I'm not allowed to talk about because it's a little bit mad. Nothing bad at all.
As is the
all
way.
good things. All good things. Worked with them for 8 years, just over.
Yeah, a long time.
Moved on from there, and I now restore classic British cars for a living. Relatively local garage, mostly MGs, Triumphs, TVRs, that kind of thing.
But
So
why,
it's all
Carl?
a
Why
bit-
do you now do that instead of working on the new stuff?
A lot more fun to work on.
There you go.
They're a
Precisely.
lot more fun to work on. It's a lot more interesting, and the new stuff is great for what it's designed for, but
It does the job.
there's nothing like the
There's
old
no
stuff.
passion in them, is there?
There's no soul.
But that's the thing, because obviously Carl's 20 odd now, and
Yeah.
wasn't around when we were driving these cars back
No.
in the day. But you've always loved those type of cars.
I
haven't you?
have. I mean, I've owned 3 classic minis myself.
That's
I
pretty good.
I had a Traveller Woody because
Right.
I passed my test, had my Renault 5, and what do Renault 5s do? They blow head gaskets.
Sure.
So my head gasket went on the M4 on the way to Wales, and I got back home and I needed something. And just down the road from me was a mini Traveller Woody, resprayed purple, chrome bumpers, white straps and bonnet, made it look like a Cooper S style thing.
Yeah.
Really, really presentable car with a for sale £300
That's pretty good.
in the window. So I knocked the door and I bought it
Mine.
there and then without even bothering
Nice.
looking around it.
Wow.
2 days later, I pulled up outside my best friend's house and he got in the passenger side of the car. First ever time having a passenger in the car. I was like, look at my new Mini, it's great. His foot went straight through the carpet into the concrete.
Flintstones!
So I took it to work
Run,
the next
Saul,
day.
run.
Oh no.
I took it to work the next day, put it up on the ramp, and the hole, I kid you not, was big enough I could stand under the car and lower it around myself.
Ooh.
So that got scrapped.
But this was before I was a part of buying and selling
It was,
cars,
yeah.
Carl,
You
wasn't
never
it?
saw.
No, I never
Did you
even
see
saw it.
any of my minis?
No.
No, you didn't
No.
see any of my 3 minis.
They didn't make it
Yeah.
to you, but that did your dad's house, clearly, did they? They didn't make
They
it
did.
there.
They did.
I was
One
around there every
definitely
week, and they
didn't,
didn't make it
The
that
Green
often.
Cooper did and the Traveller did. They both did.
Wow.
My dad hated the Traveller. He didn't like that one, but I bought it from the end of his road. It was the end of his road where I
Was
bought
it?
Yeah,
Really?
literally.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Wow.
So
Greg's just saying it just adds lightness. It's the Colin
it
Chapman
was
theory.
it was
Race
very
ready.
light.
It was
Race ready.
as light as you could get.
For anyone who knows those mini Woodies, the wood is actually the frame with the rear structure of the
Yeah.
car, and you could grab the wooden frame of that car, squeeze it, and water would just come coming out of the wood.
Sponge.
It was
SpongeBob.
rotten.
SpongeBob.
The metal and the wood was rotten. It was beyond
Fantastic.
safe.
Wow.
But it had a 1275 in it, and I scrapped it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ugh.
Sorry,
They weren't
world.
worth a lot at the time. This is 10 years ago.
No, they really weren't. Even the engine. I mean,
They weren't worth
the
a lot
engine
at the
doesn't
time.
exactly weigh a lot, so it's not much in scrap either. But
I tried to sell it.
Really?
I tried to sell it. I had it up for £150 for about 3 weeks. Not a single person. Not one.
that's
It had like 6
surprising.
months MOT left.
Should have just taken it over a field and just ragged it about until it blew up.
Should have.
That would have been
I
more
drove
fun
it.
than
I
if you had
drove
me
it to
crash.
A1's backyard.
Pretty much. Have you seen how? So there's a channel in the US, Superfast Matt, who recently got rid of his RV because he used it as a push car on the salt flats. So the underside was just corroded to death.
Oh God.
It corroded the aluminium oil cooler to where it just gushed oil out of
Nice.
it. And he was
That's
like,
what you want.
I can't in good conscience sell this car,
No.
this RV to
anybody,
somebody.
so, wow.
So he fixed it up enough that it ran and drove, and then put a remote drive steering wheel in it to a remote control, and drove it off a cliff.
Nice.
Awesome.
That sounds like
with
a
a
great
bunch of
time.
That's the
cameras
thing
in,
to do. That's
and-
what I want to do. Let's do
And
some of that.
yeah,
I need to watch that.
Please
he
do
put cameras inside it and video, and it's some of the best video I've ever seen.
Wow.
He's building a land speed car, and
Wow.
in the chopped carbon piece, he put a ham sandwich, so it kind of became the thing.
Right.
So there's this resin encased ham sandwich that was just leaking out the side of it. So he made a ham sandwich on it, and as it goes over the cliff, obviously the video
Mm.
looking into the back, you can't see that it just went off anything. So it's just normal,
Everything's raising.
and then everything just levitates.
No gravity. Whee.
And then just goes away, and it's one of the best pieces of video
I need to
ever.
watch
I
that.
love it so much.
We do need to get a few wrecking things videoed.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
so that's Carl's story,
Yes.
my story. And we sort of came together where my father-in-law had a Clio 172. And if you've ever been on track, especially if you've ever been on track in a Clio, you know these things are amazing.
Amazing cars.
They're
And
like
I'm
they're on
Yeah.
rails. They're really cool cars.
I'm a French car nut, and I love them. Absolutely
And
love
I knew nothing about them.
172s.
I'd never even been in a Clio before, and it was my now wife's car. She bought it when she was 25.
Yeah.
And she basically sold it to her dad because she got a company car. Mm-hmm. And he used it for tip runs. Nothing but tip runs. But he's like 80 odd now. So he would just fill this car full of like just choppings and cuttings and stuff from
Yeah.
his bushes and leave all
It was-
that in the car.
it was essentially
for
a ute.
weeks before we went there.
The
Yeah.
spiders we found in that.
Oh, so really. So he was sort of saying, "Oh, I want to get rid of it, and I don't need it anymore, and I need a bigger car, blah blah blah." And I was like, "How much are you selling it for?" He was like, "Oh, 500 quid."
Done.
What? It's a 172, and
Yeah.
and I was and Natalie, my wife, was like, "Well, you can sell it for more, surely." Yeah, of course I can.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I can sell. I can sell anything. I can sell ice to Eskimos. That's give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. He's like, you sure? And I said, yeah. So what do you want for it? He said, well, minimum 500 quid. I said, okay. So I'll do all the work. I'll clean it all up because it needs a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'll get Carl to have a little look at the mechanicals, and then what do you want to do? And he's like, well, let's just split the profit.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So we had it, and I was like, Carl, can you help me fix the car because I don't know how to fix
We
it.
did a few
Yeah.
bits to
We
it.
need a few tweaks and stuff like that. And we spent, what, 3 weekends solidly cleaning this thing? It was disgusting.
Yeah, just
Like,
cleaning.
literally, the steering
Just the
wheel,
inside.
I kid you not, we wiped the steering wheel and the cloth come off the same colour as your laptop.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Proper black.
Repeatedly for about an hour.
Wow.
And then
It was really bad.
it was at that moment
Really
that we
bad.
loved doing it, didn't we? We enjoyed doing it together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we started filming
Had a
it.
right laugh.
Yeah.
And we just thought, this is cool. I like
Yeah.
doing this.
Yeah.
Why don't we do some more of this? So we thought, well, we'll take the money from the Clio and we'll buy ourselves another little car.
Yeah.
And we'll do another little car.
So what was the next one that you
What
got?
was the next one, Carl?
The next one was the blue 106.
Yes, it was.
It was the blue 106.
106, wasn't it?
1-1 Independence.
Yeah.
Peugeot 106
Obviously-
facelift.
I'm convinced that I saw something recently.
Yeah, so
on-
that's
I'm
some
gonna
of
pull this
our
over here, just-
earliest
Yeah.
content on TikTok and Instagram is this blue 106,
Yeah.
which we picked up for, was it £90?
£90, yes. It was going to be 100 quid, but I managed to knock a tenner off.
Which to be fair is 10%.
Found it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like pretty good.
That's
no,
my one.
that's
No,
his 106.
That's not my one.
That's sat outside my mum's house right now.
That'll be right at the bottom of the TikTok.
I
or
have-
It's
Instagram.
going through from oldest, so
I have photos of it, but obviously that
Yeah,
won't help.
it was a very old car. But then the thing was, obviously, because we decided to do the OSC thing, what I thought was, I'll reach out to everybody I know, because I know a lot of people that are into cars,
Yeah.
and just say, I want something cheap, dirt cheap to buy, so we can make some money on it.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine, Martin, runs a garage, and he was like, well, I've got this little 106. My twin girls learned how to drive in it. It hasn't done anything for about a year and a half, and it didn't pass its MOT because of a chip
It was
in
a
the
chip in the
windscreen,
windscreen airbag light.
airbag light, and a slight leak on the exhaust.
Yes, a blown exhaust.
That
yeah.
was it. And I was like, how much do you want for this £50 car then?
yeah,
And he was like, well, I want like 150 quid for it because that's how much his scrappage is.
yeah.
So obviously we went to see it, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we're looking around it and Carl's like, this is awesome. this
It's-
is
it's
awesome.
little and
hang
French,
on.
I
Hello.
like it. Oh, cat.
And obviously me being me as the buyer and seller I am, I was like, well, I'll give you £100 for it. And it's like, mate, A1's is literally a minute down the road and they're
Yeah.
going to give me 150 for it. I said, yeah, but we're here now. And we're going to do a YouTube channel. We're going to make it all work and it's all going to be great.
And the car
I'll-
will live on.
You know, the car will live on and your daughters have had it, etc., etc. He's, oh, for God's sake, just take it away, Neil. He just goes, you're talking, and I'm just hemorrhaging money, and I can feel myself hemorrhaging money. Just take the car. So we're like, okay, cool. So we took it on a pouring
Took it on a
winter
great
day,
road
didn't we?
test. Yeah, it was a good road test,
Yeah,
that.
it was a good road test, and it was good in the car park. Well, I reversed it around and slammed the brakes on to make, and Carl goes,
Yeah.
great video
I
content.
made a fantastic noise.
So how much work
by
did it
accident.
actually need once you
Oh,
got
well,
it?
the
So-
tech will tell you.
Things did spiral a little bit because what happened was we fixed the MOT things originally. So we sorted out the mechanicals, sorted out the exhaust, we gave it a really good clean
Just a
up.
gasket.
It was
on
just
the downpipe,
yeah.
wasn't it, the exhaust?
So downpipe centre section gasket,
That's
replaced
a good
that.
win.
Airbag light was connected under the driver's seat, which was really common on a lot of that era French stuff.
Sure.
Really common issue.
Didn't we cut one off one of the in the scrapyard? And
Yeah,
just-
literally just spliced it in. That was all smooth.
We've lost
Fantastic. It's gone. Yeah, so airbag light was a really nice, easy fix. And chip in the windscreen, we just bought one of those sort of do-it-yourself kits and sorted that
tried
out.
that out, yeah. That seemed to work okay.
And then we were left with a car that mechanically was pretty much perfect. We did a drive shaft as well, because that knocking drive shaft we noticed a CV
That
on
was
it.
right at the end when we'd done everything else.
Yeah.
And it just passed the MOT, and then it started knocking like a.
Yeah, it,
Great.
it made
I
a
mean,
lot
at least
of
it
noise.
did after the MOT, but that's
It
still
did,
like
Exactly.
you've just
It
done
was
all of the
literally
work.
the week where I was using it for work because
Yeah.
mine had broken down. So I was
Obviously.
using the Saxo to take the kids to school.
Yeah.
And I rang Carl, I was like, we have
Yeah.
a problem.
Can I get some batteries for this receiver, which says dead batteries?
Which
I
one?
just put fresh batteries in.
Nice.
Like they're not
Battery
even.
time.
I mean,
They're actually fresh out of the box. The box, not
Oh,
just.
nice.
you can say that all you like, but it's
But they
actually my
are-
battery. I mean,
they're
say battery
unhappy.
off and it turned off.
Last minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
you go down the line,
They should be. They should
Yeah.
be better, at least.
improved.
I do have another pack of batteries, but they are elsewhere in storage because I didn't need them because this was full of batteries until about.
Sign up there, say
30
fragile, please do not climb.
Yes,
You
they-
realise your cats can't read, right?
It's not going to help, is it?
They were.
Or can they? Can they read? I don't know. Can you read, Loki? Can you
So
read?
Loki has a button that he can press.
I don't know anything about his button.
That
Thank you.
says, that says treats, so he can request treats, and he understands
Really?
the treat button.
Yeah. Nice.
The other two just sit
See
and wait
that.
for him to press it. Because obviously,
They're
Now-
the clever
now-
ones.
yes, they are the clever ones.
Yeah, I was going to
Their
say
management.
that is definitely cat
Yeah.
intelligence. I don't need to do anything; he'll do it.
Yeah, their management. He is clearly the under.
He is.
Employee.
Yeah,
He's
press
general
button.
assistant. That's what he is right there. But yeah, so things devolved a bit with the 106 because we got all the mechanicals done and we kind of drove it back and we were like, this is actually a really nice little car. But
I loved it.
it had a little
Little
scuff
thing.
on the bumper and the rear badge on the boot was missing. There was a dent on the boot lid. Just like little things.
Yeah.
But you could see through that was a really nice little car. So we were like, well, why don't we just fix all of that? And what we ended up with after doing all of these things, Neil hand painting a Peugeot badge, some fantastic footage of that.
Nice.
That came out really well.
Yeah, and I stuck it
was-
on with the wife's glue gun
Yeah.
on a extension lead out the window.
Yeah.
That'll do.
But
Girls,
what we
are you
ended up
doing?
with-
I'm making it work. It's fine.
Was one of the tidiest little 106s
Oh,
I think you would
amazing,
ever have seen after about 2002. Like,
But
because
that was the other thing. We know so many people that are into cars and things, don't we? So my friend Paul's been a bodyworker and a fitter for years.
Yes.
And I just said,
Yeah.
oh, have a look at this dent. And he was like, that's quite big.
That's actually
Someone
significant.
clearly reversed into a
Yeah.
post, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, can you just come have a look at it and see if we can have a go at it? And he came round and we were filming and he's like, I don't want to be on camera.
understandable,
Okay.
nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
And literally within 30 seconds, he'd done it, hadn't he?
Yeah, it looks mint.
Done. And I was-
Looks
he was
absolutely
like,
mint.
right, bye boys, I'm off. I'm like,
It's-
oh, okay, thanks very much. So that
It's
was
so frustrating when people are so good at things like
Yeah,
that.
but he's the most. Are you,
Nonchalant, just rock up, he'll do it
yeah.
while he's
just does
chatting to
stuff,
you.
just- that'll
Yeah.
do. Okay, thanks,
You
Paul.
can't eat that.
So we
I
sold
mean,
the
you can
Not-
one
not
out,
food.
and we sold that to a lovely young lad.
Yeah.
His first
Our
car.
Did.
first car,
He was
nice.
so happy
Oh,
with
the
it.
story of that.
So
didn't you?
happy with it.
Was that the story where he got outbid by his mum?
Yes, yeah, that is
Yeah.
that one.
Oh,
yeah,
that was so
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Because basically, I put it on eBay,
Mm-hmm.
and the bids started coming in. It wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
money, was it? And
Because I think we had put, it was over £500 into the car total,
yeah, and we sold it for like
about £1,000.
about
It's about
1200
£1,000,
quid or
yeah.
something, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're
we
going back
did
a couple of
okay.
years now.
Yeah, we did okay on the profit
I
wise.
think we
Yeah.
nearly doubled our money, which is where you want to be. Like, that's
I
good
mean,
going.
there's not many cars you can actually do that with.
Old French
Reno-
things.
yeah.
Old 106 and Saxos, that's where it's
Oh,
at.
pretty much.
awesome.
That's where it's at.
for us. It's our bread and butter 106
It
and
is.
Saxos. If you have a 106 or a Saxo with a head gasket gone,
Give us a
message
ring.
me.
Yeah.
I will
We'll have
buy
it.
it from you.
We'll have
No
it.
problem. We'll have it. We'll just make a fleet of them because we've always got them on the go, haven't we? Saxos.
Oh, we've had so many of them between
TU
us.
engines.
Yeah.
Fantastic car.
Wow.
But he basically, he was outbid on eBay, this young fella that wanted it. And he messaged me going, oh, I've been outbid, but it's just the perfect car. And I was
Yeah.
really? It's a dark blue Saxo. He's like,
It's-
it's just what I want. I really
Yeah.
wanted it. I was like, sorry, dude, you've been outbid, whatever. And then his mum messaged me
Mm-hmm.
saying, just so you know, my son really wanted this car. I've inadvertently outbid him. So we're going to come and collect the car from you, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell him. So when he arrives, he'll be really shocked and he'll be really surprised because he
Sure.
thinks he's getting something else.
Right.
Because we
Yeah.
said, oh, you can't have your dream car.
Yeah.
Dream car?
Yeah, little what's it? It was a really
And,
tidy
yeah,
106
he came
though.
up,
It was
you
lovely.
could see the tears immediately in his eyes.
Oh.
The second he got out of the car, he was like, oh my God, look at my dream car. I'm like,
Because
I love this guy, but it's a bit weird.
it had like
You know?
65,000 miles on it
like,
around
set
there.
your
Yeah.
aspirations low enough that you can reach them, but
Yeah,
damn.
but he was so
But
over
like-
the moon, and I was like, I'm so happy to create something like that.
Oh, check your
Oh, wait,
transmitter.
Oh, he's killed it. It's
Killed
gone.
me. Hang on.
What have you
Can I
done?
put it back on? Just,
Hang on.
is it the batteries or? Yeah, batteries, low batteries.
Every one,
Batteries,
I
wow.
need batteries.
We're having a bad battery day, aren't we?
every one
I know
of
I'm old.
these,
I don't
of these
think- I
batteries.
normally need batteries.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Can I have a look at yours just to be
Yes,
sure?
of course, there's some flat batteries for you.
That's in the bin.
I've got 2 bars.
Okay, you've got 2
So
bucks,
I'm
right?
good.
That's on
I'm
par.
learning tech, people. I'm learning tech.
You can press a button. Well done.
Exactly. People that say Neil can't do anything.
Have you tried turning it off and on
now.
again?
Hi, John. Yeah.
That,
Every single, I promise you, every single one of these batteries was checked.
that also says no battery.
This afternoon.
That does
That's
say
saying no battery?
no battery, yeah.
She did.
We're having a great time with this.
So they're no good.
BYOB, bring your own batteries.
I have
Well, that
just a
one's gone on
dozen,
the
and
floor.
If I need to,
One's down there somewhere.
I'll go and find the other set of all of the batteries.
I'm just going to start bringing batteries.
Yeah, they're dead as well.
What's
going on?
Is it that?
Is it-
That's just killing them.
It's just one because these are different to that one.
Stop throwing them on there, because
Do
they're
you ever
going on
get
the
to the
floor,
point
by the
where
way.
you no longer quite trust the battery tester that you have.
I don't
Right,
trust
that
the
one alleges good.
Right, so that one's the same start as that one. So let's just see if these two together.
Do you want to test that one?
That's got 1 bar now.
See, that one alleges good.
Right,
I mean,
so stop the top one for that one.
the bottom end of good, I'll grant you. It's not...
That one? Still 1 bar.
Still 1 bar.
We're at 1 bar. But that's a bar more than we had.
It is a bar more than we had.
So, winning, I think.
It's a shame the bar doesn't provide beer, isn't it?
Luckily, Boundary Mike's really good at picking people.
Nice.
Not
Should we just talk louder, project our
yes.
voices?
I can't do that. That's not my fault.
We tried the wired mic. It didn't work. It didn't
But your
work
mic's
at
working,
all.
so you're
My,
alright.
my mic's good. I'm
Yeah, yours
alright.
seems to be
I
fine.
can project if you like, it's absolutely fine. Do some opera if you like. It's got 1 bar, so be alright for a minute.
It'll do.
A bit further
Have
there.
faith.
There we
It'll be
go.
fine.
But yes,
Okay.
so you had the Saxo obviously, and
Yeah, we sold
Yeah,
that, we made a
so
bit of money, and then
we
we
won
went
a
out and we
6
bought Mini Cooper S.
We did buy a Mini
Supercharged
Cooper S.
R53.
Yes,
Freaking
R53.
cool car.
Yeah.
But I found that on, was it Marketplace? Wasn't
Everyone
it?
loves
So-
Supercharger.
750 quid it was advertised for, and the
Bought
guy
it
was
for a bit
like,
less.
haven't driven it, it's been left in an industrial estate, I don't want it.
I drove it.
Okay.
Alright.
I drove it up and down the industrial estate with a flat tyre,
We did,
doing
yeah.
far faster than you should do with a flat tyre.
We have a video of that.
And promptly,
On a closed course, obviously.
promptly discovered
Yeah,
after
private
being
roads, of course.
foot flat to floor in second gear near red line that the brakes didn't work.
Turning at a 90-degree bend, and I'm
Going
like,
up to a-
hopefully it'll stop, Carl. Hit,
With a
slow
warehouse in
down.
front.
But that supercharger wine is like nothing else.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
We knew we had to have it at that moment. It nearly killed us. So we knew we had to have it.
And we put a year and a half into that car, and we put a lot of money into that car.
My
Carl.
favourite
We put a lot
story-
of money into that car, Carl.
My favourite
Way
story
too
about
much
that
money.
car is we bought it, we went around the whole car, we made a list of all the things that car needed, and we worked through that list.
It's a Mini.
Yeah, we finished that list, and it was a big list. We completely finished it, ticked everything off. Went around the car again, made a bigger list.
Yeah, we can show you the list. It's humongous.
It's the list
humongous.
doubled in size because
Because it's a Mini.
as we were working
Everything
on
we
it,
fixed, it went wrong. I was like, oh, come on.
yeah, every time we started, something new would break.
Yeah.
So there's another guy that I watched recently. I met him when I went to Duct Tape Drags last year.
Yeah.
Buff's Garage, again on YouTube. And his wife bought a Mark 1 Golf, much like Chris's one that's outside. Same
Yeah.
colour, everything.
Was it open top as well? Or?
Yeah, it was ragtop,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
you name it. So obviously it's a rabbit over there. But
Yeah.
so he had this, and he was lamenting a week ago that he was going to make this problem go away.
Right.
Because he was like, I've been working on this for 5 months to try and get the K-Jet working and to get
How
it
much
to
numbers?
idle right. All of this stuff. And he's just like, I'm sick of it. Like, I took a 318 out of a car and put it into a Datsun 1200 mini truck in 3 days
You can't get
and
a
got it
Golf
running, and this thing will not live.
Wow.
He basically said, I need to recoup $750 on this, and then I'm going to take it to my friends with Pole Barn Garage, which is another channel out there. It's like, and we're going to make it go away with tannerite.
Oh, okay.
That was literally it. He was like, I'm going to detonate my problem away.
That'd be cool.
And then
That's worth a few views, I think.
and then
For us
and
to
then
post that.
and then he got it working last weekend
Wow.
and running and
Oh,
idling
wow.
fine. He was like,
That's a shame. I wanted to see it explode.
It responds to threats. I see.
You will
It's done
die.
now.
So yeah,
We did that a few times with the Mini.
We did do that. We
Oh.
nearly fell out over the Mini a
Yeah.
couple of times.
Yeah, OSC nearly didn't happen at all because of that Mini.
There's a video
Really?
of me
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
in the snow on his driveway, laying underneath the Mini, bending brake pipes.
Yeah, there is. And that was the point of like, I think it was, what was it, 4 months you hadn't done anything on the Mini, and it had been sat on my driveway, and the wife is like,
I was done.
if that doesn't get done,
yeah, tannerite.
I will burn it. I will burn
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, I know, but
I
Carl's
was
been
so-
busy, and he's
Yeah.
doing this, he's doing that, and then I just said to Carl, right, that's it now. We're
I
either
was
doing
so
this or
bad.
we're
Yeah.
not doing it.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. You
It's either-
must come and do
it's
something.
happening
He's
or
like,
it's not.
okay, I'll
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
But it was the worst job ever, wasn't it? Because also the Mini's pretty low, and you get to try and get it on jack stands, and the further we went with the brake lines, the more they blew up.
Yep.
So then the entire lot had to be done.
We did
Yeah,
all
so
of
you
them.
end up doing front to
Carl had
back.
never
Yeah,
done
I
brake
did all-
lines
did all
before.
Yeah.
Did you? You never bent
So
them
I've
before and
replaced
all
brake
that
lines,
stuff.
but at this point in time, I'd only ever worked at a main dealership. So my experience was mostly, did some classic stuff because we did Heritage Fleet, but with them you don't tend to get these kind of jobs. Mostly fitted brake lines that are pre-bent.
Yeah.
You know, so they just come and you unbolt and you
Yeah.
fiddle getting them out and you fiddle getting them
Yeah.
back in.
It's a fight, but
It's a fight, but
you know where the bend's
they're
going.
in the shape.
Yeah.
This was the first time ever bending copper brake pipe, which
Yep.
it's not a difficult thing to do, but there's an
No.
art to doing it well.
Correct.
And when we're trying to sell
Yes,
a car as
we
a
haven't done
high
it before.
quality thing, we want them to be done really well.
Yeah.
We want it to be really presentable and look great.
You don't want a hacky job.
Yeah.
So then
And
someone
me-
will go, "Oh, what have you done?"
And my
there?"
persuading style was, just do it. I'm going to stand here, I'm going to film it, just do it. It'll be all right.
And for those who don't know me, which is everyone pretty much, I hope it's everyone.
Not quite, not
Yeah,
quite.
for those who don't know me, I'm really small, like skinny guy. I'm from quite a hot climate, heritage-wise, and I don't deal with cold very well. Less than 20
You.
degrees, and I'm wearing thermals. I'm wearing like multiple layers today, long sleeve shirt underneath. Like I'm
And I'm sweating, which is always the way with us.
This room gets warm.
The normal,
No, I-
normal Englishman.
Yeah.
I'm in a hoodie and
Not.
long sleeve shirt. Like I'm loving
You're
life.
fine,
freezing
yeah.
cold.
I was in Vegas 2 weeks ago. It was in the 40s, and I was walking around in a hoodie and jeans. It's what I do. But it was snowing. And I did not like that. It was not a good
I
time.
have got video footage out of my window while I was having a cup of coffee indoors of Carl outside on my driveway
I
fixing the brake works.
hated him in that moment.
Yeah, I
so
bet.
much.
But it was, you must have had this with your partners and stuff and all these sorts of things. And it'll happen for everybody on YouTube that do
Yeah.
things together.
Yeah.
You get that moment of you need to earn your bread
Yeah.
in
I've gotta
doing
do my
this.
Yeah, we
job.
need to
You've
do
got
the
to, you've got to
things.
do something.
Yes.
And it was that moment, wasn't it?
It
and
was.
it was either, and like you said, that was a make or break for OSC. It was either we're either going to do this or we're not going to do it. We can't wait till winter's over because that's another 6 months. But it took us a year and a half to do that mini. And we did it to perfection, didn't we? I
When-
was so
that's
proud of
the
that
thing.
car.
When you're going to the nth degree, it does just take time.
But that's
Well,
the problem with me and
we-
Carl because we're both a bit,
Perfectionist.
yeah.
I daily drove that Mini for about 2 months after we finished it because we have a sort of rule of thumb of if once we're finished with the car, we need to know it's good before we sell it.
Yeah, sure.
We don't want to sell on a car because we're putting our name to this. We don't want to sell on a
That's
car
a brand
that is
now,
going to let someone down.
Yeah.
So you
I got
drove
an
the
OSC
106.
car and it was awful. It fell apart. Well, you just
Don't
don't
want
want that.
that.
Like,
No.
that's kiss of death.
And
Exactly.
also, but Carl, you're, I mean, you used to get in trouble all the time at work for that.
I did.
Because they'd be like,
Yeah.
stop doing everything to the 8th degree.
Yeah,
Just
I
get the
did,
job done.
yeah.
Get it out. It's
like,
like, no,
I'm
I
there,
can't
like,
because I
everything's
can't
perfect.
do that. But that's
Yeah.
also what I love because
Yeah.
I couldn't let anything go out with my name on it that I thought was slightly dangerous or hadn't
Yeah.
been finished or there was something that hadn't been done. It's like if there was a button off the stereo, that car is never going to leave us
Yeah.
until we got it. It's one of them. We're both the same.
Yeah.
So we both have to sort of remind each other, like, you still got to sell cars. You've got to push them out.
Yeah,
you know?
you've got to make profit
And the wife
somehow.
keeps telling me, just sell it. Just move
get
to
it
the
off.
next one.
They can
no,
buy
no.
a button themselves.
understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
So
But yeah, so you've got your Prelude
Yep.
as well, which
I've
is
had
now
that
famous.
Forever.
It
Yeah,
is
it is.
famous,
Yeah.
Yeah. It was in the
How
Sam
about-
Smith video.
Sam Smith, Kelvin Harris.
That was it.
Yeah.
It was Sam Smith and
Desire,
Calvin Harris.
#1. It's possibly going to be in a film next week.
Ooh, is that the one I sent
Exclusive.
you the link to? The,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but that you sent me the link off Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not supposed to be out there. Because the production
Really?
company that have
Yeah.
contacted me directly,
Yeah.
who used me for the Calvin Harris thing, sort of said, "Oh, don't tell anybody, blah 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 blah." As they do, they all
Yeah.
had to sign a prenup thing
Yeah.
and whatever. And I said, "Oh, is this happening on Prime?" And he was like, "How do you know that?"
oh dear.
Well, I've been sent this by somebody
so
who was
clever.
sent this by someone
It
else.
doesn't happen very much, but I felt really clever. And I was
Yeah,
like,
nice.
"Is it a sequel to another film?" And he was like, "Maybe." And I was like, "Is it a car film?" He was like, "How the hell do you know this?" And I screenshot what you sent me on Facebook. I was like, "This is out there." It's like, "That's not good. I've got a meeting now. I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's not good. I need to get on this because they told us we've got exclusive rights to provide cars and blah 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 blah."
Yeah.
I was like, right, okay. Have I discovered it for myself? But it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I mean, you've sewn up your end.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Well,
my
you're
car's been
good.
featured in the music video.
Yes.
was
It's
a
also
surreal
come on.
experience.
I
for
could
me.
probably put up in the background quietly because editorial use is fine.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. It's also been on ITV News. It was on a little feature about car meets and other things that I did a little while ago. It was on ITN Tonight programme, which hasn't come out yet. So they filmed me for that. They spent a whole day at Renegade Brewery, wasn't it?
They did, yeah. They came to
Yeah.
Renegade Brewery with us. They did a segment with me, a segment with you.
Yep. That was a whole day of filming. So that programme will be coming out at some point. Obviously, I'll let my follow us know. If you want to follow the channel, please follow OSC on TikTok or Old School Cool with
Towards the end.
on
Yeah,
on
I
Instagram.
remember that much.
Yeah, it's right at the
Towards
end. Right
It's a
there.
really surreal thing for me because I did a little solo
There
holiday
you
to
go. There's a
Lanzarote.
bit there.
I did a little solo holiday to Lanzarote when this song came out and hit #1. And I was walking
There it
around
is.
Lanzarote seeing this video, like,
It's so cool.
that's the prelude.
That's the prelude.
And I walked into a bar there while they had that song playing and walked up, ordered myself a drink and everything. And I pointed at the TV, I was like, I work on that car. And they're like, no, you don't. I work on that
Sure
car.
you
So
do.
I pulled up some of the videos of me working on it. There you go. And
Yeah.
they gave me a free
Yeah.
drink for that.
Nice.
They actually did. So, yeah,
Yeah.
there it is.
But-
there was a little segment of...
Well, the funny thing with the Prelude was, obviously, I've had that car since 2001. It's been in a garage for 16 years. The full story is the garage fell
Yeah.
down on the car.
Yeah.
I got told about this 9 days before it happened.
That's
And
very
the car
standard.
hadn't run for 16 days. And the
16
fuel
years.
pump was done. 16 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And the fuel pump was done, so it didn't work at all. Car wasn't available. I was like, well, I'm not a mechanic.
Yeah,
I can't fix it. Car was like, well, you'll have to, because I can't do it. So I had to strip the entire car apart, which literally was the whole car, wasn't it? All the interior had come out.
Yeah,
I had
because
to get rid of the strut brace over the top of the.
fuel tank access in a 4th gen Prelude is not good. It's not a good
It
time.
was 26-degree heat, and I couldn't open the windows. I had to shut
Yeah.
myself inside the car and take it all apart in 26-degree heat. I was like, oh my god! But I did it, and 9
not
days it
good.
was running. But then I didn't have an MOT. Did it? So I had to get it down to you, and
So
it wouldn't run.
I sorted that out.
You sorted that out, yeah. Yeah, and the
Not
what else was it?
illegitimate.
Fuel?
Not illegitimate.
It did actually go
did
through. It
actually
went, yeah.
pass an MOT. I tested
That's
it,
good.
but it did pass an MOT.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
good.
exactly. But also the thing is, obviously, Carl does do some of our MOTs, not for the cars we sell.
Yeah.
We get someone else to do it because someone
No.
else's name is on it, and that's
Yeah.
better out. But
Yeah.
you know, Carl is a stickler. And he's a
I-
stickler as much as I am. If anything's unsafe, there's no way we're
Well,
passing
my problem with it
MOTs.
is I've got an MOT license to keep. My
Yeah,
MOT
pretty
license
much.
is worth far more than that car.
Pretty much.
Simple as that.
Excuse me? What?
It is. Fix
It's
it.
not.
Fix it properly.
It's not.
Wait, no, I can't say that because it's me that fixes it.
Exactly. And also you're inheriting it, so.
Oh, yeah, there is that. There is that.
But yeah, so the Prelude's been around a long time, and yeah, so if it does go into this video thing, I'll put some stuff up on my page and let you guys know if it's going on to
It'll all
the
be
movie.
there.
There
But that
was-
should be there all week. They're taking it away from me, Adrian. First
Oh,
time it's
really?
ever been taken from me.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what they're saying is that we drop off Sunday night
Yeah.
and they pick up potentially Wednesday, potentially Friday.
Ooh.
Well, why would you need it so long?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's a closed set and everything's locked up. We've got security and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And we will, and the people that hire it from me, so Cinemoto,
Yeah.
so obviously we're all licensed to drive them.
Yes, they're
No
fully
one will be
insured.
driving your car. We will just be moving it because it's like a static meat scene that's going on. So anything happens to the car, it's all insured. Don't worry about it. Blah
Yeah.
blah blah. I'm like, okay. But I haven't told them that you have to unplug the battery every time you turn it off
Yeah.
because the headlights stay on.
Because it's
Yeah.
got an issue with the
Did.
headlight stalk at the moment.
Yeah.
It's really to
I'm
sort.
waiting to have that conversation with them. It's like, by the way, whenever you stop, please open the bonnet and disconnect the battery because otherwise it was dead when you come back to it.
Yeah, that's.
Or just keep a jump pack handy.
Yeah, I'll put a jump pack in the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can get that jump pack on my TikTok Live. Because I have affiliate links for those.
course.
So yeah, please do.
There was
But,
a link somebody
yeah.
sent me earlier today of a car. It was advertising a garage of some flavour, but it was like, it was the most horrible, ratty looking, and not like, oh, we've gone for the rat look thing.
Oh right, rat
It
rod
was
style.
just no, it wasn't even
Just
that, and it was like a 106 or something. But you look through and it's like, there's no way that thing has an MOT. And you look through and it has a perfect, pristine, no minors, nothing
Ah,
MOT
fake,
for the last
fake,
3 years.
Well, there's
And I'm looking at it going, bull. I don't buy that
The person
for a
that owns this
second.
definitely is an MOT tester.
Yeah. And I'm trying to
As
find.
you can see from my MOTs, it's fast every year and with no problems. There's no issues at all.
Well, I'd love to know who MOT'd my old Mini Woody because that had fresh MOT
Yeah.
when I bought it. And
Really?
That sounds
oh
very
yeah,
similar, doesn't
fresh.
it?
I had like
Wow.
11 months left.
Oh, God.
It's-
Rotten. Can you pick a big? Are you able to bring a picture of the Mini? Because I just want to show how good it was, and then we'll
Oh,
tell
it
them what
was-
happened to it the day after
was
we sold it.
Lovely. So, to go back to the Mini story while he's finding a photo of it, we got so burnt out with that Mini that during the time of fixing up the Mini, we bought 2 other cars.
We did. We did.
We
Because you
got
just
two
need
other
just
cars,
sick of the Mini.
Finished
I was
one
gonna
of
say-
them and sold it.
Yeah, there's a lot to be
Yeah,
said for
we
having
did.
something different for when I hate this. I need to do anything but this, but I need to do
You
something.
definitely had that car.
We
didn't
got halfway through the Mini and decided, let's go back to our roots, and we bought a Citroen Saxo.
you? Yes, we did. Woo to you, engine.
Nice.
Come
Another
on.
1.1 Citroen Saxo with a blown
That
head
was
gasket.
that was a head
Blue
gasket
140.
one. And we went down to Portsmouth again in the pouring rain. It was a lightning storm.
really
it was
bad
a really
weather.
bad lightning storm.
We
We
drove
bought
your
it.
106 down
Yes, we
there
did.
in the most biblical weather I've ever driven in my life.
Tell them about the turn I made when we
Yeah,
went
so
down.
we're coming down. for
Silver
anything-
Mini. Silver?
The blue one you popped
Grey
earlier.
one, yeah. Grey Mini.
The grey Mini, yeah, sorry.
Grey black stripes.
yes,
That is the one,
that
yes.
is- that is what we built
That is it, yeah.
in the end, which we were very proud of.
We
to be
were
fair.
very, very proud
And I
of
bought
it.
all sorts of things, probably from Temu, but you know,
Yeah,
for it, and it looked really cool.
we did. There's little
Because
finishing
I mean,
touches Neil was doing.
the original pictures of that car, you'll see it was horrific. It was terrible. Had the bog standard, it had chrome everywhere, just
Awful.
black stripes on the bonnet. I hated it. The second we saw it, I said to Carl, "I've got plans. We're going to do
Yeah.
a lot to it. We're going to do some modifications." And Carl's like, "No, we're going to fix it."
Yeah, let's fix it first.
Stop buying things. I'm like,
Just
yeah, but that's
fix
my
it.
bit. I like to buy stuff. But it turned out so well.
It was, and it drove better than it looked.
Oh yeah.
I daily
It
drove
did.
that, going back to what I was saying earlier. We try and do a thing where we test every car before we sell them.
Yeah.
So Neil
you tested
daily
the
the
hell out of that.
106 for about a month or so before we sold it,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first 106.
Yeah.
It was then my turn and I had the Mini. I'd also driven
I think
the
you
Clio
got a better
about.
deal
I
with
did,
that.
because I also had the Clio.
Yes, you did.
So,
So
I did
Carl
the,
had the 172 and,
Yeah.
and the flipping
And the
supercharged
Coupe
Mini,
S.
and I had the flipping 1.1 Saxo.
and the 1.116.
That feels a little bit like you
so,
got diddled
So
there.
I bought them.
Yeah.
Carl drags them around, and then
So yeah, I dailied that for 2 months, and hands down, like, I don't ever want to work on another Mini, but I really want to own another Mini. It was
Or
fantastic.
just rag about somebody else's because
It was
so much
great.
fun. But as
It
you can
was
see, obviously,
really
we
good.
finished this Mini, and it looked
It looks
immaculate and
It
beautiful.
was really nice.
And then we sold it to a chap that came down from London. And he was a Mini expert. He's on all the Mini groups, and he looked it over and he was like, "This is one of the cleanest I've ever seen." And me being me, when I buy performance cars, I go and like properly test them out. I'll drive them as fast as I can. I red line them. I go around the corners, and I always say to the person I'm buying it from, "I'm going to put my foot down in this because it's a performance car. I want to know it's going to handle. I want to know it's going to go through all the gears and everything else. I want to be able to test it properly. Do you mind if I do that on this test drive?"
Yeah.
And I've never had anyone say no. But for this, the guy wasn't insured. I was insured.
Yeah.
So I just said, "Look, I'll take it out.
Yeah.
I know you know Minis, so I'll go and drive it spiritably. You know, are you
You'll
okay
hear
with that?"
the
And he's like,
knocks
"Yeah,
and
yeah, that's fine."
knobs and- yeah.
So I, drove it very spiritably, and we went round a roundabout at more than motorway speeds,
Pace,
let's
yeah.
say, potentially. And I drove it really hard, really fast. I slammed on the brakes, went through all the gears
Yeah.
for him, showing him, we've done all the brakes, we did the suspension work, we did discs, we did pads, we did all the brake lines. Everything had been done on this car. It was the most sorted Mini you could get. And we came back, and I could tell he was shaking a little bit, which was good. I thought, right, it's good.
Yeah.
I've given him the scare of his life, and he's like, "This is amazing." So what was the price? And we bought the car for 750 quid.
yeah,
I think it owed us 1,800.
yeah, it's just
by the time
under
we
17
finished it.
something.
But we bought them when they were cheap, and we sold it fantastically when the price had just literally launched into the
Yeah.
stratosphere.
Brilliant.
And I sold it for about 3.5 grand. So we made
That's pretty
We
good.
did
good money
really
on
well
that.
with
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
And they've since plummeted in price again.
They have brilliantly.
you sold at the top of the
Yeah, so for
market.
OSC it worked really, really
For
well.
once.
Yeah.
So that gave us some more money in the bank to buy other
Yeah.
things and whatever else. But then, so I sold it to this chap, and he bought it for a friend.
Yeah.
So a few days later, I got a letter in the post from the police saying that my Mini had been impounded. I was like, what? It's not mine, number
Yeah,
one.
it's
And I'm
like,
like, well, how-
I've sold it already. It's
yeah,
gone.
so I messaged the guy saying, "Oh, obviously I know you bought this for your friend, but I've got a letter here saying it's been impounded,
Yeah.
and it's all in my name. Why isn't it even in his name
Yeah,
yet?
like, what's
Or,
going on?
What's going on?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I'll get back to you. I don't know." I was like, "Okay." And then I got a voice message saying, "I spoke to my friend. He's in hospital. The Mini's totaled. He's managed to roll it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
A year and a half
Yeah.
of our work."
And it was,
And it was like, I
Immaculate.
literally felt like crying.
yeah, oh yeah,
That is soul destroying.
I was like,
yeah.
"Are you kidding
It
me?"
sucked.
Yeah.
It really did suck because we
But
put
I mean,
so much effort into that.
the only good thing out of that was like I was saying, I took him out for the spirited drive first.
Yes.
Because
yeah.
obviously we've done all the work on the brakes and
'Cause
suspension,
I
and the first thing I
panicked.
thought was, oh shit, they're going to blame us for something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
And I knew that nothing Carl had done
Yeah.
would have gone wrong.
I mean, for a
So-
bit of context, at the time I was my ex-girlfriend at the time was living out in the middle of nowhere, countryside, south of Reading, and I was going to there and back every single day. I was throwing it down these country roads. Absolutely,
So
it was on
how
rails.
you can roll
I've no
that,
idea.
I
Yeah.
really
No
don't
idea.
know. But bless him, obviously, so I was talking to the guy that sold it, and I said, obviously, I'm devastated to hear what's happened to your friend. I hope he's okay. And
Yeah.
of course, that's the number one thing. Is he all right? And he said,
Yes.
well, actually, he's having reconstructive surgery because he's got a
Wow,
great
he
big gash out
properly
the
rolled
top
it.
of his head
Yeah, oh, yeah.
because it's got a
Panoramic
panoramic
roof.
glass roof.
Oh, okay.
All the
yeah.
glass
Oh my
came in.
God, I'm so sorry to hear that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I had to put in the, I hope you don't think that's anything to do with the car.
Do you know what happened?
No, he doesn't either.
Yeah.
No, it's not been discussed. But he
But they've
did,
said they don't blame the car.
But
at
he
all.
did say, after that test drive,
Yeah.
and I drove it back from Reading to London,
Yeah.
100% there's nothing wrong with the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah. He's,
So
he's at
don't,
least happy.
don't
that-
even give it a second thought.
Yeah.
It wasn't the car, it
Yeah.
was the driver.
Skill
and I'm like,
issue.
But
okay,
was
fair
it
enough.
not his second car and his first quick car as well? From what I
I don't
understand.
know. There's
I remember
a bit
something
of
being
controversy about
mentioned.
that. I'm not sure, but he
But-
didn't want to tell me too much
Yeah.
because
Sure.
clearly the guy wasn't driving particularly safely.
Yeah. I have just
you know.
found a picture of this car. And I forgot it was actually for an auto valeting company.
Oh, right.
Oh wow! Holy moly! That's epic. I like that. If
That,
you're not,
that has a completely 100% clean MOT.
That.
no, it doesn't.
So,
I have a it's also listed as being white.
Well, there's some white. It's just poking through the dirt.
I'm baffled by the company that's advertising, because if that's how the car looks after they've washed it,
Right?
Yeah.
You would think.
Wow.
You would think they'd have time to.
they specify luxury as well. It's a
So what-
Peugeot
so what would their
107 or
slogan
whatever
be?
they are.
We do the absolute opposite of this.
We
to
do. We
vehicles.
spend so much time on your cars.
Yeah, we have.
This is what ours looks like.
Yeah,
Wow.
something like that. That's
What is that on the side of it?
That's an exhaust. That's a
the
silencer.
back box, yeah.
Wow.
And the back box does appear to run all the way around and through, which
Can you
is
just not
and
open
that's
this door now?
and that's another
No.
exhaust
I
down
don't
here.
think you can.
And the wing is missing. It looks like a Cybertruck because it looks like it's just
Yeah.
peeled off.
That's pretty cool.
Um,
I quite dig that. To be fair.
yeah.
And also, obviously, when we show you what we've been doing with our Amiga.
Yeah, so going back to we bought two other cars
Yeah.
during the Mini.
Oh yes.
So we bought a little Citroen Saxo, kind of similar stories before, blown head gasket, tidied it up, made it really, really nice,
Oh,
sold
yeah,
it.
that was good. That was a nice one.
Personally bought that, was really happy with it as well.
My children still want that car
That's a great
because
little
I used to
car.
drive it them to school. What was it?
Yeah,
It was
it was a Forte edition.
Forte.
Funky interior.
Oh.
Every seatbelt was a different colour.
There's
like,
a silver seatbelt, a red seatbelt, a green seatbelt, and a blue seatbelt
Yeah.
in this car. It was so
I
cool.
believe this is the Omega.
The Omega.
So, the backstory to the Vauxhall Omega. This thing is absolutely fantastic. This car belonged to my best friend's granddad, who is ex-police. And he basically had a Vauxhall Omega as his police car way back when they were police cars. Anyone in the UK remember when Omegas were police cars?
You weren't.
And-
You weren't born.
Well, true. But he loved it so much. He'd never owned a car himself in his life. He'd always had company cars. He loved it so much he went straight to the Vauxhall dealership and bought himself one. And that is the Omega that then got offered to me. And unfortunately, this guy now has Alzheimer's and can't be driving anymore. But one thing he does distinctly, very strongly remember is how much he loves that car. And his family were going to scrap it. It had rotten rear arches. Other than that, really clean, tidy car.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
the rear arches are rotten. And there's a dent in the boot lid. It's generally
Well,
a little
service
tatty.
history and everything, didn't it? Low
But-
mileage.
He'd spent in the past few years nearly £5,000 having welding work done underneath the car. So it's actually really tidy under the skin. And I made a promise to him. I was like, I can't afford to give you much money for it, but I can promise you, if you let me have it for scrap value, it will not get scrapped.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
save it.
We'll
you
do
know?
something
Yeah,
with it.
pretty much.
And, you know, so I bought it behind Neil's back. Neil had
Yes.
no idea I was doing this. I
Not
just
the buyer. Not the buyer.
I to anyone local in Reading, I pulled into Prospect Park, in the car park in Prospect Park, video called Neil and was like, look what I've done.
I was like, oh no, Carl.
V6 estate.
Bear in
Vauxhall
mind
Omega.
the story of the Woody
Yes.
that Carl bought.
Yeah,
What
you're
have you
expecting.
bought
Oh
now?
no! Oh
Yeah,
no! Oh no!
but it's a
Especially,
one-owner
it does
car.
have a little bit of rust. Oh god!
Yeah, no, he did say those words. I was like, how much rust? He went, I'll show you when I bring it over. Oh no.
It's
At least
What
it's
have
going to
we
make
done?
it over.
mechanically really good.
Yeah.
So it actually coincided really well with, at the time, my daily driver, which is an Audi A4, had just snapped its timing belt.
Oh yeah.
And many valves meant many
I was going to
pistons.
say, was that a punch itself to death moment?
I wasn't
Yeah.
going slow.
Right.
And
And-
Audis don't like
and
that.
No, they don't.
and
no.
it's an
Been
auto.
there, done
Yeah, I
that.
know you've been there, done
It's
that.
an
yeah.
auto, so there was no throwing it
Yeah,
into neutral
yeah.
and shutting it off. It was it was
Decimation.
unhappy.
It's
Luckily,
it's the 1,000-yard stare of.
Oh dear.
luckily, it's a PD engine, and everyone knows PD engines will know that the valves in them go directly up and down. So they don't actually bend valves; they snap
Yeah.
rockers,
That's not so bad.
which is great. Except
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time, so I fitted a new head.
We.
Yeah, we fitted.
I
a
was
new head.
actually involved
Yeah.
At least
Matt,
on the
you did.
upside, you have a full set of valves, a
Yes.
full head, except for the rockers,
head is
as
now-
a spare.
No, that's becoming a coffee table with all
Oh,
the
even better,
rockers in
yes,
it.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
coffee
it
table.
is. It's currently sat outside my doorstep and has been for months.
That's-
I
so
need
the-
to
Years.
do something about that.
The gearbox that
Been sat
came
around for years.
out of my A6
Yeah.
when the diff the bearings grenaded themselves.
Nice. Yeah.
And you can't buy rebuild kits for the
No.
bearings. Nobody makes them. You can't buy the diff to just put a new diff in the gearbox.
What?
So the only
Why?
the only part you can buy to fix that
What's wrong with you,
is a
Audi?
box.
is a gearbox,
Yeah.
which is 10
Yeah,
grand.
Audi do that a lot though, don't they?
CVT
it
by
seems.
chance?
No,
No.
automatic 7-speed DSG.
Okay, yeah.
And the reason we believe that the bearings that eventually grenaded was the flywheel. So you've got the bell that kind of goes across the top of the drive shaft going through the bell housing. Was loose by about 10 degrees. It had wallowed itself.
Neil's brain
out.
good.
Yeah.
Technical stuff I don't
um,
understand.
yeah,
Bearings
it was-
don't like vibration like that,
And
generally
it wasn't
speaking.
just vibration. It was every time you went between reverse or neutral and forward, it went.
Doof, yeah.
And just opened it up. And mine was only about 10 degrees. There was an A5 in the garage that did it at the same time, which was DT, as it happens. And they had a second one and it had exactly the same problem, but it hadn't grenaded the
Yeah.
diff yet. And that was something like a 30-degree move between the two. How it had survived,
I've seen
I
that
don't
issue
know.
myself. I have seen that.
But I have the gearbox, and I'm going to turn the bell housing into a sink.
Nice, that's cool. That's really
That's
cool.
a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
I
That's
like
quite
that.
cool.
So yeah, I have a potentially £10,000 sink, which will be nice.
Very nice.
Yeah,
£10,000
not
Selling point right
yeah,
there for the
pretty
house.
Yeah, that's it.
so no, it'll be outside. It'll go with the outside tap.
Oh,
It's-
good.
yeah. Just
You
lack
can wash
of-
your hands on my
yeah,
£10,000
just lack
sink.
of- yeah, exactly, pretty
Awesome.
much. So yeah, that's going to be
Bit of,
the
silicone,
plan for
yeah.
that, and just
Seal that
strip
up.
the gears out, and then I have the gears to do something which might turn into a table because I can take all the gears and lay them out,
Yeah.
cast them in resin, and then put them on the crankshaft out of my VR6 that I minced the bearings in.
This does sound like something you would do,
Yeah.
really, to be fair.
This is-
So
It's
yeah,
not something Carl would ever get round to doing, but maybe Carl would do it.
One day I'll aspire to do it when I have the time.
yeah. But yeah, that's So I know I've got a great idea for this big
pain.
hunking lump of metal
yeah,
that's
that just
now trash.
It's now sat next to my front door.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the
got a few
timing
of
belt
those, haven't we?
went on my Audi, and I had just bought this Omega. So naturally, V6 Vauxhall Omega became my daily driver.
Sure.
As I
And
just
you still
got
had
a.
the 1.1, presumably.
I did, yeah, the Saxo, which is my daily driver because my Peugeot wasn't working. What was
Yeah.
wrong with my Peugeot? I can't remember. Something had happened to it.
No, I
The
can't
car was supposed
remember.
to fix it, and it didn't.
French.
So
I was
I
gonna
just had to
say.
use I had to use the project car.
Yeah,
that we
I
were
can't
doing.
remember.
And,
But,
so both of us were out of our daily drivers.
Yeah, so naturally,
At the
Vauxhall
time.
Omega becomes a daily driver. As I just got a new job working not in Reading anymore.
Oh, great. So miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Audi gets about 60 mpg
Yeah.
on the motorway. Fantastic 2-litre diesel.
Yep.
The Omega, you're lucky to get 20. It's a big, heavy boat, and it's a petrol V6.
I would put money on it
Automatic
being
as
about
well?
15.
Auto.
Ooh.
Petrol
15
V6, auto.
miles to the gallon.
Yeah.
4-speed.
It's a beast.
But it's an LSD car because it's ex-police.
Nice.
So it's
Yeah.
it goes sideways quite well.
Oh, I
Actually,
bet.
it does.
I had
As an estate, that's quite impressive.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
it's a big
So
old
much
boat.
fun.
It's
I
a
had
big
a-
old boat, but
I had a BMW
there's no
540.
noise, there's no drama. It's just
No, it just
waft.
Yeah,
It's a
just
wafter.
waft everywhere. I had a BMW B540, and when I lived on one side of Reading and worked on the other side of Reading, I was regularly seeing 8 through traffic. Going through the
Yes, that
centre.
sounds like the prelude.
I drive an RX-8 at the moment.
So you don't get miles to the gallon, you get miles to
He's
the
a
apex.
wangle. He's a wangle boy
It's
at
the
the
most
moment.
reliable car I've ever owned.
I was
Many
going to say,
woods.
there's
Yeah.
wood all around. It just,
Oh yeah,
touch-
just bearing in mind, obviously this is our new project car that we haven't really told OSC people
No,
about.
so-
So there's more to come on the
There is a
RX-8,
lot more
but
to come.
Nice.
that's the
I
next
will
purchase.
not
But
delve
whilst
into that
Carl
too
was
much.
dailying the Amiga, we decided that we'd buy another car.
We did
While we
say
were
we'd
fixing
buy
the
another
Mini
car.
still, and while
Yeah.
I was dailying the Saxo, where we're trying to get the drive shaft sorted out with that, because we
did.
turned up at the scrapyard, of course.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, one that's
sure.
shut down now. I don't know if it went to Padworth.
Yes,
Padworth
I got
breakers.
loads of bits
Oh,
from
I
it.
love
Padworth.
Great
That was
Padworth.
such a nice walk.
You were definitely going to cut
down the
yourself
hill.
and get
Dangerous,
Yeah.
dangerous walk
Yeah,
down,
on
but
everything.
fantastic
Yes.
fun.
It was
That old
dangerous.
924 down the bottom in the bushes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that
The
was there
Wosley.
for ages.
Did
There
we
was
ever
an
get the
R30
hubcaps off the Wosley?
No.
We didn't. did we?
Somewhere I
That's
have a
shame.
photograph of an R33 that they had up right at the top near
What?
Yeah.
near the office
Yeah.
that was
Did they?
rolled.
Ooh,
It
I
was
don't remember that.
bent
That
in
wasn't
on
there for long.
every corner. It was there years when I
I
was
didn't see
there.
it.
Probably
there
know the
for
person
long.
that drove.
Yeah.
I saw it like once, and then next time I went, it was gone.
Oh no, I went up there.
There for
low.
years,
It
was
was
it?
it was there for
Okay.
years and years.
Fair.
Probably at least 2 to 3 years while I was going there.
Right, okay.
And that's around 2008, 9, 10-ish,
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
like
because
that.
I was going there in like '99
Yeah.
for parts from my XR2,
Uh-huh.
one of my first cars.
Yeah.
So I've been going there
Yeah.
forever. And obviously Carl was just like, "You're coming with me. You're like this. You're like this. This is awesome."
A1 just doesn't have quite the same feel to it.
Especially
All
not
the
now.
stacks, it's,
If
yeah,
you've been
just a-
recently, you have to set cars up to the top and this and that, and they don't let you.
Was that A1?
They don't let you take anything off the cars that are on stands now. You have to ask for a car and they bring it to the front. Yeah, they're
Oh, nice. You've got an audience. Everyone's watching you taking these
yeah.
cars apart.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're
thanks for that.
really, really on it now. It's
We got a
bit
lot of
shame.
stuff out of there for the kit car.
Yeah. But we rolled into Padworth Breakers, and well, you'll know you got that sort of driveway coming down.
It's a
and
very
I-
long road
yeah.
down to the
Yes.
scrapyard, isn't it?
Yep.
And I'm driving, Neil's in the passenger seat, and he gets the camera out, and he's like, "What's that over there on the back of a truck?" And what we see on the back of the truck, are we announcing what it is? It's on our
Yeah.
socials.
Yeah, people know what it is.
Is a Renault 19 16-valve saloon. Now, anyone who
They're
knows old
not
The
Renaults
Chamade.
will
Yeah.
know the
I love those
saloons were rare when they were new.
They were rare.
They're a lot rarer now.
They're
According to
incredibly
how
rare.
many left, which isn't the most accurate thing in the world, but according
No,
to how
I've
many
just
left,
been going through a lot of that.
Yeah.
according to how many left, there's less than 10. What that means is there's really not many.
Is that less than 10 with MOTs on the road? Or is that
That's less
It
than
does,
registered to
10.
the
it does
UK?
both, so it'll
Yeah.
tell you how many there are registered and how many are sawned for a given thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one I was looking for recently, another Renault, weirdly,
Oh, nice.
that was down at Basingstoke Festival of Transport, and it didn't even list it as an option.
Nice.
It was a 1-year trim level that they did on the Renault.
So,
Carl's getting
11.
excited.
oh, I like an 11.
It was an American.
Right, okay.
It
yeah.
11s are cool. I like 11s.
11s are
That's,
cool.
that's
Sure,
a
it was
cool
an
little car.
11.
So, the thing about how many left and the thing is, it's entirely dependent on what's put on the log.
Sorry, no, it wasn't 11. It was an 18. I'm lying. There was an
Oh,
11
very
elsewhere.
Very
I don't know what an 18
Yeah.
is. Can you put a little picture in?
18's the sort of slant back
Yep.
hatchy one.
I'll just put this
really,
on the
really cool.
TV because this is. I'm currently editing this video from like 2 weekends ago.
Okay.
Going through. Jess, can I switch onto the TV a sec?
Nice.
Yes,
If you must.
Oh, God, I'm dropping mic stuff. Has that
yeah.
run out of battery yet? Oh, it's getting close. It's flashing.
Yeah, that
That's
was it.
tidy. I like that a lot.
And that was a one.
Oh, okay.
That was a 1
That
year
is a brick,
only.
isn't it? That's
yeah.
a proper brick.
Yeah.
So they made that for 1983 only. Made 1,500 of them.
Wow.
Came in silver over black over silver with the alloy wheels and a swanky plush.
Oh, those are
interior.
alloys, are they?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
look like wheel trims.
1983, and it had 16-inch alloys from
Wow,
the factory.
that big,
and,
16.
and that's a nice interior for an 83. Like that's quite plush and swanky.
I know
inside.
Carl is salivating right now because he
Oh,
loves
oh.
any old Renault, literally.
And
I
I
think
looked-
you'd have all of them, wouldn't you, lined up outside your house if you could?
Pretty much.
I looked
yeah, there's not
on
many I don't like.
how many left, and the American as a trim level does not register.
Ooh.
So,
So
as far as they're concerned,
ultra,
there's none.
ultra rare. There is
and there's
no other.
only 25 18s on the road at all.
Wow.
It entirely depends on what's actually on the V5.
Yeah.
So if the trim level's not been put on the V5 when it was
Yeah.
registered new,
Pretty
it doesn't
much.
show up in how many left. So
Pretty
it's a bit wild. But,
Basically, Jason, that is it.
yeah. But there's really not many 19, 16 valve saloons left. This is a facelift, so a
No.
phase 2 car.
I mean,
and
when we
it's-
looked up, it was something like 15 registered in the UK and something like 7 with MOTs.
Yeah.
I think it was at the time.
And phase 2, it's showing less than 10. I can't remember what it was. It was like
because it's phase
8
2.
or
Because obviously,
9.
I think the phase 1s back in the day when I was young, the phase 1s were very, very popular. And then the phase 2s come out, and everyone was like, "Oh, I can't afford them," because they were new.
Yeah,
back
and
then.
they were quite expensive.
So nobody
as
could
well.
get a phase 2, but people wanted the phase 2s rather than the phase 1s. But now people are after the phase 1s more. They're more popular for some reason.
Yeah.
But then those are the hatchbacks, which are a lot more
Yeah, all the convertibles.
readily available convertibles,
Yeah.
which are
Yeah,
worth
there
nothing
was-
now. No one seems to want the convertibles at all.
There
But
was
the
a-
Shemades were used in 1993 for the British Touring Car Championship,
Yeah.
BTCC. So they have a bit of a heritage as
They
well.
do, yeah.
But this thing was on a trailer at Padworth Breakers.
About to go on the Weybridge.
It was literally coming off on a forklift truck. And I was like, "Carl, park the car, I'm off." And I was running down the road. Whoa, 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 whoa! What are you doing with that thing?
For
And he was
anyone who
like-
knows how scrapping a car works, the moment it's gone over the weighbridge and been weighed, it's declared scrap metal.
Yeah, that was the 11 that was there.
That's cool.
nice.
That's cool.
66,000 miles from new. Second owner as of a few years
Wow.
prior, and the previous owner said, "Oh yeah, nobody's ever sat in the back seat.
That's ridiculously clean.
Just
Look at
they've
it.
never
Yeah.
had anybody in the back of the car
Wow.
for more than
Yellow
30 years
fogs.
of its
Yeah.
life."
Yes, yellow
Back to the,
fogs.
yeah.
All
There'll be
French
yellow-
cars should
yellow
have yellow
glass as
fogs, as
well.
far as we're concerned. That's very cool.
That's the wrong way.
Can't say it, the
That's the
Alpine
one, yeah.
is stunning as well.
Yeah, the Alpine's
that's,
amazing.
That's
I
a dream
spent,
car of mine.
I spent a lot of time
Definitely
around
have one of
that.
those. That's
That was
amazing.
dream car of mine. They were cheap once.
Were
They
they?
annoying. They
Really?
were relatively cheap ones.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Oh,
I
also, the
want
best number plate I've ever
Oh.
seen on a car.
Right, yeah,
Wow.
A610 Alpine.
Just
What more could you
Very
want?
cool.
chef's kiss.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, so I've been editing this for like 2 days because trying to find
Nice.
on all of the videos I do from shows, I try to put a bit of information about the car rather than just a walk around.
Yeah.
So then researching every vehicle to find what it is, the trim, the engine, 0 to 60, power, everything else, and then write some script to fit over
Yeah.
the top.
That's a
It
lot of
is
work.
hell.
Yeah,
But
I was going to do it on our
it is
channel, but I
different, at
can't be
least.
bothered. I
For
can't
the
be
I,
long
bothered to
I would
form.
read.
recommend not.
I'm not much of a reader, so I don't really want to go through stuff. But Carl's the opposite. You love to read everything.
For the
don't
long
you?
form, I think we need to at least bullet point.
Oh yeah,
Minimum.
you can do that. No, that's fine.
Oh,
I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. I'll talk.
fine.
You write stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But yeah, John's just saying the manual V6 variant of the 3.2 V6 was only available to the police
Yes, it was.
in the Omegas.
It was indeed.
Oh, okay.
So
Ours is not a 3.2.
No, it is a
No,
2.5. isn't it?
it's weird because it's a facelift car, which would imply 2.6, but it's got a 2.5 engine in it.
interesting.
So again, I think this might have been some funky police thing because it's got an LSD as well.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
as soon as we put it up on the channel, people were going, "Oh no, I think you're wrong. It's a 2.6 litre, not
But
a
it's
2.5
not.
litre."
It's a 2.5.
It is a 2.5.
So-
It's got the badge still on the back. It's,
Yeah,
it
the-
says
the-
it.
It has an
It
engine
literally
code
says
that
it,
says
dude.
2.5. Yeah.
There are visible differences, and excuse me if I'm wrong, I might have this wrong way round because I've not looked under the bonnet of the Omega in a while, but 2.5s and 3 litres have a plastic rocker cover on both sides, and the 2.6 and 3.2s have metal, or it might be the other way around, but it's something like that. So it is definitely a 2.5,
yeah.
is what we're saying.
One way or the other. It's
And we have had the rock covers off because it was leaking like,
But it's
like a waterfall.
yeah, but it's a facelift CDX spec, which is quite high, not quite. It's not quite the elite. It's just not leather.
Heated seats.
Heated seats, electric
Cloth.
seats, but
Heated
cloth,
seats, yeah.
which is
heated
nice.
cloth is a very
Yeah.
rare thing to
It
find.
is.
And
yeah.
people are liking it more now.
Yeah.
Because they're realising that leather is cold in the winter and way too hot in the summer.
Yes, yeah, it has.
Yeah.
It
As
has
much as
some
back
great
then, we used to go,
benefits,
"Oh,
but-
it hasn't even got leather."
yeah,
But
Here's a
now
fun
it's
one.
quite,
it's like,
you know,
ooh,
My old
it doesn't
Peugeot-
have leather.
yeah, it doesn't have leather.
My old Peugeot 306, which was a Phase 1 5-door 1.8 auto.
5-door 306.
It was I can't remember what the XT, I think was the name of the spec. Had electric rear windows, which according to the 306 owners group don't exist. But they do, because mine had it and factory, you know, with a switchgear all there, and I've got the owner's manual that talks about them and everything.
So
and a
weird.
heated driver's seat, but just the drivers.
Okay.
Just for
Just
you.
the drivers.
Just for you, no one
Yeah.
else.
But the,
No one else gets
the
it.
switch is on the steering column. So, like, it's factory, it's
Yeah.
how it's meant to be, but
So
it's just the
weird.
drivers. Yeah, so some
On the,
weird
hang on the
spec
steering
cars.
column?
Yeah, on the
Is it,
column.
like underneath,
Yeah.
or is it on one of the
Nope,
stalks?
underneath steering column, little switch, little toggle switch.
So someone doesn't drill that in and put that
No,
in there?
no,
You sure
no
that's
it's in the owner's manual.
How weird.
So,
It was
but
a very
again,
weird car.
306 owners group claim that that's not a real
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah, obviously doesn't.
And
doesn't
according to how many
exist.
left, there was only one XT left in
It's
existence.
nice that it's rare, but it did
Yeah.
try and kill you.
It did go up in flames
Did try and kill you.
outside a petrol station.
I mean, outside or on the forecourt?
I was about to pull onto the forecourt.
Oh, okay.
I was,
Fair enough.
I was on the way in.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the indicator
Yeah.
stalk decided to electrically short out, and the entire dash loom got very hot very quickly, to a point where it burnt my leg. And
That's not so much a warning light as when the loom becomes a light.
it's
more of a problem.
I knocked it into neutral and put my feet up on the passenger seat because it was literally plastic
Roll away
dripping
from the
down,
petrol station.
plastic
Roll away
dripping
from
down
the
off,
petrol
off the steering column and the bottom of the
Wow.
dash, and got out of the car, and it just went up. I was like, oh dear.
My dad had a problem similar to that. He had a Cortina 1600. It was done up to look like the Lotus Cortina
Yeah.
before he got it, so it had the cream and green
Still cool, though.
stripe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
But it was just a 1600, and he pulled into his work car park at the time, stopped at the gate, and got out of the car. And the guy said, "Oh, you can't park it there, as
Can't park here, mate.
as the wiring loom is melting because there
Wow.
were no fuses in it from the factory."
Oh,
Um,
my camera.
so
That's how the
Alright, so
camera
go for
died.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fine.
I was like, "Is it the Sennheiser?"
No.
So yeah, and he's out there with a 10mm, furiously taking the battery off. The guy's going, "Oh, you
Hang
can't."
on, hang on. He found a 10mm.
Well, he had a spanner with him just in case.
Literally.
They did. So, there was a bunch of them. All had
Carry on.
Cortinas,
Oh,
and they
get
were
the keys
always working on somebody's clumsy car
Yeah.
every single weekend. Yeah,
10mm.
yeah.
Always have a
Always
10
carry
mil.
one.
Come in handy, yeah.
How many times we use that?
Quite often, actually.
I've lost my 10mm. Aha, it's on my keys.
Oh, it might not be up.
Ironically, mine's in my toolbox.
I thought I had. We had some.
Well, it would be,
that
wouldn't
we
it?
got made up for.
I'm just going to change the battery on the
Yeah, go
GoPro
for it.
if you don't mind.
We got
Sorry.
some temporary tattoos made up of 10mm sockets,
Nice.
guaranteed to go missing.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Therefore, none of your others are sacrificial. This is your sacrificial 10mm
Yeah,
with the
'cause that
temporary
one's going
tattoo.
to disappear. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
we handed them out. They
That's a
went down
good
a
idea.
storm,
That's a great idea. I like
So,
that.
yeah.
That's quite funny.
but it was great. So, yeah, it's
Somehow we've dropped off the live.
it's always fun when you have a. This should be working perfectly. Why is my car melting?
Yeah, no, it was
This
as I was
shouldn't
indicating into the petrol station.
Were you
it just
deliberately going
decided-
to the petrol station? Okay,
Yeah, I was going to put fuel in.
because that wasn't your panic. I'll just put it
Luckily,
somewhere.
it meant it didn't have much fuel in it. So there is that.
Yeah.
Ironically, as well, because it was only the interior that really went up, and it's the dash mostly.
Yeah.
Like the rest of it, somewhat survived. So after getting the battery off, fire going out, I ran home because I was only around the corner of my house.
Sure.
Grabbed all I found was a flathead screwdriver. Ran back to the car, hacked away at the inside of the now molten dashboard.
Yeah.
Cut every wire I could find, and drove it home with no electrics. So it was pouring with rain. It was about 11 o'clock at night in the middle of winter, and I drove home with no wipers, no lights. But it made it back to my house, and then I stripped it for parts, and I still have the back doors, the rear window switches.
Yes, we
the boot
do in my
lids,
garage, Carl.
the front doors. Yeah, I've still got a lot of it just
Yeah.
tucked away in the garage.
It's still hanging around.
Yeah,
It's there in
I
spirit.
really, really liked my 306. It was a great car until it tried to kill me. It was a free car.
As so many frequently are.
Yeah.
that is the way so many
Well,
things.
me and Neil both have 306 stories.
Oh, yeah.
Because Neil also nearly died in a 306.
I did.
But yours didn't actively try to kill you. Yours saved your life.
Oh, it did,
so
100%.
Yin yang, you know how it works.
Yeah, my 306 was a 306 diesel turbo, which is
Much cooler.
So cool car.
Yes.
I love diesel turbo. So when the turbo works, it's brilliant. Really good car. Otherwise, it's a bit crap. And I just had the wheel bearing done in the garage. It was looking pristine because it was white. It was a white Phase 1
Yeah.
306 diesel turbo.
Both white
Such
phase
a cool
ones,
car.
because mine
How
was
are you
too.
looking on your mic?
Am I going?
Just
One
while I
drop off.
remember.
Good idea.
Did you find the
Clever.
batteries?
Poke
I've-
at mine
I have-
as well.
I have-
It's,
more-
it's flashing empty. So we might want to try some new ones.
I've got
this is-
basically what I have on hand is my sort of half-used ones out of the garage
Nice.
from when we've done PedalBox recordings.
You tested these, right? They were. Does it tell you the level of
Yeah.
them? Right.
Well, I mean,
Within,
it tells you the level to within an amount.
Alright. Yeah, sorry about the TikTok live.
There's a
everybody.
couple
It seems to have just disappeared off.
Have you started it back up again?
Yeah, that's all right. Number one. Yeah, it's got one bar again.
No,
My
we'll
background.
run with one bar and then
Yeah, we'll just keep going one bar.
Good,
That's
good.
for you.
at some point we're just feeding stray cats to the mountain lions. Hopefully that should be
Is that
back again.
Let me just check see if that's working. 'cause
Let me see if
it keeps dropping itself out. Sorry.
come on. Yep, you are currently live apparently.
Hey.
2 people
Sweet.
watching.
No, it just won't let me.
Hello, 2 people. Fantastic.
Yeah, you're live. I just can't watch
Yeah,
it because
yeah,
I'm not
okay.
logged in.
You're good.
Right. Good.
Well,
But it
well
at least
done.
tells me that it's up.
So yeah, we bought
We're live.
we bought this Vauxhall Omega. It became my daily driver for 10 months. I was spending £20 a day in fuel to work and back.
That's good.
It was hitting you pretty hard,
Yeah,
wasn't it, to be fair?
the company I was working for basically said that they're going to be paying for my fuel. I had
it
been
didn't.
keeping receipts and racked up nearly £4,000 worth of fuel receipts, and then they promptly decided, no, we're not going to do that now.
No.
My other colleague who was doing a similar commute, in fact, he was going from Thatcham to out past Slough.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, daily driving an RX-8 at the time. not the same RX-8.
It must have been the
he had
same,
he had a different one.
same costings.
He racked up a bit more than I did.
Did he?
Yeah,
Wow.
a little bit more. Because he had twice the journey. Because I live in Woodley at the time, so I was that end of Reading anyway.
Yes, yeah.
Like,
You were at least straight out and down and through.
A329 M4,
Yeah, done.
easy. You know, it was a 20-minute commute, not
Yeah.
even.
Yeah, from Thatcham you double that at least 20,
Yeah.
another 20-30 minutes.
A4,
Yeah.
M4
Yeah.
is
And also bear in
unpleasant
mind
times
that
for him.
this poor Amiga, obviously being owned by the grandfather, but was only popping to the shop.
It had never
for
done
a
more
long
since
time.
he'd owned it, and since he'd retired from the police force. It hadn't done more than a 3-mile journey because it went from his house, which was, for anyone who knows Reading, I'll give a rough idea, from his house, which was near Prospect Park, to the Asda that's near Prospect Park and back, and that's the only journey he ever
I
did.
was gonna say,
At least
that's
it went
basically just a lap of Prospect Park.
But you have to
Basically.
bear in mind, at least he went over some speed bumps to get to
Yeah,
Asda.
yeah.
So the
Yeah.
suspension was being used a little bit.
Yeah. It had 70,000 miles on it when I got it.
That's a lot of Asda.
It was used as his company car
Yeah,
before he
fair.
retired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good car, really good car. Did me really well actually. It never let me down.
It was a decent car.
Really, really solid car.
We
We still
got
own
that.
it.
Got that for crazy cheap. You
We
haven't
did. I
tried
paid
it yet.
£160.
Yeah,
for
10
that.
months MOT.
Yeah.
So Carl did very well. He's not allowed to buy cars, but he did it anyway.
Did it?
It's like, I think your original opening line to me is you're going to like this, but there's
Yeah.
certain things you're not going to like.
Okay.
Is that
okay.
right?
The badge.
So this
for
is
a start.
this is a mixed
Yeah,
bag.
a badge. Because
Neil is not a Vauxhall
I'm
man.
not a Vauxhall fan.
Right.
Neither am
I pretty much hate Vauxhalls. Always hated them. Just because my mum had she had a Vauxhall Vectra SRI, the 150 brake horsepower thing,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, and it's a sports kind of car. It was labelled as a sports car. It's SRI. You
Yeah.
know? And this thing is so wallowy. It was slow. It handled like crap. The door handle snapped off in my hand. It was just absolute tosh.
Yeah.
But it was a 2.2, and at the time on the driveway at my mum's house, I had my 2.2 litre VTEC Prelude.
Sure.
And my stepdad had his 2.3 Aero
Okay.
Saab.
Yeah.
And I drove all three of those, and I was like, this is a heap of rubbish in comparison to the other two.
Yeah.
So comparative-wise, that's crap.
Yeah.
My mum was like, it was amazing, it's brilliant. And it's a Vauxhall,
It's
rubbish.
absolutely not.
So for me, it was like the only Vauxhall I'd ever driven, and I'm like, this is rubbish. And then everyone growing up obviously used to have courses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I street raced since I was about 15. And I never saw a Vauxhall twice, let's put it that way. No matter what I was driving, where I was going, and I was just driving little Fiestas. Like even 1.1 Fiestas,
Yeah.
I didn't see courses ever again.
Ugh.
You know? And I just thought, toff, rubbish. I
Yeah.
don't like them. The older stuff, like the not Volvos, hang on, no, the Novas.
Novas.
I always
all
wanted
that,
a
yeah.
Nova because I just love the way they look. They're such a nice shape
Yeah.
with the wide bodies and stuff.
I got a friend with a Nova.
I
Yeah,
like
well,
a Nova.
Yeah, he's been restoring it for at least 10 years that I know of.
Right.
I've not
Okay,
seen it
so it's just
finished.
sitting there. And
It's been progressing,
I-
but the progress is exponentially
Very
slower
slow,
each year.
is that because it's a Vauxhall, or is that because it's him?
He had a kid.
I've had two at the same time. I had twins, so there's no excuse. Get on with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No, but then for me, Vauxhalls kind of died off when the sort of Calibras stopped, and the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
The 2000
went
GSI, that was a good car.
Mm.
I admit that. I went out with my friends, one
Yeah.
good car, GSI 2000.
Yeah.
After
Cool,
that,
yeah.
for me, they died. And when Carl was like, you won't necessarily like what I've bought. What did I say to you when you told me it was a Vauxhall?
Oh no!
Do you remember what I said? Because I remember what I said.
Words. I don't.
The exact words were, that is not going on the channel.
Yeah.
We are not having a Vauxhall on our channel. We are not having it on the channel. I was like, please let me bring it round first.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a look at it. And you were like, okay.
But I did pop the bonnet and show you V6 rear-wheel drive.
You did.
Which is
it is on the channel.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
The walk around. And then we walked around to the back car, didn't we?
We did walk around to the back, yeah.
Was not impressed.
Those
was
rear
I?
arches are...
Rotten.
Oh.
They are gone. And it's,
Properly
like,
rotten
it's like where
through.
the arch is and where it meets the petrol cap is kind
Yeah.
of not there anymore. It's kind of
Right.
all sort of dribbled off.
So the premise behind...
That sounds like it's the same as the GTO, where there is a drain that goes down through it somewhere,
Yeah.
and it clogs from the bottom up, obviously, and that just collects water and then just rots out underneath
I
the.
don't know,
But this is both
petrol
sides.
cap.
Um,
Oh, okay,
but
that's
the-
fresh.
And it's both sides. Yeah.
but the petrol filler side is a lot worse,
Yeah.
to be fair. But the
is.
thing was, they were going to scrap the car because they had a quote to have the rust fixed. And
Yeah.
all the underside rust had been done, so it's mint underneath. It's just the arches.
Yeah.
They had a quote to have that fixed. It was going to cost like thousands. And they're like, this car's never worth it. Because they wanted to fix it and
Yeah.
sell it on, and it just wasn't worth doing.
Yeah.
No.
I said to Neil, like, I need to save this car. I explained the backstory to him. It's my mate's granddad's car. He loves it. He's owned it since it was new. Like,
And then to be
I
fair,
need to
how
save
was I
this
supposed
car.
to say no then? I was like, oh, well, he's on his way out basically, and the
Yeah.
family
Yeah.
wants to save it. We're going to save it.
We are.
Are we?
We have.
All right then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so you sold it to me that way, didn't you? But then also you did say that they're not just Vauxhalls.
No,
They come with other badges.
they do come with other badges.
So in my
Yeah.
mind, it's not a Vauxhall. It's a
It's a Holden,
Holden
Commodore, or
Commodore.
Cadillac
That's right.
Catera.
So we're going
yeah.
to take all the badges off and we're going to rebrand it. As far as I'm concerned, as a Holden. It's not a Vauxhall.
Yeah. So,
Neil doesn't do Vauxhalls, not having a Vauxhall.
But I will say, as a daily drive, because they've got a really weird sort of culty following. Like the
Yeah.
owners group, people love them, and they will only drive Omegas. Like they will just buy Omega after Omega.
Wow.
And the
And
best,
after dailing it for 10 months, I get it. It's a really, really nice car to just
yeah,
waft
but
around
you
in.
say that. I
You
don't
don't like
agree
it?
with you. No, I don't.
I think
I
it's the
can't
most
feel
comfortable.
anything. It's just wafter.
Oh
Yeah,
no, I
it
agree
just
with you.
wallows
Sitting on a
around.
pillow.
It's
Yeah.
not a,
Yeah.
it's not a sporty thing.
It's
But
a great commuter for the motorway.
commuting down here and
But
forward back
it
in
is
and out is
weirdly
lovely.
quick.
It is
Yeah.
fast.
Isn't it? It is
but you
really
have no
weird.
idea you're going
No,
as
you
fast as
don't.
you are.
I have history with Vauxhalls. My dad had a company car, brand new 1.8 Cavalier,
Right.
and in the entire 3 years that he had it, they replaced every single electrical piece of the car, including the loom,
It's Vauxhall. Vauxhall.
because sometimes he would pull up to
Oh.
lights and it would just turn off.
Nice.
Vauxhall.
Nice.
To the point where we had a video camera, which he set up on a tripod in the back to video just him driving.
Right,
You'd see his
just-
feet and everything, and it would just be like, and it would just drop to zero. So it
Was
got
it?
rid of it.
Was
after
it? Was it a
3 years.
1.8L? Please tell me it was an L.
I think it was.
Was it white?
No,
as well?
red.
Oh, okay.
So he got rid of this eventually after 3 years, expired, and like what, pick from the
Yeah.
things. So he got a 1.8 Vectra,
Oh no. Okay.
and they replaced every single electrical item,
Doesn't that sound familiar when you worked at
Including the
Land
loom.
Rover, Carl?
It does sound familiar.
including the twice on 2 separate cars from one owner.
Have I told you the story of the brand new? Was it a Land Rover, Range Rover? What was
Yeah,
it?
so I put
Unreal.
an engine in a Range Rover SVR that had 8 miles on the clock.
8 miles.
8.
8 miles. 8
Because-
miles. 8 miles, everybody.
Because the person
Buy
who
a
bought
Range
the car, brand spanking new Range Rover SVR, 5-litre supercharged, the launch spec, blue, white interior, lovely car. If you're into that kind of thing, which I'm overly not, but still, nice thing, good chunk of money.
What failed?
Cracked piston, cylinder 7.
An 8
And not, when I say cracked,
8
not just
miles.
one crack through it, it shattered
like
it.
grenade,
So,
basically.
do you know where Jaguar Land Rover Reading is?
Yes.
Right, okay. How far would you say it is from there to the motorway junction, for those who don't know?
It's a mile on a good day.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
one
if,
and a half.
If you go the long way, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't
Loop
make-
a couple roundabouts
He
on the way
bought the
down.
car collected
Off
from
the
us and
forecourt.
didn't make it to the motorway. So the junction by Reading Gateway, it's not Reading Gateway McDonald's, it's Reading
Yeah.
Gateway where Burger King is and Nando's is.
Yep.
He made it to that roundabout. That's 2 roundabouts.
And it's brand new. How much was that?
Oh,
Over
an SVR.
100 grand.
I was going to say an
Over
SVR.
100
6
Over
figures.
100
Yeah.
grand. Yeah.
And
It
he
was-
must have been like, whoa, 5-litre V8, is it?
Yeah, 5-litre V8 supercharged, 500,
That-
550
Wait till
horsepower.
we hit the motorway, boys and girls, and it's bleh.
Oh,
dead
yeah,
as they do. So what did they have to
it
get
died
recovered
good.
and brought back?
Yeah, it got recovered back to us, and I
I
put
bet
an
he
engine
walked back
in
to
it.
the dealership, went, "Here's your keys. I'll have another one, please. Your one's
Yeah.
up the other roundabout."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have.
I
Pretty
would have done
much,
that
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
They did give him
Amazing.
another one, I think, same day. They just gave him one off the forecourt that was also
Yeah.
brand new, same spec. 'Cause it was
Wow.
launch spec.
Yeah.
So they had multiple of them. But yeah,
That is.
And
It's
I-
embarrassing for a
bad.
brand, don't you
I
think?
wish I could tell you that was a one-off.
Just a minute.
I wish I could tell you that was a
I
one-time
did warn
thing.
you before we come
So-
on there. Be careful what you say.
So Chris obviously had the Rover. He has the SD1 2600.
Yes,
And he's
yeah,
just
I've
got
seen
running
that.
again. I need to put a short out from that.
I used to have
we
a
did an
220
engine
turbo.
swap a couple of weeks ago and put the episode out. And that went down a storm. And he's got it running again. It's booked in for the MOT and is hopefully, theoretically, going to make it to the Prospect Park car show.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
I like an
Okay.
SD1. That'd be cool.
So
What is it? An SD1?
SD1.
SD1.
I don't know those.
The ones that had the old Ferrari California headlights.
Yeah, the
everyone says,
Daytona.
Yeah, Daytona, sorry.
Oh,
yeah,
one of the really,
yeah.
really wide
Yeah,
and the
big
look like a
four-door,
hatchback with
yeah.
the
Yeah, it
size
was
of a
the
ocean
awesome car.
liner.
I think it was the
I know the one.
first UK car designed entirely in CAD.
Yeah. They're
Which,
cool.
considering it came out in 1978,
There was
Had
loads of
fancy
them at the
names,
NEC.
Yeah, I was going to say the
Yeah.
restoration
Ross
show.
Bishop
You didn't
Lenny.
go there, did you?
I didn't make it to that one.
So
no.
It was a
good.
good show.
I need to get up to.
But they're
Next year,
having another
couple
one.
more.
They're having
Cool.
another one called this year.
Are they? Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, they've invited all the same people back to see obviously what's happened with their projects and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So
that was a
what was
really
it
good
called?
show.
Just
Car and
put-
Classic Restoration Show.
This
It
up.
was
NEC,
at
wasn't it?
Birmingham NEC.
Yeah, that
That's
one.
the SD1. Admittedly, that's the V8 with the big chin
Yeah,
spoiler. I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
a fan of the big chin for
had
spoiler.
one.
Yeah,
Those
look,
work
so
recently.
we saw 2 or 3 of these at the show, and
Yeah.
we immediately like
Was a
the
very
headlights
bright-
don't fit.
Yeah.
Look at
The
them. You
headlights
can see
sit
they're
really
sagging
far
down.
in, yeah.
They're not in line with the indicators or anything. We're like,
Yeah.
is that one broken?
They,
Oh no,
they
they're
do
all
that.
the same.
Yeah, they do that.
That was weird.
Early CAD has issues. But yeah, the giant chin spoiler is not. That'll be a V8. Or, yeah,
Yeah,
3500 for tests, yeah. Not a fan of the chin spoiler. Chris's one doesn't have the big chin.
It's a big chin.
He's also removed the headlight washers from his. His is a Series 2, though.
I like an SD1 a lot.
That's an.
So he has that.
That's an Ash from Walking Dead, isn't it? No.
So I've given Rover a lot of grief, not specifically because of the SD1, because that is quite an impressive thing, all told. But a guy I went to university with had a Tomcat.
I had a Tomcat.
Did you have the,
220 turbo.
Did you have the same chocolate pistons that he did?
Mine was good.
Because in the 3
Mine was
years
good.
that I knew him, that car ran for less than 4 months.
Mine was good. I didn't
And it
have
was-
it for very long.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, granted, student didn't have a lot of money, so it's kind of sat at the back of the garage to be fixed, kind of as
Right.
and when.
Okay. One of those.
But there were consistently times when he was, no, I need my car to get to uni, because he lived in one end of Newcastle and university was in the centre. I need my car, I'm going to have to do this when my loan comes in, etc., etc. And yeah, it had 2 melted pistons.
Wow.
And this wasn't modified, this was bone stock. This wasn't
Wow.
like it was just making a huge amount of boost or
Yeah.
running lean or anything. It just melted pistons.
Is
And
that
then he
the-
had it
is that on
running.
the T-tops, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can tell them because they've got the
They're
little
cool.
bump in the
I
bonnet.
like them. Yeah, the little
Um,
bulge, isn't there?
Almost
The little
all
bulge.
And yeah.
200 series coupes have the bump, not just the turbos.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I hate to
okay.
blow people's bubbles here. They think it's a turbo thing. About 95% of them had it. It was very
Fair.
early ones didn't.
But yeah, I give them a lot of grief for that because he had it running for all of a couple of months.
Wow.
And then he was like, yeah, it's melted.
Put in his
another
car.
piston. I'm like,
That's,
how? What
there
is
had to
going
be
on?
something going on with that. That must
Chocolate
have been
fire
running
guard
really
kind of thing.
lean for some reason. Because mine was really good. I dailied it for a few months. I didn't own it for long. I only owned it for about 3 months. But it was
Yeah.
my everyday car. It was great. So
Well, you had the same 3-month window he did.
yeah,
You just sold it before it would die.
He just had it over 5 years.
I used to cycle past his car on my way to school every single day. It'd been sat in the driveway for years. And once I got my license and stuff, and I had a bit of money just sort of saved up, I always liked it. So past it was purple cream interior.
Yeah.
The metallic purple did him
Sure.
in
It was
a
T-top
nice
car.
car.
It was a really, really nice car. And it was like presentable but a bit tatty, which I kind of like because it's usable, right?
Yeah.
And I finally worked up the courage to knock on the door. And the backstory of it was this guy's dad's car. He doesn't have a license. His dad passed away. It hadn't run in a little while. Yeah, all right, he'll sell it. So I bought it off him and I got it running. Didn't have to do much to it really. A battery and put some fresh fuel in it and it kind of just went. Yeah, look at that. I love them.
What a beast.
Mine had the 5-spoke wheels and stuff on it, but I love them a lot. But yeah, it didn't take much to get it running again. I started driving it around, and then I was in a supermarket car park, and the same guy came up to me and was like, "Oh, I really like these. My dad used to have one. He passed away. You know." And I was like, "Do you not recognise
Your
me
car,
in the
dude.
car?
I bought this.
off of you
This
a
is
couple of
li-
months ago."
I
I
bought this
used to
off of
have
you.
one of these.
I was-
No, you
yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
You had
You
this
used to
one.
have
Yeah.
this.
And also, it's like Colin doesn't look like anybody else, does he? He's quite distinctive.
I did
in
have
his
short hair
look.
back then, but he basically said to me, he was like, "I'd really, really love to buy this back. It's really nice to see it being used again. I'd love to buy it
It's
back.
running.
Because
Yeah. Running.
I'm working on getting my license now, and I'd love to have it back." And at the time, I was an apprentice, struggling financially, not doing too well, so I kind of needed the money. And I said to him, "Do you know what? I'm happy to send it back to you, like today,
Yeah.
right now. Like my Renault's fixed again now, so I can drive that." Kind of thing. And I sold it back to him, and then it went back on that same driveway and sat there for many, many years. Tires all flat, headlights
years.
smashed in, windows
He
smashed,
bought it.
full
He
of
just
mold.
bought it, put it back on the drive, and it never moved again.
And
pretty
I
much,
went
as far
over
as we
that
know.
way the other week, a couple of months ago now, for a skate, because I skate, and it's gone.
Okay.
So I
it's either been
presume it's been
scrapped or-
scrapped,
It's definitely not driving.
which is a damn shame, because it's a really, really good car, and it treated me really well.
So
and it-
disappointing.
But the worst thing was, obviously,
Great.
you kept going past it and it was getting rustier
It was
and
just,
rustier.
yeah, it did get to the
and
point
dirtier,
where it
and it's
was
just, oh,
too
it's-
far gone.
Yeah. In fact, even if I got this back, everything that I did, it's
Yeah,
now
'cause-
so far beyond
Yeah,
where
it
I
was-
picked
it
it
was
up last
tatty
time.
when I had it,
Yeah.
but it drove nicely,
It's a shame,
Yeah.
isn't it?
and it was, it
So
was
yeah,
sat
but
on
you had it at the
four flat
perfect time.
tyres,
The
so-
little window of it worked, and then
It was a high
it
mileage
went
one.
back there to
It
die.
had like 160,000 miles
Really?
on it. It was good.
Maybe it's
good
the only
car.
one.
Maybe I had the good one.
That was
Yeah,
the one
the
not
one that-
built on
yeah.
a Wednesday.
Yeah,
Not built
that's the
first
one.
thing on a Monday morning.
Not built by
built
Jerry,
on a Thursday
because
or a
Jerry's
Friday.
always pissed when he comes to work.
That's
Yeah.
a Tuesday car.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday car.
Tuesday
Like,
car.
That's the
It was
sweet
Larry,
spot.
not Harry. That
Yes.
did it, you know.
Tuesday built by people that haven't been working there too long, but long enough to know what they're doing.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
they're
yeah.
competent but not jaded.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there any of those people?
It was also
Yeah, they
a
exist
really
on a
nice
Tuesday.
style.
Tuesday.
One
Only
Tuesday is all you get.
Tuesday.
Every week's intake.
And they had the
have-
tea, they
have
had
a
the ginger
peak-
nuts
yeah.
on tap, ready to go.
They have
yeah.
a peak Tuesday, and then it's all downhill from there.
Week after payday as well.
Yeah.
Week after payday, I've had a
Yeah,
nice
feeling
breakfast.
good.
Yeah.
Like it's
yeah.
So your Rover was all right, but
'Cause
every
it was,
other
it was
Rover.
a really nice spec. as
But you
well.
got the one.
I did get the one, and I let it go, and that was gone.
Yeah.
And I really
It
wanted
also-
another one, and
it
they've
also
gone.
didn't help that Chris's brother, when he was here, he also had, I think he had 3 MGFs all told.
Head gaskets.
They all got head gaskets done.
Yeah.
Somebody said, no, I fixed the head gasket, and they'd done the head gasket.
I bet they hadn't done the liners.
With the OEM parts. Not the
Not-
aftermarket,
not-
well,
yeah.
not aftermarket, but not with the correct ones that you
Upgraded,
put in.
not-
Yeah, basically.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, because
the
they've
ones
got
that came from the factory.
Even I know
are,
that.
Are like
Yeah, cork.
Yeah, basically.
Soaked cork, yeah.
Um,
Or you just do it with a bit of
and-
silicone sealant and just slap it on with no gasket whatsoever.
So he did a few of them. I think he had either 3 or 4 of them.
Well, the issue they have with the K-Series engines is the liners, the piston liners, actually sink when they
Yeah.
get hot. And what you do is you take them out and you shim the bottom of them, put them back in,
Yeah.
and then new head gasket. And if you do that, they're great.
Yeah.
If you just slap a gasket in, they'll blow it again.
Yeah, this is it. It's they can be a great engine,
Yeah.
but
I have
making them
one
Yeah.
great
right
is
now.
a
But
problem.
then that's money, time, and effort on a Rover.
Yeah. I mean, the MGF,
Kind
is,
of.
the MGF is a fun little car
Yeah.
once you get it like
Yeah,
solidly.
you've always said that.
It's a sore
I haven't driven
subject
one.
because I've got one, as
Yes,
you know.
Carl.
I have a TF VVC 160.
Nice.
I bought it, decided, because I sold my Mark II MX-5, got rid of that because that was rotten. Sold that to a mate.
Surprise, surprise.
Sold that to a mate, and then that subsequently got scrapped because it was rotten.
Yeah.
Bought TF 160 VVC because I still wanted a little convertible thing
Yeah.
to throw about. Was driving it into Cardiff one day. I'd owned it about 3 weeks at this point in time. Come off the M4 on dual carriageway going into Cardiff, and they've got an oil temperature gauge as well as the coolant temperature gauge, and both of them suddenly went like that. And then
Yeah,
the water temperature one went like that.
that's not good.
So I look in the mirror and it's just a cloud.
Yeah.
Following you.
Yeah.
Cloud following me to Cardiff.
And where I was going was right by, there's a massive Tesco's as you roll into Cardiff, and just around the corner from there was the house I was heading to. And I was like, that's 2 miles away.
It'll
I've driven
be
the whole way here. Do you know what?
Has to make it.
I'm just going to limp
Billowing
it to my
clouds
mate's house.
outside.
Absolutely not.
And it made it there. And I knew at this point, head gasket was cooked.
Yeah.
I was like, as long as it stays running, it will seize up when I turn it off, whatever, I don't care. I just need to get to my destination. So I linked it to my mate's house and spent the weekend in Cardiff and got the train home. And it's still there.
It's still. How many years ago was that?
That was before COVID.
On his friend's driveway, everybody.
My friend's moved away. His parents live there still.
Oh dear.
He lives in Nottingham now. Sorry, Adam, if you're watching.
Speaking of entertaining
Yeah, sorry,
rovers,
Adam.
though, another one from Basingstoke.
Oh, you
260?
worked on a few of those, Carl, haven't you?
Yeah, we have a supercharged one at work at the moment, supercharged V8.
That is a supercharged V8.
Oh, hello.
There we go.
Yeah. Supercharged
Silver
4.6.
That's a
one,
big
yeah.
supercharger, is it not?
Modular, Ford,
Yeah,
Ford
Ford
modular
mod.
V8, yeah.
That's not
Yep.
a standard supercharger, is it? For that
They
model?
weren't supercharged factory.
They
no.
weren't from
Oh,
no. It was just
We've
the
got a
Ford.
Kenny Bell supercharged one at work at the minute, which
Yeah.
is, there it goes.
I think he said it was something like
Looks like a bit of a beast.
400-ish.
Yeah,
Brake?
ours has a dyno
like-
sheet on the back seat showing 460.
That's quite
which-
impressive.
There it goes.
From
Yeah.
a Rover saloon.
Yeah, and then...
Yeah, and it just,
But is that a Rover engine?
No, it's Ford modular V8. So
no,
it's
it's
knew
the,
you were gonna
it's
say
the
that.
Ford modular.
4.6 litre using the old
I
Mustangs.
had no clue, but I still
Yeah,
wanted to
Crown
ask the question.
Victorias, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the most common Ford engines through the early 2000s.
Just not
basically.
here.
Yes, just
Everywhere
not
else in the
here.
world,
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty much. Yeah, we got what? Toyota engines mostly. Yeah. That was about it at that point.
But those ZT-V8s are really interesting because they're a completely different shell to all other ZTs.
Yeah.
Because they're
Because
rear-wheel
they're
drive.
stiffened. Yeah, they're
No.
rear-wheel drive for a start.
Yeah, and all
So they've
ZTs
got
are
more
front-wheel drive.
transmission tunnel.
Yeah, it's
Well,
completely
they
different
have
floor
a
plan.
transmission
Rear
tunnel
suspension's
for-
completely different.
Yeah.
They're a different car.
Yeah.
Completely
It's
different car.
not a 75.
No,
But they
not
look,
at all.
they look the same, though, don't they?
I quite like a ZT. Because where I work now is predominantly MG Rover specialist, and
Yeah.
we do other British stuff, and we do the modern MGs as well. We don't do Chinese MGs.
You
we
don't do the most modern MGs.
We do
Yes.
that era and up to when they went bust. But I don't touch the modern stuff. I do MGBs and A's and all of that.
Which is also weird because you trained in all the modern stuff.
I did.
But yet you don't do modern stuff
we
now
have-
as
That's the
for a
problem.
living. Is the
He
only problem.
knows.
We
That's
have-
the thing.
Yeah, I'm not doing those. Knowing Carlos probably refuse to do them. Anything newer
Pretty
than
much, yeah.
a certain year, I'm not touching that. Somebody else can do that.
Pretty much. We have one tech that refuses to do the old stuff, and it's like, well, cool, you get all of the TF head gaskets then, don't you?
That's
And that's what
so.
he does.
Aid, who had the GTO that I've got
Yeah.
before me, apparently there is a supercharger kit you can put on the GTO
Ooh,
that is
hello.
pre-turbo. So you keep the turbos
Oh, what?
and just
The
add a
twin charger.
supercharger.
Holy
It's about $7,000.
And how much brake does that then make?
Probably too
Presuming a
much.
lot.
For that that engine bay is obscenely tight.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
I've
a
seen that.
nightmare to work on.
Yeah.
I don't honestly think you could fit your
No, they would-
branded mug in,
yeah,
the,
that-
in the
that
engine
would-
bay.
yes.
There's no
They're a
room in those
nightmare.
things at
No,
all.
we
So we were talking about buying one, weren't we, at the Adam C show?
We were, yeah.
Because we'd like to get on the
Oh, yeah,
channel.
'cause you
so
went to-
we'd
yeah.
like to buy one.
Yeah.
But it's like, Carl was like, you literally said, I will hate you. I will thank you for buying one, but I'll
I
hate you if I
love
have to
them.
work on it.
Yeah. So I took it down to there's a garage that's helped me out with a lot of stuff down in Newbury called Ignition Motorsport, and I took it down there for an MOT, and he went, "Why?
yeah.
Why not?
Why would you buy one of these?"
How much carbo do you get for your money?
Oh, it was so
buying one
good.
of those. They're so cool.
It's-
and
yeah,
it's T-top.
It
it's turbo.
It's going to
it's
be a
got
hard
active
car to get rid
aero.
of. Well,
so cool.
It's got inactive aero.
No,
does
so
break.
I should have. It came with active
Yes,
aero.
it came with active aero.
So has
yeah.
yours still got the splitter thing at the front?
So the splitter is
Still
still.
got
we've-
it, right?
So we did a video a couple of weeks ago, basically dismantling the whole thing. We got one from a while
Okay.
back where Aid came up because he's had the rear bumper off and taken all of that apart.
Right.
So we're like, cool. Well, we know the rear bumper comes apart. Let's do the front
Okay.
and try and work out why it's not working. If nothing else, adjust it so that the front aero is as high as it will possibly go because speed bumps.
Yeah.
So we
rip it
took
off,
that
yeah.
apart and discovered that no, it was already as high as it would go.
Oh.
The motor was unplugged, and we're like, amazing.
Unplugged?
We'll
Oh,
just
right,
plug it
plug
back
it
in.
in. Oh,
Nothing.
no.
Absolutely.
Oh, I thought you were going to
nothing
say it
at
was shorted out. It started a fire.
all. It was. So Chris was over, and he brought his benchtop power supply with him, which you can current limit. So if it goes a
Okay.
dead short, it doesn't just go amps to the moon.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
It will just.
That's
You
useful.
can set it to like 1 or 2 amps, and
Yeah.
basically just wind it up and go.
See what it does, yeah.
I'm going to put power into this and see if it does anything until I chicken out.
Okay.
And we.
It might be something we may need to
Yeah,
borrow.
they
at
do
some
come in
point.
handy.
That's
They
So
do come in
we
handy.
took the motor apart, put power into it, dead. Took the gearbox apart and found rust between the worm gear and the gear. Like, well, there's a problem.
Right,
So
yeah.
cleaned all of that, took all that apart, put power into the motor, nothing. Took the whole motor housing apart, and one of the magnets came out with the coil.
Oh.
So one of the
That's
magnets had
fallen to bits then.
delaminated
Yeah.
from the outside, so it detached from the casing.
Right.
So epoxied that back in
Okay.
place. The coil itself was full of rust, so I had to clean all of that up and get all the rust out of the coil. I mean, it wouldn't short it because it's enamelled wire anyway, so that's fine. But cleaning it up is better than not, considering there's a pair of magnets.
Yeah, of course,
It'd
yeah.
just
Yeah.
rip it all out. So cleaned all of that up, put it back together, put power in, alive. Like,
Cool,
brilliant.
nice.
Ooh.
Re-greased everything, put the gearbox back together, still alive. Like,
Okay.
okay, so mechanically this works. Unfortunately, the cam mechanism that deploys it was seized. Took all
Of
that
course,
apart.
but that's to be expected.
Bushings
isn't
are
it?
completely shot, so I'm going to have to 3D print some new bushings for it. No big
Okay.
deal
Fine,
there.
yeah.
We can deal with that problem. But the splitter itself, there's a crossbar at the back and a crossbar at the front. The one at the back is... it's there.
It's alive.
The one at the front, if you put it in rust remover, it will simply disappear.
And be nothing left.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's 7 bolts, and there's 2 at the end, and then 3 across the middle, and the 2 at the end aren't.
Okay. So that's shot then. You're not going to have another one of those.
So
You need
yeah,
to-
so
you need a new
fortunately
one then.
they're about an inch across, and I've got some inch box sections, so I'm just going to
Just
make
cut
2
it,
brand
yeah.
new ones up
Okay.
and fabricate that and just put them in. You can buy billet aluminium ones, but they're about 90 quid a pair.
Jeez
Like,
Louise,
I've got the
okay.
steel all the way. I can make it for less than 9 quid.
Okay.
You may as well, yeah.
So there's
So
no
you may as well. Okay.
So I'm just going to slice it up, make
Well,
2
that's
new
good then.
ones. But where the bolts go through at one end, where it's been trying to flex previously and where it's just been flapping around, it's developed a crack, and the crack has got worse. So now it's
Oh,
peeling
no.
apart. So I'm going to have to use those like melt-in plastic
Yeah,
staples,
plastic welding. Yeah.
weld them in, and then fiberglass over the top to make those 2 corners
I've
stronger.
just bought one of those staple welder things. So if you want to try that out,
Excellent, yes, because that
tell
was
me
going
if
to
it
be
works.
that
because
was
I've
going to
got
be
it
something
through
I looked at buying this
TikTok.
weekend. So.
TikTok. So you're welcome to borrow it.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to have a go at that.
Please let me know if it works.
Once the weather picks up again on Monday, allegedly. So
Tomorrow's
yes,
not meant to be too bad.
yeah, tomorrow's
Ropey. Yeah.
Yeah, let me know if
So,
you,
yeah.
when you want it. I'll
yeah,
ping it over.
definitely, yeah, because that's at least that's something I can theoretically do in the garage
If I can
when it's
find
raining,
it,
So.
you can borrow it. Because my garage looks
Just got
like
that.
this, but then hundreds of other things.
Yeah.
You know,
Greg's just said
I don't have a
content.
car garage. yeah,
Much
content
content.
for us. You can link me into it.
Yeah,
going,
pretty
we've got
much,
some
yeah.
OSC, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll. So yeah, that's the plan, to at least get it to the right shape again, where
Yeah.
it's all connected, and then fiberglass over it and go from there.
Right.
And
But then
try and,
you could make a mold from the
So
from
somebody
that
has
and then
done
sell
that.
them on.
Somebody
potentially?
on one of the GTO forums has made a mold, and they
Right.
were doing a limited run of them. And he said it took him about a year and a half to do it,
What?
and he was selling them for I think either 600 or 800 quid. But they're completely out of print, so like it's a
It's a
seller's
part
market.
you need.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
So you could do that, and you can.
Oh, I thought about it. I looked at it and went, I'm sure you could just 3D print the mold for it and then lay it up and do all the like.
Yourself, yeah.
What? So directly make from the 3D printed.
Yeah, so you
shape,
just
right?
so print it all up and then make a mold from that. I mean,
Yeah.
we've done that much 3D printing, as we've discussed on the channel before.
Yeah.
We have we've done plenty of stuff. We have a
Yes.
massive pile of 3D parts down here.
The recycle part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we can take all the measurements off and kind of piece it together. And
So have you got one of those scanners then that can scan parts into the 3D printer? You know how they are,
can
aren't
do-
they?
So you can do it with an iPhone. Chris has got one that
Can
does
you?
the photogrammetry stuff,
Wow,
where you
that's
can
cool.
where you can scan things in. I'm not sure how good they are because I've not imported any of the models and done
Okay.
anything off it. I, being me, would probably just do it the hard way
Measure.
and measure and just print out
Yeah.
tiny slices and just work out the shape of it.
So
to get
you
it
would
right
love that.
and-
You would love to
Well,
get your
I
through
did
stuff.
a lot of CAD and stuff because I studied product design at school and did a lot of CAD and
Yeah.
stuff like that back then. But this is before 3D printing was really that big of a thing yet.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
3D printing's been going for a long time, but
But I
so-
mean, in terms of it
but,
being
like,
publicly popular,
being easily accessible, it's
Yeah.
definitely the last 2 years.
But that's the thing, 'cause obviously
yeah.
Carl's our resident geek. So,
Yeah.
and obviously
built
you're the resident geek
computers
of your channel.
Yeah.
So you guys
Oh
can
no,
geek
no!
up together and
Chris and I
do
have
some of
very
that.
different levels,
Oh, do you?
different angles. Because
Alright.
Jess is my resident video tech for a lot of this.
Looking
the
around
look of
like, what?
confusion is
Someone's talking to me.
fantastic.
But Jess got a bamboo, having had, I think you had what, two
End of freeze.
You had 2 Ender 3s at
Okay.
one point, and we had an Ender 3 and an Ender 5. And the Ender 5 we had, I
What?
can't see where there it is.
Green, fine.
So-
Printers, 3D printers.
Just going to make a bracket.
Second generation 3D printers.
So
Yeah.
Chris, we
Thanks.
made this on the Ender.
Yeah.
All printed with no support whatsoever as a fan shroud, and then we changed the design so
Yeah.
it was no use. But an overhang like that, we worked out something like 160-degree overhang is extremely impressive.
Yeah.
And then we didn't use it. But the Ender 5 was always sort of,
Especially
it
there,
needed
yeah.
tweaking and fettling and stuff doing to
Yeah.
it. And then the Ender 3 that we got was
pretty
it was,
About, like,
it was out of
overhangs, like
action
here,
for
for example,
various
yeah.
parts of it. And then Jess had an Ender 3 that was always kind of, you were fettling it a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't want a 3D printer to play with. I want a 3D printer to make things
That would
with.
Do
work.
what I need
Yeah.
you to
And
do. Yeah.
There's again another channel called Rotary SMP. He's New Zealand. He's a Kiwi in Austria.
Right.
And he works on aircraft,
Sick.
and he's building. He's got a workshop in the basement of his house, and he's got a CNC mill and a lathe and all this other stuff.
Cool.
And he recently went from a first gen printer to a bamboo as well.
Right.
And I commented on one of his videos, like, I see it as there being 3 ages of 3D printing. This is a thing that you can make.
Yeah.
It's a 3D printer, and
And
you
you've
can
gotta work
print
it out,
more,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
you've got to buy all the parts and assemble it yourself. And then
Right.
the second era was people will sell you a 3D printer, but
Mm.
realistically, you still need to know how to build it, replace it, tweak it, and fettle it into doing
Right.
so.
Tune it up and get it
And
working.
now, Creality do them, Bamboo do them, Anchor do them, Prusa do them if you've got deep pockets, where it is just push button, receive
It
print.
does. Yeah.
So it's all like
And it still needs a
how it
little
works,
bit of
like
maintenance,
kit
what
cars.
have you,
So the
but-
original kit car would start off, they give you all the parts, and you'd look at it and go, "Well,
Yes.
that's never going to be a car.
Yeah.
It's going to sit in my garage forever."
Mhm.
And then it got to a point where you could buy it kind of semi-pre-made. So they send you the frame, wouldn't they? And then
Yeah.
you'd add on to it.
Yeah.
And then
So
they
you buy a donor like Sierra,
yeah,
or
and then
something
like now,
put all
like
bits in.
my friend Rob has bought his Cobra,
yeah.
which is done for you. You just drive it away. You know, but it is a kit car.
Oh
so it's kind of
my!
like-
Aid just sent me a picture of the supercharged twin turbocharged engine bay.
Holy moly! oh my god!
That is unpleasantly snug.
Wow.
I don't like anything of that.
We're not doing that.
No.
We're not doing that at all.
But the bonnet
I would
won't
like to
close,
know-
will it? Surely.
So the funniest thing I love about the GTO, you know how we've got the 2 lumps on the front?
Yeah, yeah.
The only reason they exist is because of the top mounts. Because the top mounts stick up above
So
the
high.
natural line of the bonnet.
What I'd like to know
But they
is
look like
how
vents,
hot
don't they? But
does
they're
that engine
So-
bay get?
Horrifically.
Yeah.
Aid came over
Bit of heat sink going on there.
late 2021 and we painted the Thunderbird bonnet, and he came up because I needed hand, like it's the size of this room basically.
Ginormous. Yeah.
And he brought the GTO up and he parked it out front under the tree, and he'd driven up from like Portsmouth, Portchester kind of way,
Right.
parked it. 4 hours later, you still couldn't comfortably touch the inlet manifold.
Wow.
The inlet was the rocker covers were so hot to the touch after 4 hours.
But that's a stupid thing. They've got those lumps which look like air vents, which they could make them air vents. Then it could vent
His-
off. Surely
His
some of that
has
heat.
air vents on, so you can buy aftermarket
need it.
ones which have been plasti dipped on his, which is why we took ours off to put the regular ones on while I fix them up and make them not terrible again.
Quick
because
idea.
it's all peeling.
Could you not put like exhaust fans from a PC in them?
Oh, probably.
constantly
Yeah,
easily, yeah.
I just don't
Blow
think
out
it would make a
when it's
dent.
stuck in traffic or something.
The,
No, okay. all
Yeah.
right.
The Mazda's the same. Rotaries get so hot.
Yeah.
So much heat.
Why
Like,
is that?
Well, if you think a rotary
So,
engine,
the engine's so tiny.
but you've got 3 times as many combustion events happening in the same amount of
okay.
time as
Yeah.
you would in a normal car. Hot. Lots of heat. Much heat. All the
Doritos
time.
get extra hot.
And,
Yeah, they are extra hot.
when you're revving them to like 9,000 RPM, doing 3 times as many combustion cycles per revolution, wild.
So apparently, he says you can get actively vented humps to go on them, and they are in fact useless, or
Of course.
That's kinda what you
practically
want.
useless.
Just
You can
run it
feel
like that.
you can feel better that you're
Yeah.
trying.
There are holes.
Yeah.
It'll
The
be
best you can.
fine.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Cave says for the F1 they have leaf blowers.
Leaf blowers,
Yeah.
yeah, blasting air in. But
Yeah, perfect. So yeah,
that's also for downforce, though, isn't it?
well, no, when they're parked, they just blow
Yeah.
through,
Blowing
blow
through,
through.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the GTO gets so warm. It's,
Yeah,
it's
they do.
unreal.
300ZXs have the same issue.
Oh, I bet.
Z32s.
Yeah.
Because
So how-
they are, if anything, worse to work on. If
But
you've
how
ever
is
seen
your
the
GTO?
interface.
Is it running now and everything?
Oh yeah, it's never not been running. It can't run at the moment because the bumper is held on by 2 bolts and the inner liners aren't.
Sounds like half of our
Fine.
cars.
But that's only because
Cable
it's dismantled
ties, it's
because the
fine.
whole tray was
Okay.
taken off to do that. So
Yeah,
it's known in pieces for valid
Yeah,
reasons,
right,
basically.
fair enough.
But yeah, it's always been mechanically it's sound. He put loads of
Yeah.
work into getting it done. And
Have you decided whether you're
keeping it
painting
alive.
it or
Yeah, it's gonna get
wrapping
painted.
it?
I
or-
was the plan was to get it painted and then ship it over to the US and sell it there.
Yeah.
Because the market is so much stronger over there.
Yeah, we had that
and then
discussion,
a
didn't we?
25% tariff appeared,
Mm.
and there was
Oh,
big
yeah.
question marks. So one that hasn't made it to the channel yet because that video is coming later is the Skyline.
Yeah.
I had use of an R33 Skyline GTR for the thick end of 2 months.
Oh, I missed that, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah. Aidan was like,
And-
"Oh, come round and have a look." I was, "Oh, yeah," and I completely forgot. Just
And,
reminded me. Thanks for that.
Yeah,
I missed the
Nice.
window.
and that got on the boat with no tariffs.
Right.
And was staring down the barrel of a 37.5% tariff when it got off the boat
Whoa.
that appeared mid-transit,
No way.
which would have been the thick end of $20,000.
Yeah.
Holy
um,
moly.
Fortunately, where it landed, as it landed, he got the standard 2.5%. You're importing a vehicle, and it was
Lucky,
fine, so
lucky
as
man.
expected.
Yeah.
But some ports weren't collecting tariffs. Some were charging 27.5%, so the 25 plus the 2.5. Some were doing 2.5. Some were doing 10. Like,
Okay.
Where's that come from?
Random.
Well, that was the baseline 10% on everything.
Right, okay.
Okay.
But some places were just like, oh, yeah, we're just not collecting them. So it was absolute shit show.
It was just pot luck.
Wow, but he was lucky then.
So but he was unlucky because then he got selected for deep inspection. So it
Oh,
landed,
no.
and then they inspected it for 2 weeks.
Okay. But did you have to pay
So-
for that, or was there a?
No, so
Charges
he
on
just
top
had to wait and be like, what are they
Okay.
going to find? What are they going to
Yeah,
find? What are
because
they
Yeah, but he
gonna
waited
find?
long enough, so it
And
wasn't
then
the end of
they
the
checked
world.
when
I
the
he
suppose.
materials
got
and
it, they
everything,
disconnected pipes, so one of the
Oh, no.
gearbox vents was off. He was like,
What the
it's not
heck?
it's not sounding great for some reason,
Yeah.
and this pipe's loose, and this is off, and this is off, and this is off, and this is off.
Why are they doing that?
Yeah, and it's
So when they're
it's,
checking all the fluids and
it's
everything. and-
not
yeah.
uncommon for cars to just arrive in the US and then have bits dismantled off them.
Wow. Okay.
Which is why he was like, on the day it reaches the port, I'm going down there, paying, getting it out of the
Get
port.
out of it,
Because as
yeah,
soon
right,
as it
okay.
sits around in the port, pieces go missing.
It happens here as well.
Wow.
When
Yeah.
cars come here from Japan, it
Yeah.
happens quite a lot.
Pretty
yeah.
much. So yeah, so he got lucky in that when it landed, it went for an inspection, so it wasn't going to get pieces taken off it, but
Okay.
it was going to get partially dismantled, and then he'd have to put
To
it
be
back
inspected.
together.
Right. Okay.
So,
So, at least you
yeah,
guaranteed
so-
your pieces back.
Theoretically.
And maybe that they'll be there.
Most-
but then
Somewhere,
Not necessarily in the order they're supposed to
hopefully.
be.
So yeah,
Oh, okay.
he's had some fun with that. But yeah, that's coming to the Bad Influence series that we started. I've got
Right.
a few more cars that we're going through and doing it because the whole point of that was if you don't have, say, 7 or 8 years and a driveway to build a car from scratch, what
Mhm.
can you build that's a fun car, or buy that's a fun project car?
Yeah.
And that's where the GTO came from. That was the first car that we did, and that episode
It's a
did
cool
really
car.
well.
Yeah.
So I've got the Brabus Roadster, which was also AIDS that we did
Cool.
a bit last year. I've done a Civic EP3 Type R,
Mm-hmm.
and we've got a few others kind of planned through. But going, what can you do for about 4 or 5 grand, and then
Yeah.
deploying an R33 GTR is not
Doesn't
really
quite
on brand
Yeah,
for the
it doesn't really cover that, does it?
sort of 5 grand limit for things.
Yeah,
so
I'll get one of them
yeah.
for 5 grand anymore.
As far as I'm
God.
concerned, there's 3 answers there.
Yeah.
There's 3 answers. There is RX-8, there's Clear 182, and there's MR2. Those are your answers. That's
Okay.
it. Done. Nothing else matters at that point.
Well, the GTO fit into that category. In fact, the first twin turbo that
Do they now?
Yeah,
though?
but I was going to say, how much are they
managed to
worth now here in the UK, I wonder?
well, the first one that, and I'm sure they will
For a
correct me
decent one.
in the chat.
Let's
Do
say
you wanna-
reasonable,
Do you,
not decent.
Greg, do you want to put in chat how much you paid for the first GTO, which was a twin turbo, just in case I get it wrong? The second one that they had was a non-turbo, and I think that actually cost more. And then this is the third one that they got after the second one had an unfortunate end with a tree.
Oh,
Oh no, sorry. The first GTO was NA, 600 quid. That is a lot of car
It's
for
a lot of car.
600
That's a lot of car,
quid.
600.
Then if you're going to get one of those, you want a turbo, really, don't you?
Yeah.
A twin turbo, actually,
Yeah.
isn't it? Is it
Yeah,
twin turbo?
twin
twins,
Yeah,
yeah.
twins, yeah.
And then the second one had an unfortunate end with a tree. at the hands of Greg, who's also in chat.
Oh
Damn
dear.
it, Greg.
Oh, Greg.
Oh,
And
well
then
What have
this
you done,
is,
man?
and then this one is the third one, which we've taken to the ring and did really well. And then I took it to the ring last year when my friend John came over from Iowa. And it was we spent a lot of time painting the car to make sure that it would get through the gates because
Yeah.
we'd never had any other problems with it.
Right.
And then discovered after about 3.5 miles into a lap that the brake fluid was full of water.
Oh,
Not good.
how does that happen?
It just absorbed it over
Yeah.
time. It just hadn't
What,
been-
through the pipes or?
yeah, it
The
just
tubes,
atmospherically absorbs in.
It's what I call a
through-
hydroscopic
God, yeah.
fluid. So it
So where you
takes
have
water
a
in.
very very small vent in the master cylinder for
Right.
pressure changes as like fluid goes up and down
Yeah.
and what have you. It will very slowly see. It's why you should change your brake fluid every 2 years, give or take, or 1 to 2 years,
I don't
depending
think
on.
I've ever changed my brake fluid, Carl. In any
I've
of my,
told you we
in
need
any
to
of
do
my
your
cars,
brake
Carl.
fluids.
So
We changed it in the S
Yeah.
because we were
And
going
the
for a
Mini.
bottle a day at one point.
And the
In
minute.
my S2000.
So yeah, it
And the
was.
Mini, and yeah, of course, in the Mini.
I think dot 4 is high performance, but dot isn't quite as high temperature as 5.1. 5 is a different. There's dot 3, dot 4, dot 5, and dot 5.1. So dot 3 is what the Thunderbird uses because it's old.
Drum
Dot
brakes.
4 is what every car generally uses for the last 40 years or more. Dot 5.1 is compatible with 4 but has a higher temperature rating but is more hydroscopic. And then dot 5 is a different formula and is not compatible with any of the above. So you have
Or
to fully drain the system and redo
Awesome.
it.
You can go to a silicon-based fluid, which
Yeah.
isn't. Yeah, it's what we use on some of the classic stuff. Because a lot of those cars sit around for 10, 15 years. So
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
put silicon-based fluid in it, and it will never soak up water. It's good to
So
go.
is that good for any car then? Silicon based.
It's-
You have to completely
you have to
drain
do
the system
everything.
all the way down. You
Everything's
have
got
to
to go.
purge the whole system
okay.
because they do not mix.
So then, if you're doing something like we did with the Mini, we replace all the lines and everything
That's
completely.
a good
You
opportunity
could,
to do
yeah,
it.
you could
Could have done that
theoretically
for
do
those,
that, but
okay.
then you need to make sure you put stickers everywhere that say
Do not top this
only
up.
Top
use
this
this,
up.
do not top this up with
Oh,
dot
wow,
4,
okay.
dot 5,
And
whatever.
it is pricey compared. It's not that expensive,
It's
but
not
compared to
horrendous.
dot 4, for
Yeah.
example, it's yeah
Okay.
probably
So,
4
yeah,
times the price.
It was pretty brutal. And we had that because basically you'd put your foot on the brakes and the steering would just go.
Nice. Not running. You don't want that at the ring. I mean, you don't want it on a
Yeah.
normal A road. No, never mind on a
and this is it.
racetrack.
It was doing it after sort of 3 or 4 miles of seriously fast driving.
Wow.
That's
So
amazing.
driving it around, you just never noticed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the previous
Wow.
time we took it was pre-COVID. It would have been 2019 or something. It was fine then. So we never thought to. It never even
Investigate
crossed my
that, yeah.
mind. And
Yeah.
I had new discs and pads to put in, and we thought, should we put them on? No, let's not put them on. That'll be a faff.
Yeah.
Because if it works fine but looks like trash, because it had sat around for 4 years or so, sort of through COVID, through
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sun, so all the paint had just baked off. So it looked
Yeah. It did. It
unkempt.
looked. Yeah.
and it would never get through the gate. They'd just be like, absolutely not. So we made
Okay.
it look decent. We're like, well, it's mechanically fine. Now we've made it look
Yeah.
reasonable. The only thing we haven't done is put green stuff pads and slotted rotors on, but we'll survive.
It'll be alright. We'll just use the old stuff until it's dead.
Yeah,
Like literally,
pretty
it will
much.
kill it.
Yeah.
You know.
And I put John in, because obviously American, so I put him in
Right.
an unfamiliar side of the car, driving on admittedly the correct side of the road in a
Yeah.
manual, which he'd barely driven.
Wow.
He'd had half an hour pre-experience with brakes that literally wanted to fight the steering wheel out of his hand.
But that's the content you want, boys and girls,
Yeah,
right?
That's
Oh, yeah,
something
no,
that's
it
Literally,
did-
what
exciting.
you want to
did
watch,
great
like,
guns,
this will be
yeah.
great. In you go.
Pretty much. So
see,
yes.
see if he survives. We're not worried about the car. We'll just see if he survives the
And
track.
We pulled up outside our where we were staying, the hotel in Adnau, the villa in Adnau, and another one pulled in next to us.
What?
Red twin turbo GTO. And I'm like,
Whoa.
what are the
Well,
chances of
chances
this?
That? Can I just borrow your parts?
Yeah, so we were talking to him about it. He went, oh, yeah, no, mine does that as well. I was like, oh, okay. So, like,
Right.
what, how are you getting through? It's like, oh, I just push the pedal harder.
Okay.
I was like,
Great, good.
Balls out. Let's
Right.
just have it.
Do it.
so
yeah.
we had 2 cars on
Awesome.
that trip. M was in Jess's Passat,
Passat Estate.
the Passat
Nice.
Estate 2-litre diesel, and John and I were in the GTO, so they had the support wagon with the tools.
And they were thrashing you, right?
Oh, they beat me every single time. Yeah. I managed.
Passat.
I took the Passat round and did 10:33, which I could have gone faster, but not my car.
Public
and,
day
and all
as
the
well.
rest of it. Yeah, it was TF day.
Yeah.
The
Drive fast
best
and-
I
yeah.
got out of the GTO was like 10:50 or something like that. It might have even been a bit slower than that. And yeah, it was just like, wow, I feel really bad. So I'm babying this thing round through the second half of the lap and like showing them like this is the decent line through the corners. This is where it is, keeping out of people's way. So I said to this dude like, you know, what are you getting? He's like, oh, I'm doing like 9:30s.
What?
It's like, you're doing
Hang on a minute.
9:30s, fighting
stop.
the brake pedal.
It will work at some point.
I was in the 11:20s.
He's putting you on the handbrake as well at the same time. I'll do.
And I just, okay, you're a lot braver than me.
Yeah, balls out. There you go. Go for it.
So yeah, before it goes
Blimey.
back again, in theory, it will get the.
Well,
it'll
we
get all
are
the-
intending to do the ring
In the Omega.
in the Amiga.
Nice.
They're very great.
Oh,
so I've done the ring before. Neil has not. You've never done a track
I've
day.
never even been to the ring. No.
I
I've
have-
done the ring
I haven't
in
done
my
a track day
Renault
either.
5.
So this will be
This
awesome
was what
content of us
happened.
dying on the ring in an
Oh,
Amiga,
dear.
probably.
This was GTO number 2.
Looks like my old MX-5 over there.
You can't put that there, mate.
Oh,
Can't
no,
park
you
that
can't
there,
park
mate.
that.
And the guilty man.
He doesn't look very guilty. He looks like, yeah, whatever. It's just. It doesn't look too bad. He looks like he could drive that away.
He's done that well, hasn't he?
He's covering up the damage, is what he's doing, I think.
I like the
the
marks.
skin
The
marks.
time I was coming in.
It really tells a
It does
story,
paint
doesn't
the
it?
picture.
Yeah. So that's the Brabus.
Yeah,
The
I
Brabus
like
Roadster in
them
the
a
back.
lot.
Yeah.
They're great fun.
Do you know what?
They're really fun.
I've
Not-
always
not
known
driven
that
one of
they
those.
are
I'd like to have a
hilarious
little go.
and lightweight.
Yeah, they handle really well. They're
It's a
fun
3-cylinder, 660cc engine,
Yeah.
but it's got turbo.
Turbo, yeah.
So
Tiny
it
turbo.
moves and it goes, and you can stir the gears and
It's
make
definitely
it
one of
work.
those little cars that I want to have a go in because everyone tells me about these things.
But
Like
it's-
Carl's driven like anything you can list. He's probably driven one.
It's this big.
And it's like, oh, it's a great
Yeah.
car. But I want to have a go.
It's this big, but the ridiculous thing, I'm 6'4", and
They're quite spacious inside.
Aid, whose
They're
car
fun.
it is, he was in with me filming, so we had that camera rigged up with that screen on the window, sort of do it so we could get all the
Okay.
stuff down. We were comfortable.
So
We
if,
weren't like shoulder to
But
shoulder.
if you had
it was
to
like-
brake suddenly, you'd have a face full of camera, wouldn't you? Clearly,
He
because there's nowhere to be. Yeah, he would. Yeah.
And they
I'm
drive
alright.
really well. They're
it
great
was
fun.
it was a fun little car. So that's the next one.
I
Oh,
like them a lot.
hang on. Here
They're
it is.
ugly.
Here it is post being dragged.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
It's-
dear.
I can see
yeah.
the damage now. So the tree was all right.
Tree seems to have tanked it pretty well.
I want
to
to
be
hazard a
honest.
guess that his rear active area no longer works.
Yeah, you
That's-
can't use that one, no? Maybe the front area though you could use maybe because it seemed to go in backwards.
Yeah, if we could have got parts off that for
That
number
would've sort of
3,
got
that would have been
right out,
ideal.
yeah.
But yeah,
Oh dear.
unfortunate.
Done a
What-
proper
what-
job
what
But
there.
that was on
happened,
it was
though?
on the scum
But
run.
obviously it's come round down round the bend, lost the back end. Looks like it's
Well, it
pirouetted
looks like
Oh,
it
around
went
and then.
into the dirt.
And
there.
apparently the aero
Yeah.
was fine on that one.
Was being the operative word there.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, was is definitely the one. Aid says he'll take you out for a spin in the Brabus if you're down Portsmouth
Oh, yes,
way.
please.
Yeah, we can do.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
take
yeah.
a run down because
Yeah, yeah, okay.
I'm always up for a trip down there. There's a burger van on the hill
I'll go with you then.
called Mix.
All right.
Mix is good. They do
All
a
right,
mon-
burger van sounds good to me.
Mix-
Nice
they-
big greasy burger.
they're
And
open-
pack the 2 6-foot men into a tiny
Yeah.
little
They're
smart
open
car.
24 hours a day.
Sounds fun.
365 or 66 days a year.
Turkish?
Christmas Day,
Turkish.
everything. No,
Oh, this is like
Really?
the kebab man.
but
He's
they've been
fantastic.
there
Yeah, yeah, the kebab man,
30
the
years, I think. But they do a monster burger, which is 2 half-pound patties, a jumbo sausage, bacon, eggs, mushroom, onions.
My good lord.
I'm almost certain I'll have a photograph.
Of the burger.
Of the
mighty
burger, it's-
burger.
Yeah, it's
Blimey.
an experience.
Yeah, that sounds good, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah,
do
because
that.
basically on our channel, obviously Carl's worked at the main dealership and you've had everything from Lamborghinis to...
Yeah, because working for a dealership with that kind of prestige, you get some interesting stuff being traded in.
Yes,
You
I
do.
bet.
And then I worked a next sort of job on from there, which was still from the same company, but over towards Slough Way. I worked on some even more interesting stuff. Some really, really interesting stuff there. And then moved on to a backstreet garage where we got everything.
Everything.
You know, I would go from working on a transit van to an aerial atom in the same day, and it'd just be
Sure.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, and they still do stuff like that.
They do
It's
still do stuff like that. It's a
very
really
cool
interesting
stuff
place
that
to
roll
work.
in there. Because obviously Carl would just send me pictures
Yeah.
All these things that roll
Yeah.
in, and he's like, "Oh, I'm driving this today." I'm like, "Come on, dude,
Yeah.
you're half my age."
And
And Carl's driven probably
Fair.
a few, but maybe 1,000 cars.
I've driven a Koenigsegg, so
Yeah,
just throw that
come
out
on.
there.
Son of a...
My old boss's Koenigsegg, he turned up to work in it and he's like, does anyone want to have a go? And I was like, yeah, okay. Thinking he
Yeah.
was joking. And he just threw the key at me. He's like, do you know how to start it? I was like, I know about the burn sequence thing. Yeah, let's do it. And he let me take it up the A33 at, let's just say, legal speeds.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
on a
so-
closed test track. Yeah.
So for us with
Legal speeds.
OSC, obviously Carl's driven loads of different things, and Neil's driven nothing. So if anybody wants to volunteer me to drive anything, I will have a go. I'm a good driver. I used to be a driving
He is a
instructor.
good
I was
driver, I'm
qualified
glad
as
for
a
that.
driving instructor. I also street raced for 10 years. So I have the mix of both.
Great combination.
Yeah, I'm a competent, good driver, and insured to drive.
There
whatever.
we go.
So if anyone will let me have a go in anything, then please message me or Adrian, and
Behold,
we'll set some stuff up.
the Monster Burger.
Oh my.
Wow, that's interesting.
And you can have cheese as well, normally, if you ask for it.
We've lost Neil's prize.
I forgot.
Again.
Come on, it's because I'm talking too much. I definitely have that problem.
Right.
Should we try another set of?
How's mine been fine? And yet you've gone through.
Apparently,
Really,
you
you're
got
not
the
talking
actual
enough.
only
I got
two
the only good
legit,
one.
like, real powered-up batteries anywhere.
Next time I come over for this, I'm
Left
gonna
button.
I'm literally going to bring my own batteries with me.
Oh, I'm just going to hassle Chris to make sure he's...
One bar.
We've got one bar.
Again.
Make sure Chris
One bar, baby.
actually shows me where to get these. He's like, oh, I've got some really good USB-powered AA cell, like rechargeable cells. You just put them in the USB socket and they just work. They charge up. I'm like, fantastic. Which
Give me
ones are
some.
they?
Tumbleweed. What happens? Yeah, 'cause there's a friend of mine at work, and he's
Fine.
like, "Oh, you make t-shirts and hoodies, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do them myself." And he was like, "How long does that take?" I was like, 2 hours. I was like, "How much do you make from each hoodie?" £9.
Yeah.
He's like, "I've got a friend that can do them really cheap for you,
Yeah.
and they're really good quality, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Okay, send me his details." That was 3 months ago, and 6 messages later, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'll do it this afternoon." And I had a message 2 weeks ago from Paul, literally saying, "I'll do it in a minute. I'm just going to finish this." And then I saw him at the office 2 weeks later. I was like, "Dude," he's like, "Oh shit, yeah. I'll do it. It still hasn't done it." So Paul, come on, man. We're waiting to do the hoodies and t-shirts.
I've been wearing this same hoodie now for years.
I've done
the only one.
Carl's
the
had
last
this hoodie forever.
the last PedalBox hoodies that I did, I think I did them about 5 years ago, and they are showing their age from being used
Well,
and
So
abused.
this was hoodie number 1. This was the first
It
one
is
we made.
01, yeah.
I've used it in the workshop. I've used it rolling around on the floor in
Yeah.
the cars. It's held up really well.
Yeah, it's how
So
well, to be
we've
fair.
done. The
So yeah,
vinyl we
obviously,
use for these is
merchandise
good.
we are selling. We can do t-shirts and hoodies, but at the moment we're doing what's it called? Hot transfer.
Yeah, hot
Basically,
transfer
vinyl
vinyl.
transfers
Yeah.
for the moment.
It's time consuming.
But the
it's-
wife's
yeah.
very arty, and she's very crafty, and she does all these things, and
Yes.
she has done those things. She's like, well, why don't you just make, what's it called? With the
The
Direct
paint
garment.
roller, yeah, direct to garment.
the paint.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, screen
Thingy.
printing.
Screen printing,
that's
yeah.
it. Yep.
She's like, it's so easy. But she does this all the time to me. She says, oh, it's so easy. And like, she'll come out to us when we're working on cars and she'll fix things that we haven't thought of. She's one of those
really
people
weirdly good at
that
that.
I love her to death, but she's very annoying because she's so clever at stuff, isn't she, Carl?
She will just turn up, do it, and walk off.
all the time.
I don't think there's actually any welding holes in the hoodies. There is, however, a lot of grime on them, and the cuffs are completely worn through on one, and the zip's broken on the other. So yes, but yeah, it's-
survival,
I mean,
yeah.
we keep looking at making these. That is genuine Thunderbird rust
I
in
like
resin.
that.
Well,
That's
And
done
that
that
is that's a chunk. Now the bottom is cloudy basically because the mixer for the resin
Yeah.
broke, so we had to do it by it didn't have the
interesting
charger
idea.
for it, so we had to do it by hand.
I can give you a lot of Renault 5 chunks.
yeah, you're going to have to make it fun.
I've got many Renault 5
I
chunks.
definitely had some in here. We have about
Do
2.5
Amiga chunks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have 2.5
Giveaway.
kilos of Thunderbird rust, so we have a lot of this that we can get through. But like
That's what my entire Renault weighs.
Holy moly. That's like, you could use that as a sword.
that came off the rear quarter of the Thunderbird, and that was the Bondo that was in it.
Oh my good lord. Hang on.
And bearing in mind that as
That
a
is
panel
quite amazing.
on the cart, that is just two thin pieces of metal that are
Yeah,
together. It doesn't go
I'm
anywhere.
going to show the TikTok live.
Yes.
That's a good amount of body filler.
So that was the bottom of one, and that was the other side of that panel. But you could run your hand through, obviously slicing.
Yeah,
everything
you
in the
don't
world
want to do
over.
that.
But yeah, I keep meaning to do it, so it sits down here and gets.
Do I have?
But that is the worst piece of Bondo I have ever found. That's probably second up to it. But this one is impressive because you can see every layer that's been put on
Yeah.
as it goes through.
Wow. I know it's really unprofessional for a whole podcast situation, but I have here on my phone, and I can bring up to the camera if need be. This was the arch of the Omega.
Ooh, that's missing some.
Yeah, there's not much of it there, really, is
Yeah.
there? You can see there was an attempt.
Yes.
Once upon a time.
But yeah,
they were
that
okay.
was pretty horrendous. But we found
Oh, you found the Omega.
I found a picture of it.
we found the rear arches. I got patch panels and imported them over. Well, got them sent to my friend in LA, and then I brought them back on the plane because it was
That's the
cheaper.
way to do it,
It
yeah.
was cheaper to upgrade to another cabin and take the extra luggage that came with it than
It
it
was
was to get them
posted.
posted here. It was $500
And it takes a lot longer.
postage on $380 of patch panels.
How
and
big
it
were
was
these panels though?
well, it was about as long as that, give or take.
oh,
Maybe
so
it was
that's
a little
not
bit.
bad
It was a little bit longer than a suitcase. It was 1
I
point
was sort of
something
thinking how big the
meters.
car is. You're like,
Well, this was it. It wasn't.
excuse me,
It,
overhead panels.
it wasn't full panels. They were just the patch panel
okay,
parts.
just
So
the
it
little pieces,
not because
that's right, yeah.
the full rear quarter on that goes from the door jamb to the lights, and it's
noise.
a third of the car. So it's
You don't want to
Loki,
eat
you
that.
can't
mate.
eat one.
You
no.
don't want to
I
eat
mean,
that.
you can try, but
I
it's
wouldn't
not
lick
great.
it either. Hello, buddy.
So yeah, it was less than ideal, but brought that over, patched them all. It still needs like fettling, but it's at the point where
That's quite impressive.
it's no longer going to rust anymore,
Yeah.
which was what we needed.
Yeah.
And at the end, the sills as they go down, I've put the dreamies somewhere and I can't work out where they've gone. Unlucky.
I require treats.
So I could put my arm to my shoulder down the sill because the opening was big enough, and it was 5 layers of metal. So there was the outer skin, the inner skin, the inner sill, and then the frame rail, and then an extra support in the middle. So we had to replace all of those going backwards through. But we just put the shop vac down the sill as far as we could feed the hose in,
Get it
and
all
it just
out, yeah.
kept on pulling and sucking more and more bits into the hose.
Ridiculous,
So
isn't it?
it's horrendous. But yeah, we're going to cast some in. I've got another one somewhere. But yeah, we cast all the rust in them, so there'll be nice little trinkets.
These are great to sit
it's
on a desk.
For
These are
patrons
fantastic.
and things like that, you can just
Yeah.
put them in, but it's just basically you cast a bunch of it and then throw a bunch on the top,
And
and
just-
you get some through, and then just cast it up, and then you can just flame polish it
Thunderbird
to get
rust.
it back.
Get
but
yours.
That's really cool. I like. That's a great thing to sit on the desk. I like that
Exactly. So we
Very
need
cool.
to get like proper production run on them going.
Yeah.
But I've only got one set of molds, so I can only do like one set of each size at a time, and it takes
Right.
2 days because you've got to let the first layer
Let's set,
cure,
put them-
then
yeah.
do the next one. So it's like
Yeah.
it's not the
Process.
Yeah. Very cool though. I like that a lot.
yeah. Greg's saying we make key rings. Obviously we've got that's the double size, but
Yeah,
we've got
it's big.
our key rings
Yep.
somewhere. Yes, they are there, but they're all like 3D printed.
3D
ones.
printed.
I think I.
Oh yeah,
I
they're
think I
well
gave you
done.
one of those, yeah.
Yeah, I've got those on my desk.
They are well done.
Work,
But yeah, that
Cool.
was one of the reasons for getting the 3D printer was printing merch. This was actually made by a friend of ours for Christmas. I got 3 of these. So this is the perfect one. There's
Yeah.
the imperfect one on the door to the
See that when I
studio.
come in,
Nice,
yeah, the
yeah.
studio
And then
door,
there's the
nice.
almost perfect one upstairs on the next to my desk.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, it's
Yeah, we need to talk to you about doing our logo on the old 3D printers. Cause
yeah, definitely.
Because obviously I do quite a lot of stuff at home at my desk, so
Yeah.
I'd like it behind,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I was going to get like a neon sign made.
Yeah.
But then you look at some people's lives and it's just a burning light of
Yeah.
It's
like
too
the
bright,
sun,
yeah.
and you can't see what it says. And I thought,
Yeah.
maybe that's not a good idea. But
Yeah,
but
this is-
3D printing
so-
looks
Yeah.
quite cool.
Because I do, I've done them for Decimal Tenths as well, who are up in Newcastle, and they use them because they have a garage. So they started on
Okay.
YouTube and then opened a tuning garage. They've got a dyno and all sorts. They're going great guns.
Yeah.
And I basically went, do you want some key rings making up? So I took their logo and
Yeah.
just made it in CAD and then printed it up. And they use them as like favors for people bringing their cars in. It's like, oh, you're a long time customer. have a keyring,
Yeah,
and they've got some
cool.
for sale. So
And we were thinking of doing it, weren't we?
We
'Cause
were-
obviously
what we
each
wanted to
car we
do-
sell, we thought, well, if we could get the keyrings made,
it's perfect for that.
we could number them too.
Yep.
And say you're number 1 of the OSC cars, and
Yep.
you're
Yeah.
number 2 and 3 and whatever.
Pretty
carry on
much.
going.
Yeah.
But we didn't have anybody to do it, and we just
No, at the time.
I can have a go. Send me the logo.
Yeah,
Just
it's
any given
Yeah,
image,
when
and it'll
relatively
work.
simple.
I
so-
must admit, for the thumbnail for this, I was like, I know I've seen their logo somewhere where I can
Yeah.
get it, and I looked through it and I
Yeah.
couldn't find it
Difficulty is, right,
anywhere.
the file.
In the end, do you know how I did
The wife
it?
has the file,
I've-
and every time I've asked her, she's like, "I've sent it to you," and then whenever she goes to look for it, she's like, "I can't find it. She can't have it." And I'm like, I need to get like.
Yeah.
It needs to get merch done.
Well, yeah, but obviously for the show
Mhm.
in July.
We need
Need
banners.
banners,
and,
yeah.
I need
yeah.
the banners, the flags, everything else. I've spoken
Yeah.
to people, and they're like, "Oh, just send me the logo. I'll have a look, and I'll price it for you." I can't because I can't send you the flipping logo.
Yeah.
So naturally, sort it out.
Yeah, we need to get a couple of flags done. We've got a big flag that we took to duct tape with us, and Vix has got a little electric wheelchair, and we're like, we'll put a flagpole on the back and get
Yes.
this massive thing.
That's
It
exactly
was
right.
so windy, it was
That's awesome.
unreal.
Pulling her over.
Pretty much, it was bending the flagpole because we had to make do with
Wow.
like a telescopic one. If what I should have done
Oh,
is got somebody over there to just buy me 8 foot of like box section steel, and I'll just tie it onto that, and it'll be
Yeah,
fine.
won't lose
But
any.
I didn't. By the time we were over there, it was too late.
It's all these things. I mean, I'm not the best at doing these sorts of things. I'm not the best at reading stuff and organising stuff and ordering stuff. And I keep looking at it, thinking, well, we do need a gazebo,
Yes.
and then we need tables to put out hoodies and merch and whatever else.
Yeah.
But we need a decent enough gazebo that's not going to blow over.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we need, because what we're going to do with the Prelude, because the roof is rusty. Like all,
The sunroof's
Sure.
all
all fourth
rotten.
generation roofs rust. 'cause
Standard.
They're made of metal. So we
Yep.
thought we'll get a black flag with the logo on, but it just goes over the roof.
Yep.
And especially when I go to the Max Power show, because they've got like the veranda at the top where they look over all the cars.
Yeah.
And I thought
So
that'd
you'll
be
see
good
the
for us,
logo
'cause
on
you'll see the
top.
logo,
Advertising,
and cover
fantastic.
the rust, blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah. But it's just organising it all. I haven't got the time. Because, people that know our channel know I've got a full-time job, Carl's got a full-time job.
Yeah.
And I try and do this in between in the evenings and whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to make content.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do my day job. I've
And
got
edit
2 young
and,
children
yeah.
and a wife. I've got to do all that.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
got time to do all this stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to find someone that will do it for a reasonable cost as well. Because you must get this as well. But sometimes the pricing, it's like,
So
oh,
we
I just want a
did-
flag. That's 400 quid. What?
So
I'm
we
not
did.
paying that for a bit of material.
So the decent sized flag that we got, which is up there, I'll show you it afterwards. I think I want to say it's like 4x3. Wasn't actually too bad. We got it through our merch store, who will sell you flags. And we're like, cool. Well, I'll buy a flag
Flag.
because I need
Yeah.
a flag.
Yeah.
So we got that printed up, and it wasn't too bad. I'm actually going to you too can look at merch at
There
shop.pedalbox.show.
you go.
You do that, and you do that, and you do that, and
Yeah, 20 quid.
20 quid.
Wow.
I'm
That's
gonna
more like it.
I'm gonna
That's more
try
like
and
Yeah,
find this.
sell us a flag.
Admittedly, I don't know how. I don't think it would be particularly.
Has it gone
waterproof.
again?
Again. Come on, man.
To be fair, you are on like the cast-off batteries at this point, but like,
Thank you.
it's a decent sized flag.
That's a really good size flag. That would be perfect for the roof of the Prelude, actually.
That's almost exactly what we want.
It's upside down.
It's upside down.
Oh,
But
yours,
you
if
get
you
the
buy
point.
one, will be the right way up.
Well, the right way around.
If you're competent enough to put it the right way up.
Yes. But yeah, it was.
Oh, I like that.
It is
That's
a
cool.
good sized flag, and yeah, 20
good
quid
material,
is
it's
what
nice
we
and
sell
thick.
them for. So.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah, well, send me some linkage
And
or
we,
information. I will get them.
But
get
yeah,
it ordered.
we did one, and it was a bit sneaky the way that they did it, because they have to charge VAT, but when you're pricing up your items, they don't know whether you can charge VAT, so they don't put VAT. They don't assume there's VAT on your price.
Oh, okay.
So let's say you're doing a T-shirt, double-sided, full front print. It's like 16 quid or something like that
Right.
with VAT. But you're not. If you're putting it up for £20, by the time you have postage and everything else on, I think I made 40p on a T-shirt
Wow.
because of the way they do it, and it's
Yeah.
not obvious the way round they do it. It's had to change all of the prices to make
something
anything
Yeah.
remotely worthwhile.
Wow.
Which, yeah, I wasn't thrilled when I found that out.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
But yeah.
it's always annoying when obviously it doesn't say including VAT, does it? Oh, that's the,
Yeah,
that's
it's,
the
it
Gotta put it
basically
around too.
goes. they'll give you VAT invoices for things, but it's not obvious how they're pricing your stuff against the other things. So, find you yet another pair of batteries. As I say, you're on the dregs of batteries, basically, within.
Gracias.
Because the other box of brand new batteries is
Somewhere.
yeah.
It's vanished into the ether.
Because I had so many in here, as known good work, I was like, oh,
Literally
I've
come
got-
up with a low battery and gone off.
Oh my.
Goodness gracious me.
tried them.
Oh my god, how many have you got back there? It's just endless
It,
supply.
he's actually just circulating them. It's the same ones.
Yes, the same ones round and round and round.
Eventually they'll work. If we all believe.
Right.
We'll make this the last set of batteries.
Oh, full power.
Two.
No,
2 bars.
2 bars. Oh, I went to 3 for a second.
Best we've ever had.
That'll do.
Good enough.
That'll last us.
That will do us.
Right.
But yeah, Fix has just said in the chat, the flag was very good at keeping some of the sun off in Arizona because it was 112 Fahrenheit, which is 44 Celsius.
Wow,
and we were in a
that's
parking lot in the desert
Nice.
with basically no shade.
What was the temperature for you in Vegas last
I
week?
had low 40s.
Yeah.
I was in Vegas the weekend before last.
The worst I've experienced is 122, but I was actually in the middle of the desert at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon driving through.
Holy
So you
moly.
expect.
But you had aircon,
Oh,
right?
oh,
Oh yeah, I had
okay.
aircon in the car
Otherwise
and
you'd
everything.
be-
And I stopped and got out and went, wow, this is terrible.
I was walking down the Las
Wow,
Vegas Strip.
I am very glad I've experienced this.
I'm getting back in my car.
I'm getting back in my
Yeah.
car and then continued driving.
Wow.
And later in the trip, I got to Oklahoma City at about midnight, and it was 100 Fahrenheit. At midnight.
Wow.
And fortunately, even the locals were really, really bitter about it. Like, this
This is hot.
something is wrong. And I'm like, something is wrong.
Something's going on here.
It's all terrible. So at least that wasn't normal, but
But if you broke down, you'd be dead.
yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. You'd
Meanwhile-
be dead. You'd have to
But I
just
mean,
lie
even-
under the car and hope
Like,
for.
even at midnight, though, the
surviving.
sun disappeared 6
Wow.
hours ago, and it's just like,
Come
Still
on.
hot.
nope.
Come on.
Nope, you're
taking
gonna
the mick
cook.
god.
Oh,
You've
I've been
taken
so happy.
Just,
I was walking down the Las Vegas
Can't be
Strip.
like-
It was 40 odd degrees.
That's-
I was in a
that's my
hoodie and
temperature.
jeans, perfectly comfortable. People were
Wrong.
looking at me like I'm insane.
You're insane.
I've got
That's
a
why.
great story. I went to Lanzarote a couple of years back on like a little solo holiday, and I was hiking up one of the volcanoes there in a thicker hoodie than this and jeans, hiking up a volcano. It was about 38 degrees, and locals were calling me crazy.
We live here. What's wrong with you?
I was like, I'm
What's wrong with you? I'm
This is a
fine.
nice time. I'm like
fine.
jogging up this volcano, like having a great time.
But it's weird though, because
terrible.
obviously you haven't come from another country. You've always been here.
Yeah.
It's like my friend Sedge. He's 6'3", 17 stone. He looks like a Viking. He's got very long hair, and
Yeah.
he is a Viking.
Scandinavian.
And literally at work, he was like, "It's just too hot," and the rest of us were putting the aircon on. He's like, "I'm sweating," and in the end, he decided that he was going to wear a skirt to work because they wouldn't let him wear shorts. And this guy, he used to ride his Harley to work in
Yeah.
full leathers
Yeah.
with his work uniform underneath. And he'd take it all off, and you would smell him from the other end of the office. Let's put it that way. And you'd have to say to him, "Sedge, dude, you need to
Sealed
put
in for the
you need to
flavour."
put something on because my eyes are watering just sitting here trying to work." So he wangled the rules to be
Yeah.
like, "You can't tell me I can't wear a skirt, so I'm going to wear a kilt to work every
Yeah.
day." So he did,
Yeah.
basically. And he got married in Greenland, and it was all like 3 feet of snow.
Yeah.
And he's there in a t-shirt. And he's like, this is my temperature. And he said, I didn't want to come home because I didn't feel hot. The one time in my life I didn't feel hot. And obviously he dragged his wife out there.
Yeah.
And she's like
Yeah,
wearing all the
dying.
thermals and hats and everything. And he's there just a t-shirt and his
That's-
skirt. Literally wearing his skirt, his
That's
combat
how
skirt.
I
you know.
felt in Vegas. I was like, this
Dude,
is my
you're not
land.
made for this world, are you really? You know, the same for you, isn't it? You're not made for this,
No, I'm not made for
for this
the
country or anything else.
take
Las
me
Vegas
somewhere
Strip,
hot.
August, walking 3 blocks down the strip in August was not
Fine.
Get indoors,
Lovely.
get to the aircon.
really not good
Nope.
idea.
There's a-
This is funny also when you talk
Great.
to Americans, because obviously when I'm on the live stream, there's a lot of
Yeah,
Americans that
yes.
come on. And I was saying was it during the summer last year? It got up to like 32 degrees, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's hot for us.
We
Really
had
hot.
40 the year before.
And they were like,
In
oh,
In fact,
yeah.
we had 40.
We had a random day of
COVID
it
year.
last
COVID,
year as well.
COVID year
But
was
they
a
were
solid
taking the
40
piss.
for
Like, that's
a
not
week.
hot, dude. That's not hot. I'm like, yeah, but you have to bear in mind,
Yeah.
we don't have aircon in
Yeah.
our houses.
Yeah.
And they were like, what's wrong with you?
You can't
we,
escape
we,
from
we,
it.
we don't get that temperature
Yeah.
here. That doesn't happen. It never
Yeah.
happens. So to have 30
Yeah.
plus
This
is
is
a
like
lot.
the first year that this has happened for more than a week, and now it's like it's building up and building up. More and more people are going.
we were like, you can't survive.
None of my
Buy
cars have
aircon.
working aircon. Not a single one.
Hellish.
So the Prelude that's been in the garage for the last 18 years, its aircon
It's
works.
because it's the old gas.
does work.
Because it's
It
good
is
gas.
cold.
Good
Yeah,
gas.
It
it's
is
not
cold.
R134A.
Yes, exactly.
Hello, merch.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's the so that's the Autoholics Anonymous T-shirt that you can
Cool.
get.
Yeah, cool. That's this.
Yes, pretty much.
Cool.
See, talking on
But
this
yeah.
forum, right? So obviously we're talking about getting our merch out there, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, well, how much do you charge for hoodies and t-shirts? Because I was charging £15 a t-shirt
Yeah,
and 25 for a hoodie,
yeah,
which I thought was reasonable. Because I
Yeah.
thought charging more than that for your own stuff,
And that's
is a
with
bit
these
is-
vinyl printed on.
yeah,
And this
is a
was-
bit cheeky.
and this was kind of it.
But
Like,
people keep telling me, no, that's well underpriced.
Yeah.
You should be charging
this
30
was
to
pretty
40
much what
pounds for a
I
hoodie.
got from people. I was
Right.
like, no, a hoodie should be 40 quid. I'm like, should it?
Yeah, would you buy one for 40 quid? I don't think I would be buying one for 40 quid.
suppose. So, yeah, I just. But a lot of the like fulfillment center stuff. So we went through where we got a bunch made and we posted it all out from here.
Right.
And we ended up with loads of stuff left over. So like, well, that's a terrible idea because we sunk about 200 or 300 quid of capital into T-shirts that essentially we ended up just giving away
That's
at
what we're
shows and
so
stuff like
that's
that.
what we're worried about now. We're at that stage.
Which was a
of,
really
what do
good
we do?
cheap way to do it. As a per item, it costs £5 or £6 to get a single-sided T-shirt printed up, and you can sell it for 15 quid with postage, and it works.
Yeah.
But you have to have the capital to do it, and you have to
yeah.
be willing to sit on it for a long. Like we still have stuff that we got 7 years ago in the box down
it's
there.
still there.
Yeah.
That's still there. And then we went to the fulfillment stuff. We've sold more through the sort of on-demand fulfillment stuff.
Okay.
But the prices are higher because it's on demand. So instead of it
Yeah.
being £6 or £7 to print a
But
T-shirt,
you haven't got that inventory
it's
sitting
60.
around, have you? Though.
Yeah,
If someone
so you
wants one,
then-
it goes out immediately, kind
Yeah.
of thing. Which is
But you can't
So you
take
then
a load
have
to
to.
shows.
So then you have to buy things in for the shows if you're going to do that, or take orders at the shows and then just don't worry, it'll just be sent directly to you, which also works. But people are a bit
I can't have it now because
I want to wear it
because-
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
pretty much. So it's a double-edged sword.
But that's
I
kind
went
of the thing for the Berkshire Merch Show. We're thinking of taking a range of colours to be
Yeah.
up in the back of the gazebo so people
Yeah,
can see what they
pretty
look
much.
like.
Yeah.
And then on the day, we're just going to have black ones because most people that work on cars
Yeah.
want a black one.
Yeah.
And we'll have 3 different colour variants. And
Yeah.
we're thinking we'll just do 3 large of every colour.
Yeah.
And then 3 extra large of every colour.
Yeah.
And if you want anything else, you can order it.
Yeah,
So we can
pretty
say, we can do
extra
a
large-
cream hoodie, for instance, or a
Yeah.
green one, or a blue one.
Extra large is what we went through most of. Always,
Really?
every
Oh,
single
okay.
time. Extra large, 2XLs, and then larges are next up on the list. Mediums very, very rarely
Yeah.
ever.
Okay.
And I'm that one guy that buys a small.
Extra
me.
small.
Yeah,
The
pretty
car
much.
extra small.
But yeah, for a
Okay.
while I've thought
That's interesting.
because there are so many small channels who want a merch store,
Yeah.
but then every single one of you are paying for the full subscription for everything.
Yes.
Having a single platform that fulfills many different shops. So that's what I'm going to
Brands
try and do. Well,
within
yes,
the
essentially,
one
yeah.
shop, right?
Yeah, precisely. So you can have multiple brands. You
That's a
just
great
because this
idea.
one you just have a collection.
Yeah.
So there'll be the PedalBox collection, and then the OSC collection.
Well,
and then
we need to
anybody
talk
else.
to
else.
you
Yeah,
about
we
that then,
do.
don't
Yeah,
we?
so
Great,
that's
awesome.
that's one thing.
Collab, people. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Pretty
Talking
much.
to each other.
Yeah,
and also,
basically that.
obviously, what we're trying to do with is this by talking to each other is all about the car community, right?
Exactly.
So we help
Well,
each other out. We,
my whole
some of us do a bit of
ethos-
this,
Yeah.
and some of us do a bit of that, and we can all mix together
my
and
whole
go, well,
ethos is that a rising tide lifts all ships.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's another one of the guys that I'm hoping to get on here and then coming to Prospect who's got a 2.3 what's it out of? It's compressor. It's 2.3
Mercedes
SLK
SLK,
supercharged. Sorry, no, it's not. Well, there is a guy who has
Right.
that. Jason, who was in the chat earlier, and there's another guy called Wayne, who has a 2-litre supercharged MR2 kit car.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
But so he's on. He's got 800 subs, or give or take. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's fine. I don't care how many subs you have.
Yeah,
I can
yeah, yeah.
guarantee that a lot of your subs won't be subbed to me,
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
lot of mine won't be subbed to
so
you.
there'll be new
But there'll be a
ones
lot of
coming
crossover in
won't they?
interest.
But
Exactly,
but
yeah,
exactly,
yeah, yeah.
a lot of interest crossover. But there are so many channels that I've found just going, I didn't know that. Like, I've been looking through YouTube for channels like this for
Forever,
years.
yeah.
I didn't know
to
it
try and find
existed.
it. I didn't know it existed. So just pulling up and getting everything
for
onto
us, obviously, we don't
a
do
single
YouTube.
channel.
We do TikTok
Yeah.
and
I'm
Instagram.
working on it. So I am working
But it's
on
really hard because obviously, like with TikTok, originally you had to have 1,000 followers to even go live.
Yeah.
But the live is what gives you the followers.
Yes.
So it's like catch-22. You can't
Yeah.
go live without all the followers. So
Yeah.
it takes a very long time. And also with algorithms and things, it doesn't push your content out.
Yeah.
So when I talk to people, they're like, "Oh, you've done this. I've never
Yeah.
heard of you. I've never
Yeah.
seen you."
Pretty much.
But the reason is because we're not big enough yet. You know, you have to get big to be able to get big. It's very difficult and it's very annoying.
Yeah.
Obviously, YouTube's a little bit different, isn't it? So you
Yes.
type in something you want
Yes.
To
It will give
an
you
to
lots.
view.
extent.
So, for instance, obviously changing what was it we did on the Mini that had never been done on YouTube before? There was something we did on, I think it was the Mini.
We did loads on the
It
menu.
was just one of those things. We typed it into YouTube and it didn't exist. Changing something, I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was. Was it the air filter or something? Wasn't it? Because you were like, this doesn't fit in here. 'Cause
Yeah,
it was way too
pollen
long.
filters are
Pollen
really
filters.
weird on those minis.
you
They
had to,
don't just fit
like,
flat.
break
they
it to
fit
fit
in an
in.
S shape, and you have to break them to get them
But
in.
with YouTube, you search what you want. But with Instagram and TikTok, you don't do that. You just scroll.
Yeah.
So unless the algorithm allows you to be seen, you
Yeah.
will never get seen.
Pretty much.
And that's the difficulty that we've
So-
been facing. So it's trying to get your name out there, your brand out there.
So obviously we're building a car from scratch.
Yes, you are.
And
That's
That
pretty
is-
impressive, isn't it?
It
that
quite
is the
something.
worst idea for content you could
Oh, is it?
possibly
Because
imagine.
it's slow.
I thought that was
No.
No?
because no one's going to
It
search
doesn't
that.
exist.
Yeah, it's a non-entity,
Nice.
isn't it? I
So
guess.
it's listed as an Audi TT kit car because it's an Audi TT engine.
Yeah.
But it's not an
225.
Audi TT, so nobody cares from that side. It's not really a kit car because it's all custom parts and panels.
Yeah,
It's
so it's
not
not a
how to
kit.
build. So it's not a
Exactly.
kit, so nobody cares.
Yeah.
So the top performing videos in the last 365 days for us, I'll ignore all of the shorts, is the GTO Bad Influence episode is number one
Makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
because it's a very searchable car. Next up is the road, but that's a 2-year-old video at this point, and it is still doing better
Because
numbers
people
than
search
anything
Mitsubishi
else.
GTO.
Wow. Okay.
The SD1, when we tried to get it rebuilt so that Chris could drive it down to Italy for a friend's wedding, didn't make it. But that's not the point. We did a load of work, got an
Yeah,
episode out on it.
Again, interesting searchable car. Yeah.
Searchable car. The SD1 engine swap video that went up 2 weeks ago has almost as many views as the one from the previous year. And I'm still nowhere near our top performing video on the kit car that we've released this year. Down from that, swapping the MX-5 suspension from Coney's to Meister R's.
A
video-
very common thing.
A video
yeah.
from 4 years ago, still outperforming every piece of kit car
Wow.
video from this year.
Because MX-5 coilovers.
Yeah. And then, eventually, one from the kit car from this year, where the main thing that we did was said, don't use these urethane mounts because they have no flex, so when you if you try to put them over the hook, they won't go. And if you drill the hole out big enough, they just
They're
rattle.
flat black. Yeah. But everyone just wants to see why. It's the clickbait of don't do this.
Failure thing,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And then
Yeah.
installing an OBD sensor in the kit car, 4 years old video. The Kit Fest video from a few weeks ago, that did well because it was a show. Duct tape drags, then going through some of the printing stuff, but like you're like well down the list. Another one that did really well is Racing Aspirations have a suspension geometry calculator you can poke everything in. One of the first videos we ever did. Still doing
Still
better.
doing well. That's really weird, isn't it? I mean, the video we had the highest hits on was when Carl bought the Amiga.
Yeah.
Because the first
Yeah.
second is, oh God, Carl's bought a car.
So as the
And that did really well. And then the highest thing we've ever had, which is now nearly 1 million views,
yeah.
is, remember the old Alpine stereos with the dolphins on? Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just the
It's just the
screen.
dolphins running.
And it's just the period correct music that I made in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's done nearly 1 million views now. It's insane.
Our single most
You
viewed
never know what's going
video
to come up.
is changing the exhaust and intake on a Porsche 944. Which wasn't even
944.
really a channel car. It was a friend's car that we did some work on.
Right.
Followed by the Maestro, followed by the GTO video. Yeah, like those are our top 3 videos.
Wow.
But YouTube's always
It's-
been that way. It
Yeah.
really has been.
Yeah.
'Cause I used to
Pretty
be
much.
a YouTuber myself when I was much younger. Not car stuff. This was game related and computer related stuff. I did a bit of car content back then, and I wasn't a Minecraft YouTuber. I specifically didn't want to be a Minecraft
Yeah.
YouTuber. I got invited
But
onto a
you
Minecraft
were.
server and made about 3 videos on Minecraft, and
Mm-hmm.
they just blew up, and nothing else got any views.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
Great,
much.
cool.
It's very, very weird. The best so a friend of ours has just stopped doing shorts. He's like, no more. I'm not doing any more of them. It's not what I want
Is that
to
shorts
do.
on YouTube, right?
Yes.
Right.
But specifically, he wants to make programs.
Long
And granted,
form
the type of videos that he does really don't lend themselves to being cut into small pieces. Like going to a car show absolutely does, and the one I'm editing, it's taking so long to edit because I'm making sure that
I'm
every
doing
car
that now.
is less than a minute.
Well, we've got.
So it
So
will
you can do
just
a
chop,
short.
chop, chop, chop,
I
chop,
think we had
and
a
go through.
2-hour live.
Yeah.
I'm cutting that into 90-second slots. And I started doing it on Instagram. I thought, oh, sod this, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Because TikTok is 10 minutes maximum. Instagram's 90 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm not doing 2.5 hours into 90 seconds. I just went, if you want to see it, go on TikTok,
Yeah,
because
go
I'm not
watch it
doing it.
there.
But YouTube, you could easily post. I mean, is there a limit on YouTube videos?
No. You can
Not
YouTube,
really.
YouTube can go however long you want. But what I would say is when you're ready to go live with your YouTube stuff bigger,
Yeah.
make sure you have as many shorts as you can physically manage.
Oh, I've got them all set. We've done. I've
And-
done all
and,
the
like,
shorts.
all of,
Yeah,
all
there
of
you
the
go.
stuff from TikTok and everything else,
Okay.
just pull it over and just queue it up so it drops 1 or 2 a day to just build it
Okay.
up to just flood the algorithm with them. Because he's
We can do that. We've
he's
got a lot.
We can do
stopping
that.
doing
That'd be
them.
great.
Yeah.
But he is also 126,000 subs now. So he doesn't
Wow,
need
that's a
to
big
feed
one.
the algorithm anymore. He's doing.
Okay.
He's got
He's
his-
already
Yeah,
in.
he's
with-
already out there.
He's over 100k. He's well into it.
It's kind of a bit like the Google search, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because obviously you want to be right at the top of the list of the Google search, but you have to do certain things to get there. Because otherwise you're on page 15 and no one's ever going to see you.
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah. And that's so there's a lot of that. And,
Oh, it's a different one.
Oh,
Hello.
different cat.
This is Luna,
Hi, Luna.
Hello,
who's
Luna.
gracing us.
Is that
with her
because she's so
presence.
round?
Oh, you can't say that. Don't listen to
I can
him.
say that all female cats are pretty round, aren't they? To
Don't
be fair.
listen.
So
to
apparently,
him.
when they get spayed, they do actually just put on a load of weight.
Puff out, yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully my little girl Moo does that because she looks like she's going to die
She
at
did
any
say
moment.
that.
Yes, you can literally like pinch her back, her stomach like this. She's tiny, but she hasn't been spayed yet.
Yeah.
And she's prowling the area. We think there's a few males of venture this. We might have kittens too. We didn't plan on having any kittens.
No.
We didn't plan on having the cats. To be fair, we inherited them,
Fair.
so it's like okay.
Yeah,
We'll
I
put
mean
in
that's
about
how cats
15,
happen.
you know.
You get chosen by the cat.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody adopts
Absolutely.
a cat. You are adopted by the cat.
Yeah, if it-
Kind of happened to
But-
me, except it was snails. I
yeah,
have snails
giant
now.
snails.
Yeah.
Vic's had giant snails at one point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're great. I really like them. They're fantastic.
And,
It's a weird pet though, isn't it?
and
Slime on me.
hermit crabs.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I like that.
So we
Hermit
had
crab
I
are
like
cool.
a
weird pets.
massive hermit crab that was like
Yeah,
this
What?
big.
I
Yeah.
thought they were really
He
little.
was
No, they're
sizable.
big.
He was old.
Crikey.
But yeah, flood the shorts before you do anything else in
Oh
theory.
right, so attack the shorts first.
And if you've got anything that's longer form that works, like, oh, I've got a live stream, I'm going to clip it into a 10-minute video, stick that up twice a week. Just drop it out twice a week as you go, and you'll get a nice cadence, and it will start boosting you. As long as you
Okay.
have them going out at the same time, it will start to.
I
pick up
remember what
and
you
go through
said, so
stuff,
hopefully Carl remember what you
Yeah,
said.
yeah, I've got this. I've got this.
Cool.
As
We'll
it
get on that.
happens,
'cause-
part of my masters was in the YouTube algorithm.
So,
So you'd
Oh,
think
okay.
I'd be really good
You
at
should be
this.
good at that. You should be.
And I know all the theory, it just doesn't work with my content. Because every time I do a video on a car that you can search, it goes great guns.
And then the
But
car's
it's
gone.
dragged down
Yeah.
by the fact that the other stuff isn't there. I did some model train stuff, and
Yeah.
that's still doing really, really well. But the problem is, it goes, oh, you really like that model train stuff? Let me show you another video from that channel, and it's cars, and I'm not interested. So it goes,
trains.
oh, well,
yeah.
maybe that channel's not so good then, so it doesn't recommend it.
Right.
And
okay.
the car people will have a train one that's, oh, this is doing really well, recommended.
like, why would
And
I
they'll
watch
go,
this?
well, I don't want that.
don't
Oh,
want
well,
that.
maybe I shouldn't recommend it. So it's just, I need to pull
Oh,
all
yeah,
of that
difficult.
off.
Which
put
is
it
why
on a
people have separate
channel.
channels, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
basically shuffle it off to one side. Except for Laurie, who's Laurie's Mechanical Marvels, who's got the 126k one. His is model trains, full-size trains, and cars.
Yeah.
All in the one channel. Like he has
Okay.
that bridge. He's in every single finger in that pie.
Wow.
He's doing
He's got the lot.
fantastically. But he has 5 mainline gauge locomotives. Like not
Cool.
giant things.
Right.
They're all Ruston's. So you've got 2 Ruston 48s, 2 little Wickham like you could fit the Wickham trolleys in here, both of them.
Wow. Okay.
So they're very small. And I just took a bunch of I went over to help him with some refurbishment on it, but it's in Norfolk, so it's quite a trek up there. And I can't make the next time that they're all working on this, so I had to go up earlier this week and drop off a load of parts that I brought home as homework, cleaned them all up, refabricated another one because one of the stays was completely rotten, so had to take that over and drop it to him in Ipswich, fortunately, instead of going all the way up to Norwich. So yeah, it's but he does really well on that. He has a bunch of different series doing different things, does a lot of lives for
But then obviously
box
that's a
trains.
continued thing, right? So he's done the trains continually.
Yes.
Obviously for you did a bit of it and then you've moved on to something else.
Exactly, yeah,
That's
I
gets
started
lost within the
basically
content.
that,
Okay.
yeah.
So then obviously it's a bit like what you were saying about the 944.
Yeah.
It did well, but the car's gone.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you can't continue that.
Pretty much.
It's like for us, obviously, my brother's got a 944, so
Yeah.
we've done a bit of work on that.
Yeah. So
And
you'll-
that can be a full episode, but we'll have the same thing. People will search that because it's a known car. And it's a good car. I mean, I love 944s. They're awesome.
Yeah.
But then I keep saying to my brother, can I borrow your car? Because I want to have it back on the channel. I need that input.
We did one that was there is no YouTube video besides ours on fixing mudguards on a Lotus, and they are made of steel and they rust.
Are they?
It
I
is
didn't know about
it is a
steel.
largely aluminium and composite car
Yeah,
that
it's the
they've
only bit
still
that
managed to
rusts.
find a part that rusts.
It's
And the
English. He's got rust.
Yeah, and the
Have
fix
to have rust.
is everybody does it. It fits the Exige, it fits the Evora, and I think the Elise as well. And it's just these little laser cut, anodized powder cut, or I think it's laser cut stainless that's then powder coated,
Right.
and they just replace the steel brackets straight on. Nobody done a video on it.
Interesting.
Okay, so we
I'll
did that,
take that.
and it did reasonably compared to some of our other
Okay.
stuff. Like again, it's one video on a Lotus
One
Evora
of those
S,
things, isn't it?
Yeah.
so it's a bit of an anomaly.
Yeah.
So hopefully at some point I'll get that on Bad Influence as well as another.
That's good.
So after the Skyline,
But that's the thing about when you're making content, you've also got to think, when's it going to come out?
yeah,
Where are we in the world of people who are interested in that particular car?
yeah,
How many episodes can we get? It's all these things that we're trying to think of. Like, well, I was
Yeah.
trying to explain to Carl, when I'm putting out content, I have to work out the timeline of where it is with all the other cars and everything else that's going on, because we've got so much going on.
Yeah.
And then everything that I'm doing is interspliced with lives,
yeah,
car shows, car meets, purchasing cars, buying cars, talking about the cars.
Yeah.
And it's like, good God, trying to keep all that in my head is hard work.
yeah.
It's really hard. So what I've done is I've done it on Instagram as just the timeline.
yes,
So as much as it doesn't, it's not the most interesting,
yeah.
because with Instagram I've just left that as a timeline thing, nothing
Yeah.
else.
But we can keep track.
So
Yeah,
Carl
exactly,
so
yeah.
when Carl's putting stuff on YouTube, hopefully he can
I
follow
can
the
scroll through
timeline
it and actually make
and just go
sense of
right.
it.
So it's this episode,
Yes,
then
yeah,
that
and it
episode,
goes
then this
this and
episode,
this and this and
and
this.
we've got all the original footage, haven't we? But
Yes,
the thing
we
for
do.
us, we've done everything on the GoPro.
Mm.
I'm aware that's switched off now, so I'm just going to sort that out.
It's over there somewhere.
So everything's on the GoPro,
Yeah.
but we've never used any of that in the content ever.
Yeah.
Because we can't, because we don't have the software to do the editing on
Yeah.
a laptop. We haven't got a laptop that's quick enough.
Yeah,
Obviously,
So-
it's landscape, it's
So we've
portrait
got
for short
Yeah,
form.
we've got
That's the-
thousands
that's
of
the
hours of
hardest
footage,
yeah.
which has never been seen, which will be good
Yeah.
when we go to YouTube, because
Yeah.
people that have seen our shorts, they'll go,
Ah,
well, that
there's
was
the long
interesting,
form. Yeah.
but I've
And
never
they can
seen
stop
how you
and
actually
edit.
fix that, or how you change the clutch, or how you
The
did
only
this.
downside we're finding to it at the moment is a lot of this stuff that's not yet in the YouTube videos is from years ago when we
Yeah.
first started. And we've gotten a lot better on camera since then. Like a lot
yeah,
better on
I've
camera
got,
since then.
I've got a bunch of stuff that I haven't edited from a while ago. And go, oh, I must get round to that, and other things come up, and you get in the
Yeah.
way. And then the timing, like there's even stuff that I filmed with Laurie from not last summer, but the summer before. But he's had so many tie-ins with, oh, this event is happening, and
Yeah.
this is happening,
Yeah.
and this is happening. It's still not seen the light of day. And part of that video is like, oh, it's the 200th anniversary of trains next year, like of railways, which
Right.
1825 was the first passenger railway in the
Right.
northeast. So we went up and we filmed at it.
Okay, that's cool.
Video hasn't come out, but it's this year now.
This year, hasn't it? Yeah.
So it's all, yes, it's happening next year. This year.
Editors note.
No.
So yeah, I don't know how he's going to work around that, but I've got stuff that's fortunately not dated, but it's like I've got a bunch of stuff from Irwindale Speedway in LA,
Yeah.
which closed in December last year.
Oh, okay.
So now I need to turn that video into a retrospective of what did
What
they
it was
do
like.
at Irwindale,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like what happened, and sort of like,
Okay.
isn't it a
With some
shame that it's gone?
voiceovers and-
And yeah, so that's that
so you've
got
still got
partway
footage,
through
but
the
you've got
edit.
to
Yeah.
work out how that's going to
Oh,
play
I've
out.
probably got over a terabyte of footage.
And I think we're going to have to
kicking
do
around.
we're going to have to do similar with some of our earlier episodes, I think, because otherwise they are just going to be of a lower quality than what our current audience is used to seeing on the shorts.
But it's difficult because obviously it's like, well, do we use that stuff?
I think we
because it
would
looks
use
terrible.
I think I would always
Because if you
use it.
start with that in channel, you're sort of setting a precedence of this is awful. I don't want to watch this.
I
People
would
may not
say
come back to us and we're like, oh.
intersperse it with the newer stuff
Yeah.
and have it where you film a brand new intro of we're going to look back at something we did ages ago on this car, blah 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 blah, and you introduce the older stuff within
So a
Which
bit
is
like
what
Star
I think
Wars.
we should do.
pretty much.
the-
You run a
The really
a
interesting
prologue.
bit, and then you
Yeah.
can be the prequels.
Yeah, you run a prologue on it and you go
Set the
through.
prequels.
So.
Okay, that's pretty.
But
cool.
yeah, I'll help.
Please,
I
yeah.
can help with things.
Yeah, no, I think we'll be
Um,
fine.
But yeah.
I mean, even just advice about putting things out is helpful. Everything's helpful.
Huge.
For
Yeah,
us.
well, I do all of my editing in Premiere,
Premiere
but
Pro,
DaVinci Resolve is like top tier. I haven't had my hands on it for so long. I tried using it yesterday for another project, and I just sat there and went,
Because
I really don't know what I'm doing.
I used to use Sony Vegas, but we're going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Adrian, GTO, he was always Vegas.
I
so, yeah.
was doing YouTube 12 years ago, so we're going back a while.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
if you
pretty
don't
much.
mind, I'm going to send Carl to you at some point, and you can
Oh, God,
just.
I'm only around the corner from you,
Yeah.
literally.
Well, it's
So,
even better.
yeah,
So, but yeah. Anyway,
But that'd be great,
we have
so-
been going
for a while.
knocking on
Yeah.
just over 2.5 hours, which is
Wow.
pretty good going.
It's pretty
You've
good.
done a lot.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for coming down.
Thanks very much for having us on.
We should do
It's
more
all
of these.
Yeah. just get more with it.
Yeah.
Great time.
We'll obviously see you at Prospect
Yep.
and
Yep.
make that
So
work,
soon.
and hopefully we'll have more interviews with you then as well. We can theoretically, I think, also like dual stream from PedalBox channel and to your TikTok from the one broadcast.
Cool.
So
That'd
we
be
can
good.
put the whole thing out on
That'd be
one.
good for you guys to actually see it.
The downside will be the flip between landscape and portrait,
Yeah.
because obviously
there's
all
a
the
big
output
difference
will be
in
there.
that. Mm.
But if you make it smaller with an overlay like top and bottom donate or like buy stuff or merch or anything,
Okay.
theoretically possible.
We'll work through that.
that might need some level of thought.
We'll work.
Yeah.
We'll work on
We'll
it. Something
Or
we can chat.
if you want the full version, go and watch it here.
Yeah, exactly.
Push
So-
people that way. But please
Okay.
give us a like first.
yeah, subscribe and like.
Yes.
Yeah, Aid said, Vegas is great and simple. DaVinci is very complex but very capable. Premiere is just standard, but it's spendy. Like that's the big problem.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of
the
thinking
Premiere
for-
licensing
Pro is-
model is terrible, whereas DaVinci is free, a known industry standard. So like it will do everything you want to do and spades more.
Right. Okay.
But it's not like Vim
what do you
with
need-
its learning
but-
curve, which
but
is
then-
just a
Exactly.
vertical cliff.
What do you need to run it? Like
It'll run
graphics
on
card
most
wise and
things,
like
to be
that.
honest.
my PC is
The
more
the
than
main
enough.
thing is whatever footage you're using. So the cameras that I've got, because they're broadcast cameras, I
like
record most of my
4K
stuff in
stuff.
the lowest quality they will do,
Right.
Yeah.
and a 1/4 terabyte is still only about 90 minutes of footage.
Yeah, so you need to compress all that down.
So, but you can run that through and run it out into
Handbrake
something
is what I used to
else.
use. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's still.
But
yeah.
for general purpose editing, you don't need a lot. It's mostly if you want to play back super fast at full quality,
Yeah.
you need a lot of processing power in the graphics card to do that. But to render it, just push a button and ignore it and just leave it a while.
Okay.
It will just render it. It will take as long as it needs to take to do this.
I'm just going to switch the GoPro back on so we can do an outro, because otherwise
Yes,
we're going to miss
yeah,
all of that
sure.
intro. Whoop. Always aware of what's
But
going
yes,
on.
it's. So
Sorry.
this is why Jess is so much better at this than me, because she has a tangent counter currently on screen for how many times we've gone off topic in the outro. And we're up to,
Constantly.
we're up to
Constantly?
8.
Yeah, that doesn't
and
surprise me.
it increments on a button.
Good. Nice.
And
Nice.
this is why Jess is my tech producer. 'cause I go,
Fantastic.
wouldn't it be cool if we had this? Like, I'll have it
Is
for
this
next
9
time.
now by chance?
Should this now be 9 tangents?
this is
Now
9.
we're talking a tangent counter about the tangent counter.
Yeah.
Tab come off the battery. Can you get that out? With your...
Oh my! You've given me a right old mission there, Neil.
Yes, I have.
How have you done that?
Fix that, Carl. Carl's the tech, and now he's got a fixed camera.
Yep.
Let's out a bit.
I've got no chance getting
Yeah,
that.
basically, as Greg says, the upside of DaVinci being free is you've got nothing to lose.
Well, it's free.
Because it's free.
Yeah, number one.
And you're also, from my point of view, you're not coming from another environment trying to, oh, I know how all of this works, and then looking at it going, none of this works the way I'm used to.
Right.
You're just picking it up as you go, basically. I'm trying to think if I have anything, and I only have ridiculous things to try and help. Ooh!
It's
try
getting there.
and spear it out with the corner of this print.
It's half out. There she comes.
There you go.
Coming. Yeah, there's the flipping tab just ripped off. Oh, it's one of those new batteries we got from the other GoPro.
Yeah,
Stick
new
that
ones
in,
aren't so
let's
good.
see. Batteries, yeah, no. That's no good anymore. That ain't coming out, is it?
Just weld onto it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
We're alive. There you
It's
go.
alive.
Do your thing.
As I say, it is possible. So you can effectively skin. Well, when you install Premiere, it's like when you install DaVinci, it goes, "What are you used to?"
Right, so you can
And
skin
then
it.
it will give
Gotcha.
you keyboard shortcuts that all match.
Yes.
So you can just be like, "I need Premiere Pro profile, thank you very much," and it will do the
Yeah,
thing.
it'll do it.
Or you
Okay.
can make it do Vegas
I'll
or
need to look
whatever.
into that,
So
definitely.
It is quite
Because I
good.
give Lightworks a bit of a go, and
Yeah.
Lightworks seems relatively competent for what it is, but it was such a step away from what I was
Yeah.
used to. That it's just,
Yeah, reasonable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no,
Right.
it has been wonderful having you. We will
Thanks for having
definitely
us.
do
Really
this
good
again.
time.
Awesome.
It's we'll obviously sort out the bigger plans for Prospect.
Yep.
And hopefully do some more other ones as well. We will have the outside broadcast version of this, which is still the same
Yeah,
cameras.
that'd be interesting.
But yeah, one of those is we have a wireless camera, so we can go walking around the show. So it'll probably be dispatch a couple of people, probably from different channels, and then go around and have them do a walkabout, and then come back in while we switch something
Cool,
up on the
that'd be good.
stand.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I can do some of that.
try and
Walk around
get
chatting to
a
people.
good couple of hours broadcast out at least
Yes.
across
That'd
the
be awesome.
day.
Hopefully it'll be dry then. Hopefully it won't get rained off again.
Yeah, we've got
Fingers
I've got a
crossed.
second gazebo
Is
now.
that's the 6th of July. isn't it,
Yes,
I think?
Sunday the 6th of
Sixth,
July.
yeah.
I should probably
It
say
is.
that so
Yeah,
that
Sunday the
people
6th
know.
of
Sunday the
July.
6th of July.
Berkshire Motor Show.
At
It's a
Prospect.
fantastic event. We've
Yeah.
been there's been
So
a lot.
good.
It's really
if
good.
you're local, come down, say hi.
Yeah,
Be a
you'll,
really good
you'll
time.
see us with like cameras coming out of our ears.
Be a really good
That'd
time.
be
It's a good show.
Hopefully, a mast with a bunch of flags on it, because I'm planning on getting a 7-meter tall mast to put not only the receiver on it, but also hang a couple of flags off as well.
Okay.
Like,
So you'll
I
find
need a big
us.
YouTube flag
Yeah,
to
yeah,
signal where we all are,
That'd be
which
cool.
will be nice and easy. So we're
yeah.
visible.
Maybe we can add another flag on the flag.
Yeah,
list.
exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
we'll try and get one for every channel that we have
Pretty
in
cool, wouldn't it?
attendance as
That'd
we
be
go
awesome.
Are
down.
our stands hopefully going to be quite near to each other?
So
'Cause-
every time we've been in the past, because you've never made it, because your first
Nope.
one was last year and
Yep,
it
and it
got rained off.
Yeah, so this year we're hoping it's going to happen.
That's a
We've
tangent
been
kind of getting
before, but-
implemented, I
yes,
can tell.
good. We have been before, but not on our own stand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's always been a bit and it's never been. I wouldn't say it's never been well planned where the stands go, but we've
Yeah.
always turned up on the day and been like, so
Where are we
we?
going? Yeah,
So,
we've
yeah,
been-
so
we
I'm-
had that last
yeah,
time.
We had the last time
Yeah,
on the
so,
other people's
so
stands.
I'm hopeful that basically we can get something better organised.
But did you
and a
or
bit
did you
more of
not get a
pitch.
text message 2 weeks ago going, you can now book to go on your stand, to go on your placement? And I replied going, I have booked last year. I've already paid for it. Hopefully you understand that OSC are coming. But then she rang me as well and sort
Yeah.
of said, oh, how many cars are you thinking of bringing? I was, well,
Many.
We're quite,
We-
maybe
we're gonna
15,
have-
20,
yeah.
or maybe none.
We
Because
should-
these
yeah.
are car people, so we don't know if them. You know what will happen. A week before they'll go, oh, dude, actually, I need to change my exhaust or whatever
Yeah.
else.
That's
My
all
clutch
right
is
now.
gone.
None of ours run.
I'm planning
Mine
on about a 20-meter frontage with basically sort of
Okay.
tech in roughly the middle, with
Yeah.
wings out either side, and hopefully some sort of stage affair that we can sit that on and this,
Okay.
and have a TV behind.
Because I'd like
so
to
we
be
can do
opposite you.
stuff.
So we do like
So-
a semicircle to
so this is-
contain people
so we
within
get
or
stuff
something.
like this. So if you can get,
Yeah, because we
I would imagine
we've got
our
15, 20 cars and a
Yeah,
gazebo
exactly.
and a.
Yeah.
So,
between
yeah.
your stand with a gazebo and stuff,
Hmm.
our stand with our gazebo tech stuff, and then other people who I'm convincing hopefully to come down, we
Right.
should have a really nice like winged affair coming out.
Pretty cool. wouldn't it?
And then all of your guys can like expand off to one side as far as they
Okay.
need, and we can just pen the other side in. So I have plans.
Yeah,
like
because obviously
tangents.
for us, because we've got our project cars, obviously, so we'll
Yeah.
have the Renault 19, the Amiga, the
Yeah.
Prelude.
Yeah.
So they'll be in the front of our gazebo, and then
Yeah.
what we're planning is to do like a semicircle of the other cars around
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So we've got
Mm-hmm.
Escort Cosworths and
Yeah.
Nice.
all sorts of stuff coming.
We'll
Yeah.
try and get
Um,
my Audi down there, the RX-8 down there. We've
Yeah.
got a couple other cars from various
There's
people
quite a
coming
few
down there.
down, so it'll be fun.
It should be good. I
It's
mean, we
gonna
had the 944 down once, and we had
Oh, we got
kit-
944
the kit
coming as well.
car,
Yeah, we have a
the
944.
Thunderbird and the 944 for one, which worked pretty well. That was 2 years ago. No, more than 2 years ago. I think that was the first one we did actually. And then last year we had the Thunderbird, the GTO, and the kit car, which again, 3 cars kind of works nicely. You can put
Yeah.
one in front of the gazebo, one either side, and
yeah, that's kind of what
it does
we're
the job.
thinking.
So yeah, then theoretically between our 2 gazebos, we could put a stage in there.
Okay.
Nice.
All being
Yeah,
well, I say,
cool.
I have very vague plans, but basically I need to call Steph and go, where are we?
Yeah.
Where
What's
are we
actually
likely
going to
to
happen?
be?
Yes.
And yeah, we're
And
kind of
then
the
I can
same.
plan
But then,
for
I mean,
it,
we
so-
haven't even bought a gazebo yet.
Yeah,
Tables
I have
or
2. I have 2 3-meter
anything.
ones, and we're looking at getting another one.
Are they
as
like
well.
the square pole? ones?
Yes,
Proper-
our
proper
main
ones.
one is a heavy duty one.
Right.
The second one I've got, I just picked it up for my folks last week. Oh well, this week. I need to go through it. It doesn't have sides, but they are fudgeable because
Yeah,
we won't use all
can make it
4 on
work, tie
ours,
'em
so
on.
we can we can make that work. But yeah, having worked in film and TV, easy ups are a thing, and they are amazing.
Okay.
Really
Well, I might
expensive.
talk to you about something we can afford because we've got.
350 quid a piece, but they are basically bomb proof.
I'm just
Right,
curious,
okay.
what tangent number is gazebos?
14.
There we go. Look at that.
Yeah,
But yeah.
we do that a lot. Don't
Yeah.
we?
We do that a lot, yeah.
We're
bad for that.
renowned.
Yeah.
We should do a T-shirt with just the tangent counter and just Velcro stick on numbers.
Starts coming
That's
up.
a great
I
idea.
know what we could do.
That's another one.
You know those new like LED strips you can stick on your back window
Yeah.
that you can put whatever you
Like
want or
numbers
faces
on,
or whatever.
yeah.
We should do that with the counter.
Just have a scrolling bar under here that runs on the tangent counter.
If you say what the tangents are, is it going to
It just starts
I think
going
we
through.
can talk about that.
Updating like a news channel.
another
That's
one.
It's like
Tan-
Carl started another one.
The
It's
tangent
all
bar
about
is
gazebos.
tangent 15.
Score chart per person who started them.
Oh yeah, that'd
High
be good.
scores, there we
That's
go.
what I
That'd
can
be
use that
hilarious.
little
That would be
10-inch
brilliant.
screen for I've got upstairs.
Great idea, there we go.
That would
It's
be good.
competition.
Gazebo channel. Another 4.
Gazebos and sheds.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even
But yeah,
sheds
as
and-
I say, lovely to have you down. We'll definitely be doing more of these
Yeah,
across the year,
absolutely.
and we will have more chat because we barely scratched your fleet
No.
with going through
No,
3 of
no,
them. We've
there's
not even
plenty
got
more
to
to
your
go.
current fleet.
No,
Or
there was
our
more.
personal
And
stuff
obviously by the
either.
time we come back again, there'll be another fleet.
There'll be
I mean,
another one, yeah.
We nearly bought 3 cars yesterday.
We did nearly buy 3 cars yesterday.
That's
I
definitely
really
a car
wish
problem.
we would have done it. It was
It
awesome.
was a bundle, so
They
it counts
came
as
in a package.
one, right?
I did see David
Not on my
Freiberger.
driveway, it doesn't.
Not
with
mine
the
either.
wife. It's
David
like, "Get them off
Freiberger
my
put a
car."
post up today saying, this is another one, you might as well tick that one up, basically saying that he knows a guy who is getting rid of a bunch of stuff out of his shop and he wants these cars to go away.
Right.
$250, I mean he's in LA.
Oh, okay.
$250
I'm there in like
a
2
piece.
weeks.
Yeah,
Right.
I'll ship them over.
I'll
There's
get
3 pickups. I think it was a Biscayne. The Biscayne had taken a fairly heavy hit to it. But yeah, he was like, I'm doing this so I can filter out the tyre kickers because
Right.
these need to go soon. But yeah, he was looking to get rid of them. And I looked at them and went, if I was in LA, I would have picked them up already.
I may need to speak to you about something.
But yeah,
Yeah.
fun times.
Yeah.
Yeah, collecting vehicles. It's a dangerous hobby.
That's my favourite part. That's
There's-
why I buy them and Carl fixes them. It's
Definitely
good.
something I need
It
to
works
speak
well.
to you about.
So yes, we will see you again. I will see you at Prospect. Just people react to me going, I buy more things.
Always buy more things.
Yeah.
Always good.
More things.
Yeah.
Thanks once again to Jess for helping out with the tech and running everything, including the tangent counter.
you, Jess.
Jess, you now count as a tangent.
Thanks
Tick
for
that
putting
one
up with
off.
hours of us.
Yeah, hours of us chatting away.
And for jury rigging mics and what have you, and
It's been great.
putting up with batteries dying. I will have that fixed by next time because there will be microphone batteries for the studio on charge
We'll
permanently.
bring our own batteries.
Bring around back.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a B&M purchase. So
On the
buying loads of
Yes.
Panasonic batteries. But here we are.
So we'll see you probably in a few weeks' time, and
Yeah.
then the 6th of July we'll be doing live stream from Prospect Park. We'll see you then. If not, come down to the show and see us in person.
Yeah, come and see the
IRL.
project cars
Yeah,
we've
come
actually
and
got
say
going.
hi.
It'd be
Tell us
great.
how awful our cars are.
Yeah, pretty much.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for watching, everybody. We will see you
Have
next
a good
time.
one.
Good night.